ordinates, along with their island, has vanished. They have likely been eliminated by the island lords of the Kyushu region. What? The Kyushu region possesses such formidable island lords that they can eliminate ours? That's inconceivable. Well, there's nothing left now, unless that individual deceived us by providing coordinates with the same latitude but differing longitude. Regardless, I have successfully reached the barrier. Once everyone gathers, we can breach it and launch an assault on the Kyushu region. I eagerly await this moment. I am en route. So please wait for me. It seems that these individuals will not launch an attack within the next day or two. Yichuan promptly inquired of the group, brothers, where are you now? One person quickly replied, we have gathered and estimate we have another day's journey ahead. We lost quite a bit of time due to the sulfur and nitrate. By the way, how much have you mined? If there is an abundance, do share some with me, Yichuan said, accompanied by a grinning emoji. As a submarine, your needs indeed surpass ours, the man responded, directly sending Yichuan another 1,000 kg each. Thanks, brothers, Yichuan said, a slight smirk gracing his lips. Once you arrive, send me your coordinates immediately. I will meet up with you. Before the battle, we must indulge in a hearty meal. Haha, that is a must. It has been far too long. We shall not return until we are thoroughly intoxicated. Several members of the group immediately responded. Yichuan chose not to engage further, swiftly returning to the island with the supplies. Goodness, brother. You brought back so many materials for making explosives. Lu Shuai exclaimed in astonishment upon seeing the haul. He had previously received torpedoes from Yichuan, but was unaware of their origins until now. It dawned on him that Yichuan had crafted them himself. However, where did he procure the materials? Chapter 213, The Growth of Livestock, Liquid Gold. Indeed, this is already the third batch, each consisting of 1,000 kg. Yichuan remarked with a smile. He then recounted to the others how he had captured Cole's submarine and impersonated Cole to deceive others, leaving them in awe. Zhao Feiyu gave a thumbs up and nodded, exclaiming, to deceive the foreign district for explosive materials, crafting bombs to attack them. Brilliant. In an instant, Yichuan could not help but burst into laughter. By the way, I have some clothing to share with you. After his laughter subsided, Yichuan produced the designs for trendy apparel and promptly crafted them from fabric and plastic. The garments were vibrant and varied, suitable for both men and women. The group was taken aback. Given the current temperature, wearing hoodies was already somewhat warm, and summer-esque trendy attire was just right. Everyone chose their preferred styles, and to their surprise, they fit perfectly. Although these trendy garments were made from fabric and plastic, the texture was exceptional. Notably, they could absorb dirt, remaining wearable for months without washing. Yichuan explained, moreover, I have discovered that these trendy clothes are a notch above what I previously wore. Even if there are minor damages, fabric patches can easily mend them. As long as the damage is not extensive, they could last a lifetime. Goodness, brother. You are truly amazing. Upon hearing this, Blueberry Jam immediately gave Yichuan a thumbs up. I adore you. Calm down, this is just the beginning. Yichuan waved his hand dismissively at Blueberry Jam. Brother, I have wonderful news. The 2 kids born from the U can now start producing milk. At this moment, Lu Yiwei gleefully remarked, however, the initial production isn't substantial. Really? Yichuan's expression shifted. Indeed, it's only 3 pounds, Lu Yiwei nodded. That is still quite impressive. Yichuan exclaimed, slapping his thigh. This is an A-grade U, and the milk produced is of S-grade quality, such a precious liquid. And 3 pounds is considered insufficient? Moreover, the lambs are only about a month old and have already traversed the path that typically takes a year for ordinary lambs. Is there anything more remarkable than this? However, an ordinary lamb can produce about 3 to 4 pounds of milk once it starts milking, Lu Yiwei explained. But this situation is different, Yichuan chuckled. The milk from a large ewe is A-grade, while the milk from these 2 lambs is S-grade. Do you know how precious S-grade milk is and what it signifies? At this declaration, everyone couldn't help but gasp in astonishment. From the public chat rooms, they had observed that the most common fruits consumed were merely C-grade, with B-grade being a rarity. Yet, Yichuan was casually drinking A-grade milk and now had access to S-grade milk. This was simply astounding. A-grade milk can be stored in the refrigerator, but for S-grade milk, we consume exactly what is produced each day, Yichuan continued. The more we drink, the more our physical constitution will undoubtedly catch up to those seasoned island masters in a short span of time. I believe even those seasoned island masters wouldn't dare to treat S-grade liquid as mere water. Exactly. The little flying dragon nodded vigorously. Our family's seasoned island masters rarely come by S-grade liquid. When they do, it's usually reserved for the elders of the family. The reason why the elders of large families often live beyond 100 is largely due to their continuous consumption of A-grade and S-grade liquids. Upon hearing this, Lu Yi couldn't help but feel a pang of regret. After all, others possessed fleets and wealth to support Yi Chuan, while he had nothing, akin to freeloading. Although Yi Chuan never voiced any complaints, Lu Yi felt a twinge of embarrassment. When Yi Chuan had previously rejected investments from those affluent families, planning to forge his own path, Lu Yi had once mocked him. Now, it seemed he was the true fool. The more he pondered, the more uncomfortable he felt, prompting him to quietly retreat to his room. After Lu Yiwei had finished discussing the sheep, she transitioned to talk about the chickens. Big brother, regarding the chicks. We have 5 hens that have already begun laying eggs, and 5 roosters that are expected to crow in the coming days. Since Lu Yiwei had arrived and brought her experience from working on a farm, she had naturally taken on the responsibility of raising the livestock. Upon hearing her words, the little flying dragon spoke up. Let the hens continue laying eggs, but we should slaughter the roosters. Keeping them only wastes energy for care. Who has the time for that, right, big brother? While that may be true, I believe we should retain 1 or 2 roosters to allow the hens to continue hatching chicks, Lu Yiwei promptly replied. Let us nurture them for a while longer. We shall consume 3 roosters once the battles with the foreign regions conclude, Yi Chuan resolutely declared, opting to retain 2 young roosters and the large one to accompany the hens. Thus, the matter concerning the livestock was settled. Subsequently, Yi Chuan bestowed generous handfuls of small fish treats upon the 3 little ones before opening the supply box. Meanwhile, the little dragon and blueberry jam diligently organized the cotton clothing, resuming their orderly tasks. However, Yi Chuan wore a frown. He had suddenly received news from the dolphin and immediately engaged in a telepathic exchange, witnessing vast expanses of black material beneath the sea. His expression shifted, prompting him to instruct the dolphin to encase a fist-sized portion of the black substance in water and bring it to the surface, where it was deposited into a large bowl he had prepared in advance. He then summoned Zhao Feiyu. Zhao Feiyu, initially taken aback, soon erupted in excitement. Oil? Oil, often referred to as liquid gold, is especially coveted in the year 2333, as the Earth's reserves have long been depleted, and the exploitable resources in the oceans are limited. Moreover, underwater oil is not only rare, but also exceedingly difficult to locate. If we can uncover a new oil field, it would represent a fortune of at least 9 figures. I believe it resembles oil, Yi Chuan remarked with a smile, noticing Zhao Feiyu's enthusiasm. Brother, where did you find it, and what is the estimated reserve? Zhao Feiyu inhaled deeply, striving to temper his excitement before responding. The reserves are undoubtedly substantial, conservatively estimated to exceed tens of millions of tons. I have already noted the coordinates. Brother, you are aware of my military affiliations and my significant role in Jiuzhou. Zhao Feiyu stated solemnly. Grant me this oil field, and once the novice zone opens, I shall compensate you with this sum. He extended 5 fingers towards Yi Chuan. 500 million. Indeed, it was a considerable amount. Yet, for liquid gold, once developed by the military, its value would soar to at least 5 billion, or even more. Yi Chuan, however, merely shook his head in response. Chapter 214. Lu Yi's thoughts. The system's plans. This left Zhao Feiyu momentarily speechless, taken aback by Yi Chuan's unexpected refusal. Given Yi Chuan's behavior in recent times, he had not appeared to be a selfish individual. Moreover, he was not asking for it for free, he was offering payment. And thus, there seemed to be no reason for refusal. While Zhao Feiyu pondered this, Yi Chuan smiled and said, Do not worry. I have prepared an alternative mineral resource for you. In comparison to oil, I believe you will find this even more intriguing. What? Zhao Feiyu gazed at Yi Chuan in disbelief. The ultimate goal of their venture into the ocean was to acquire various mineral resources. Currently, they had yet to construct submarines, let alone explore the underwater mineral wealth. Yi Chuan had not only discovered oil, but also another type of mineral resource. Although each novice zone was indeed easier for locating mineral resources than the open seas, such discoveries were not made lightly. Often, one must wait for half a year, relying on the support of external forces and tools such as submarines to engage in any meaningful search. Yi Chuan, indeed, is favored by the heavens. Yellow phosphorus, or Yi Chuan promptly provided the answer. Zhao Feiyu's expression changed dramatically. The military applications of yellow phosphorus are exceedingly broad, capable of producing smoke bombs and flashbangs. It was astonishing that Yi Chuan had discovered such a mineral. After all, yellow phosphorus, or is a rare find. Brother, is the reserve substantial? In the next moment, Zhao Feiyu excitedly grasped Yi Chuan's arm. It must be, otherwise I wouldn't be sharing this with you. Yi Chuan replied with a slight shrug. How about it? Are you satisfied now? Absolutely. Zhao Feiyu laughed heartily. When the time comes, I will still honor our agreement. I shall leave it in your capable hands. Consider it a contribution to our nation. Yichuan nodded. He was not particularly concerned about the wealth he would gain. In truth, his fortune had already become priceless, ensuring he would never worry about money in this lifetime. Subsequently, Zhao Feiyu enthusiastically returned to his work, and after dinner that evening, everyone resumed their recreational activities. However, Lu Yi was notably absent, and Yichuan assumed she was unwell, not giving it much thought. The public chat room continued to buzz with discussions regarding the Western Barrier, devoid of any useful information. After skimming through it for a brief moment, Yichuan lost interest and drifted into slumber. The following morning, the crowing of roosters echoed, rousing Yichuan from his dreams. He glanced at the time. It was 5:30. He had intended to sleep a little longer, but slumber eluded him. With a slight shake of his head, he dressed and stepped outside. There, he spotted Lu Yi seated on a nearby rock, gazing thoughtfully ahead. Yichuan approached her with a smile. Lu Yi, why are you up so early? I couldn't sleep, Lu Yi sighed. I didn't see you at dinner last night. Are you unwell, or is something troubling you? Yichuan inquired. We are friends. Feel free to share. It's nothing much. I just feel rather like I've been taking advantage of you, Lu Yi replied, shaking her head. Others can offer you fleets and wealth, but I am but a solitary figure without a significant family or influence. I'm contemplating whether I should leave and forge my own path. Such thoughts may lead only to peril, Yichuan cautioned softly. In these times, you still consider leaving? How long do you think you could endure alone? Lu Yi hesitated, knowing that her practical experiences in school were dwindling, and she had relied on Yichuan's support. She understood that if she were to part ways with him, she would find herself at a complete disadvantage. Enough. Be more optimistic. Yichuan chuckled, affectionately ruffling Lu Yi's hair. For now, release any pressure. We are friends, and you cannot possibly burden me. Ha ha. Observing Yichuan's generous demeanor, Lu Yi couldn't help but smile awkwardly. The moment of battle approaches, and discussing these matters with Yichuan may only serve to exacerbate his worries. After all, being a burden is one thing, but adding to his troubles is another. I apologize. I shouldn't have shared these thoughts with you, Lu Yi ultimately said, shaking her head in an attempt to detach herself from the clutter of her thoughts. All right. You can still return to sleep for a while, Yichuan urged immediately. Very well, thank you, Lu Yi replied, pursing her lips and rising onto her toes to give Yichuan a brief embrace before turning to leave. Sign in, Yichuan said with a smile, shaking his head. Sign in successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 1,000 evolution points and a natural island, the system promptly announced. What? Yichuan could hardly believe his ears. The system had gifted him a natural island. He was well aware of the allure of such islands, having visited one before. The treasures within were undoubtedly superior to those of the ordinary island masters, brimming with various natural wonders. Yichuan immediately glanced at the coordinates of this natural island. Spanning over 5,000 square meters, it boasted a freshwater river, small animals, and even various defenses to fend off intruders. It appeared nothing short of perfect. System. We already possess the formidable Turtle Island. Why grant us another natural island? Yichuan inquired. The host may relocate the super tablet to the natural island for various operations. The system replied, or transform the natural island into a second domain. Wait, why does that sound so perplexing? Yichuan quipped. Or perhaps I have a bold conjecture. Do you believe Lu Yi to be somewhat inept, thus bestowing upon me this natural island under the guise of a gift? Merely to sideline her. The system fell silent. Yet Yichuan sensed that this was indeed the system's intention. Allocating a natural island to Lu Yi might empower her, allowing her to evolve into a capable island master through her own efforts. Nevertheless, Yichuan resolved not to disclose this to Lu Yi, as it remained merely a conjecture. Everything could wait until after the battle with the foreign regions was concluded. Perhaps by then, Lu Yi would have regained her confidence. As time passed, everyone gradually awoke. Zhao Feiyu was the third to rise, immediately beginning to jog around the island, leaving others perplexed. Lu Yue, in particular, asked with curiosity, Brother Feiyu, what are you doing? Training. Zhao Feiyu responded. Even in this oceanic world, we cannot neglect our training. Training? Lu Yue questioned again, bemused. We have significantly enhanced our physiques with A and S-class liquids. Why continue training? Chapter 215. Future training plans and encounters with mermaids you wouldn't understand, Zhao Feiyu chuckled. Whether A or S-class liquids, they represent external factors that bring about change. In contrast, training one's limits is distinct from enhancing oneself through liquids. These are two disparate methodologies. I have always felt that merely relying on the liquid enhancement of a lower tier does not fully unearth the potential within our bodies. Hence, I have resolved to pursue further training. What does your daily training regimen entail? Xiao Feilong inquired timely. I begin with a 5-kilometer run, followed by duck walks, squats, sit-ups, push-ups, and other conventional exercises, culminating in 2 sets of combat techniques. Zhao Feiyu responded with ease. Lu Yue's eyes widened in astonishment. With so many activities, won't we be utterly exhausted? Initially, it will indeed feel taxing, but after persevering for a while, not only will you complete the entire routine, but you will also find it exhilarating. Zhao Feiyu shrugged. I propose that we rise at 5 in the morning and train with Brother Yu for 2 hours. Yichuan immediately suggested. After all, 7 hours of sleep at night should suffice to sustain our daytime activities. What do you all think? I agree. Liang Hongying promptly raised her hand. To establish a permanent presence in the ocean world, formidable skills are indispensable. Since Hongying has expressed her agreement, how could I, as a male, fall behind? I concur. Me too. In no time, everyone raised their hands in agreement, except for Blueberry Jam. Noticing the collective gaze upon her, Blueberry Jam shyly chuckled. I apologize, but I truly do not enjoy such rigorous exercise. I believe the transformation brought about by A-grade and S-grade liquids is sufficient for me. So I shall refrain from joining your training. That will not do. I will supervise your training from now on. Liang Hongying declared without hesitation. Disobedience will lead to consequences. With that, Liang Hongying playfully raised her fist toward Blueberry Jam. Instantly, Blueberry Jam recoiled slightly, exclaiming, All right, I will comply. I'll follow your lead. There is no need for such aggression among girls. It seems that Blueberry Jam's experience as a roommate with Liang Hongying has been quite enjoyable. Nevertheless, despite the plan being set, everyone intended to wait until the battle with the West concluded before training with Zhao Feiyu. After all, tomorrow we would reach the barrier. And if everyone were too fatigued to stand, how could we fight? After breakfast, everyone began to systematically pack away their winter garments and sell sweatshirts, with several additional hands. The process evidently accelerated. It was estimated that the island owners selling winter coats had nearly completed their stock, as the frequency of receiving winter garments had significantly decreased since yesterday. It was anticipated that today would mark the end of that endeavor. However, there were still numerous island owners acquiring sweatshirts, for while winter coats could be discarded if unsold, it was too warm to forego sweatshirts entirely. Yichuan was also contemplating the sale of t-shirts after the war concluded, believing that lightweight t-shirts would likely be more sought after than sweatshirts. As time passed, the number of visible vessels increased, predominantly comprising medium-sized attack sailboats, with large attack vessels being quite scarce, alongside a portion of smaller boats. This situation, after all, pertains to the interests of the 2 major powers, Jiuzhou and foreign entities. Although each island lord is a competitor, the interests of the nation must take precedence over personal gain. If the vast region of Jiuzhou were to be occupied by foreign powers, what would be the point of our disputes? Nonetheless, despite the awareness of the swiftly moving Turtle Island, none dared to provoke it. Not even the curious or astonished island lords approached within 100 meters of Turtle Island. Of course, most were oblivious to the head and limbs of the turtle lurking beneath the surface. Otherwise, it would surely have terrified a good number of onlookers. As evening fell, everyone reveled with drinks and songs, while each one glanced at the public chatroom. Have you all noticed? A colossal island is moving swiftly toward the western barrier. A truly spectacular sight. Just an hour ago, I was merely 100 meters away, and it seemed to be traveling at about 50 knots. I wonder what kind of immense power drives such a large island. Is it possible that the island lord who previously sold various gigantic creatures is the same person? The one who has recently been acquiring winter clothing and selling hoodies? In any case, as long as he profits while aiding us and heads toward the western barrier, it is a testament to his character. Regardless of his nature, as long as he fights alongside us to keep foreign island lords at bay, he is our comrade, our brother. Observing the chat messages, Yichuan couldn't help but shrug slightly, surprised by the calm demeanor of others regarding Turtle Island's emergence. Perhaps after witnessing so many unprecedented beings and events in this oceanic realm, everyone had been tempered to a degree of resilience. Ding! At that moment, Yichuan was suddenly struck by a faint metallic sound from outside, realizing that the singing had ceased, and everyone had rushed out, seemingly engaged in a battle with someone. Yichuan frowned. Just as they had mentioned comrades in the chatroom, had someone already come forth to provoke them? With a cold snort, he dashed outside, only to find himself momentarily taken aback. The one engaging in combat was Zhao Feiyu, but his adversary was none other than the gluttonous mermaid. No wonder the dolphins and the trio had not sounded any alarms. It was an old acquaintance. Stop. We are all on the same side. Yichuan laughed heartily as he approached. Brother, it's really you. The gluttonous mermaid exclaimed with delight. Upon seeing such a vast island, we were uncertain. After all, the last time we met, your island was not nearly this large. Haha, big brother, you actually know a mermaid? The others were utterly bewildered, especially the girls like Lu Yue. The mermaid was a terrifying presence in the outer seas, known only through tales from the older generation of island lords. To witness one firsthand was indeed astonishing. By chance, we have become acquainted. It can be said that we have formed a bond through a playful encounter. Yichuan laughed heartily and approached the gluttonous mermaid for an embrace. However, I inquired, brother, weren't you supposed to be in the foreign region? How did you end up here? Chapter 216. Has the foreign region begun its invasion? We followed a ship back, replied the gluttonous mermaid with a shrug. A grand vessel traversed the barrier and made its way to your side. We pursued it all the way here, and upon seeing this island, I thought it was you. So I came over to greet you. What? Yichuan's expression shifted slightly. He was aware that the island lords of the foreign region had gathered at the island lord he had defeated, but he had not anticipated that some would brazenly infiltrate the Kyushu region to stir up trouble. Brother, what is he talking about? The little dragon asked, bewildered. There are island lords from the foreign region entering our domain, and my brother is currently in pursuit of them, Yichuan stated solemnly. We cannot remain indifferent to this matter. We must eliminate that ship. Wow, the island lords from the foreign region have actually infiltrated us. The little dragon exclaimed incredulously. There's no choice. We must confront them. Brother, why are they pursuing the foreign island lords yet showing us such warmth? Liang Hongying then inquired. This was indeed a perplexing matter for everyone. Yichuan chuckled, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. My brother is a foodie. I have forged a deep friendship with him through an array of culinary delights, persuading him to venture into the foreign region to hunt down their island lords. Wow, impressive. His words once again captivated the group. Brother, where is that ship now? Yichuan asked with renewed seriousness. It is approximately 1 nautical mile from the island. It has already brushed past you, the gluttonous mermaid promptly replied. Then let us not delay. Yugu, little dragon, accompany me to deal with them. Yichuan decided decisively. Brother, swim over from the sea and assist us. With that, Yichuan called out to the 3 little ones. They immediately rushed over, striking a pose. Yichuan climbed onto Wang Kai's back. With a few powerful strides, Wang Kai leaped into the sky, soaring upward. This spectacle astonished Lu Shuai and Zhao Feiyu. Who could have imagined that the 3 seemingly harmless albatrosses raised by Yichuan could actually carry a person aloft? Without hesitation, they followed suit and mounted Wang Yun and Wang Fu, ascending into the sky and leaving the island behind. Wow, these 3 albatrosses are amazing. I want to fly around too. Blueberry Jam gazed enviously at the trio disappearing into the distance. It's about time to experience that. It looks far more exhilarating than flying in an airplane. Liang Hongying said with narrowed eyes and a beaming smile. Every child has seen on television the immortal riding a crane soaring through the skies. Each heart harbors a dream of martial arts, and girls are no exception. Now, an unexpected opportunity has arisen. In the distance, a formidable, aggressive large sailing vessel looms, with several men gazing intently at the horizon. One of them, unable to contain his seriousness, remarked, It's truly unbelievable that a colossal island is advancing through the waters, if it is also heading to join the fray. I shudder to think who could possibly oppose it. It certainly appears menacing, though I wonder about the firepower it possesses. Another man, wearing a white hat, calmly chuckled. Let them engage. We shall delve deeper into the Jojo region and undoubtedly reap substantial rewards. You have a keen mind, brother, he replied, prompting a hearty laughter among them. Suddenly, a dull thud resonated as Yichuan and his companions descended from the sky, landing gracefully on the deck. The expressions of the men shifted to disbelief as they regarded the trio. After all, it was utterly astonishing. Had they emerged from the sea, it would have been more acceptable, but descending from the heavens was simply beyond comprehension. Who are you? In an instant, they assumed defensive stances. Shouldn't that question be posed by me? Yichuan replied with a smile. We are in the Jojo region, and you, as fair-haired and blue-eyed foreigners, have wandered here instead of remaining in your own territory. What brings you to our domain? Humph, your Jojo region is on the brink of downfall. Yet you still harbor such delusions of grandeur. The hat-wearing island lord scoffed. You might consider surrendering to us. We could ensure your safety through this impending conflict between the 2 regions. Brother, cease the idle chatter and deal with them directly. Xiao Feilong, unable to restrain himself, brandished a dagger and inquired earnestly. Let us refrain from killing them for now. We must secure all their resources first before taking any lethal action. Yichuan shrugged lightly. The men understood some of the Jojo language. Hearing their exchange was a blatant provocation. The hat-wearing island lord could no longer contain his fury. Enough of this nonsense. Eliminate them. In an instant, they all sprang into action. Meanwhile, Xiao Feilong strode forward with a sinister grin, ready to confront them, 1 against 5. This young dragon holds his own, Yichuan mused, observing the clash of combatants. The foreign island lords appeared to be under the influence of numerous A and B-grade liquids. Despite Xiao Feilong's robust physique, which he intended to leverage to teach them a harsh lesson, within mere seconds, he found himself at a disadvantage, besieged by their relentless assault. Xiao Feilong ranks among the top island lords in Jiuzhou. Yichuan explained with a chuckle, but these island lords have likely indulged in their share of potent liquids, which has rendered him comparatively weaker. I must lend a hand, Zhao Feiyu declared as he charged into the fray. Interestingly, both he and Xiao Feilong had consumed nearly the same amount of the potent liquid, yet Zhao Feiyu was inherently a formidable master. With his arrival, the situation was instantly reversed. Observing that the battle had stabilized, Yichuan ceased to spectate and directly made his way into the cabin. Bang! However, the moment he stepped inside, a crossbow bolt shot towards him. Fortunately, Yichuan's agility was unparalleled. He swiftly turned and dodged the arrow, which embedded itself into the wooden structure. Before him stood a towering figure, a burly man of nearly 2 meters, sporting a thick beard, who was now coldly glaring at Yichuan. Who are you? Yichuan was taken aback, astonished at the height of this man. He couldn't help but shake his head slightly, thinking that at barely 21, he looked as though he were 41. Only these barbaric foreigners could grow to such stature. How outrageous. Upon hearing this, the giant was instantly consumed by rage, his fist the size of a pot, charging fiercely at Yichuan. Chapter 217, The Frenzied Potion. The terrifying humanoid behemoth unbelievable. Yichuan chuckled at the sight of the furious giant, calmly observing as he approached, leisurely extending his hand to block the incoming punch. The giant's expression shifted, disbelief washing over him as he looked at Yichuan. He naturally possessed immense strength, having consumed at least 1 liter of A-grade fresh water. This punch alone should have carried over 10 tons of force, yet it was effortlessly deflected. This was inconceivable. Is that all the strength you possess? Yichuan asked disdainfully. The giant felt provoked by this statement. Gritting his teeth, he clenched his fists and struck at Yichuan once more. Cannon strike. Bang! Yichuan merely smiled serenely, lightly throwing a punch to meet the giant's formidable attack. With a dull thud, all 10 of the giant's fingers were disfigured. As the saying goes, the fingers are connected to the heart. An indescribable agony surged within him, and he let out a dreadful scream, charging at Yichuan in a frenzy. Yichuan shook his head slightly, channeling all his strength into a fierce collision with the giant. The giant was launched backward like a human cannonball, crashing through the ship's hull and landing on the water, creating a significant splash before slowly sinking beneath the surface. Inside the cabin, the giant was the sole guardian. The rest of the space was filled with cans, fresh water, and various rare supplies, while basic provisions were likely all stashed on a nearby island. As they had come for plunder and pillage, carrying too much would have overwhelmed the cabin. Yichuan activated the Soul's super tablet in the cabin, locating Cole's ID and transferring all the items within the cabin to him before leisurely exiting. At that moment, the battle among the 7 had intensified. Zhao Feiyu had already injured 3 opponents, focusing intently on the hat-wearing island master, while Xiao Feilong effortlessly dealt with another island master. The cap-wearing island master grew increasingly agitated, suddenly retreating several steps while producing a small vial of green, transparent liquid. Gritting his teeth, he proclaimed, "Unless absolutely necessary, I truly do not wish to take this step. However, I have no choice but to ensure your demise." With that, he consumed the entirety of the green liquid in the vial, under the watchful eyes of the others. The island master's body began to expand slowly. His clothes tore apart, revealing block-like muscles, until he was left clad only in a pair of black shorts. Towering at approximately 2 meters tall, the aura emanating from him was so formidable that it instilled a sense of dread in those present. What in the world is happening? Yichuan exclaimed in shock. System, does the oceanic realm possess such potions? The system promptly responded, this is a frenzy potion, which, when consumed, can amplify physical strength by 300% for a duration of 15 minutes. This rare item has a probability of 1 in a million to be obtained. Such an extraordinary substance, and he has managed to acquire it. Yichuan was incredulous. Surely, there are no side effects? After the effects wear off, the body will be incapacitated for 3 days, during which time one can only eat and relieve oneself, the system clarified. Goodness, if that's the case. This potion should only be utilized in dire circumstances, Yichuan remarked with a grimace. Utilizing it would equate to surrendering one's life to others. It seemed this individual was indeed prepared to burn his ships. Meanwhile, Zhao Feiyu had already engaged in combat with the cap-wearing Island Master. The Island Master, now with thrice the combat power, swiftly turned the tide, rendering even his short blade incapable of inflicting wounds on his opponent. The sensation was beyond description. Arriving in the oceanic realm, Zhao Feiyu experienced an overwhelming sense of helplessness, acutely aware that he was no match for this behemoth. In a moment of distraction, Zhao Feiyu was caught off guard, giving the Island Master the opportunity to strike fiercely at his head. The speed was terrifying. Even though he sensed the impending blow, his body failed to respond in time. Yichuan shook his head slightly, seizing Zhao Feiyu by the collar, and just as the Island Master's fist approached, he yanked Zhao Feiyu backward while simultaneously delivering a punch of his own. The sharp sound resonated across the entire deck, causing the ship itself to tremble slightly. The Island Master looked at Yichuan with a mix of suspicion and intrigue. He had not lost his composure. He was well aware of his own strength. Yet, despite this, not only had the other been able to rescue Zhao Feiyu in time, but he could also exchange blows with him without being at a disadvantage. It seemed utterly impossible. No ordinary human, even one who consumed S-grade fresh water daily, could attain such a level of physical prowess. Who exactly are you? The Island Master inquired, enunciating each word carefully. The one who will eliminate you. Yichuan replied with a hearty laugh, taking the initiative to strike. Gritting his teeth, the Island Master was left with no choice but to engage in a fierce exchange of blows with Yichuan. Is this truly the extent of my elder brother's prowess? To be able to contend with this humanoid monstrosity on equal footing? Xiao Feilong questioned in disbelief. Zhao Feiyu remained silent. He had long since grasped the terrifying strength of the hat-wearing Island Lord. Despite being a warrior king himself and having significantly enhanced his physical abilities with A and S-class liquids, had it not been for Yichuan's timely intervention, he would undoubtedly have met with a gruesome end. Yet, this formidable individual was now being overpowered by Yichuan. How fearsome must Yichuan be? At that moment, the three gluttonous mermaids had also boarded the ship, equally astonished by the clash between the two. Both combatants had surpassed the capabilities of an A-class marine creature, which was astonishing for the mermaids who had long dealt with the Island Lord. Although there were many terrifying Island Lords in the open sea, such as Zhao Taifeng, whose strength rivaled that of A-class marine beings, and who was no less formidable than these two, he had already undergone genetic alteration in the open waters. It was truly unimaginable that these two novice Island Lords from the beginner zone could evolve to such a terrifying level. The game has reached its conclusion. After exchanging a flurry of blows, Yichuan coldly smiled at the hat-wearing Island Lord and unleashed absolute gravity. At that moment, the hat-wearing Island Lord had just summoned all his strength, intending to smash Yichuan into a pulp. Their barbaric powers collided violently. The hat-wearing Island Lord, filled with confidence, visibly changed expression in that instant as his body was sent hurtling backward, plummeting off the ship. Almost simultaneously, the ship tilted dangerously, on the verge of capsizing. Chapter 218. The ship sinks. The mermaids bid farewell by heavens. Yichuan exclaimed as he leapt towards the opposite side of the ship, utilizing his immense strength to counteract the impending capsizing of the vessel. Though he could no longer employ absolute gravity, his formidable power still managed to stabilize the ship. The hat-wearing Island Lord slowly crawled back up from the ship's edge, bloodied and glaring fiercely at Yichuan. Damn it. Still so full of vigor, are we? Yichuan laughed heartily. I must remind you, only 5 minutes remain. Do you truly believe you can defeat me? Damn it. The hat-wearing Island Lord roared once more, charging at Yichuan with determination. This fellow, having endured an absolute gravity strike, still possessed such incredible strength. It seemed the potions had rendered his defenses remarkably formidable. Yichuan observed in astonishment as he prepared to engage in battle, clenching his fists to exchange blows with the hat-wearing Island Lord. This guy is truly resilient. Xiao Feilong marveled. With such defensive capabilities, I feel as though not even a torpedo could harm him. Indeed, he is not someone ordinary individuals can contend with. Zhao Feiyu agreed. The three gluttonous mermaids exchanged glances and promptly joined the fray against the hat-wearing Island Lord. Yichuan, feeling replaced, exhaled a sigh of frustration and turned to the foreign Island Lord behind him, inquiring, "What is the situation with this individual? Where did he procure his potions?" The foreign Island Lords responded pitifully, "We are utterly in the dark about this. We had no idea he possessed such potions. It's truly alarming. To be unaware of such a fundamental detail is utterly foolish." Yichuan waved his hand dismissively and exclaimed, "Brother, spare his life. Allow him to breathe." "Very well." The gluttonous mermaid laughed heartily, and the three of them momentarily engaged in a standoff with the caped Island Lord, the odds appearing even. However, mere minutes later, the caped island lord's countenance shifted dramatically as he glared at Yi Chuan with gritted teeth, no longer needing the three mermaids to intervene. As he reclined backward in sheer terror, as if anticipating something. What is going on? The gluttonous mermaid stared at him, bewildered. Brother, he is already incapacitated, Yi Chuan chuckled. All right, you all return to my island for a meal tomorrow before departing. I'll return shortly. All right. The gluttonous mermaid said nothing further, and the trio dove into the sea, vanishing from sight. Yi Chuan then opened the submarine and retrieved all the items from the recent transaction, calmly stating, regardless of your thoughts, attempting to raid our Jiuzhou region is nothing short of a farce. Brother, shall we eliminate them? The little flying dragon inquired eagerly. Yes, eliminate them. Yi Chuan affirmed with a nod. Without needing to lift a finger, the little flying dragon swiftly executed the task, sending several individuals to their demise. In that instant, the grand ship began to sink slowly, coinciding with the deaths of the foreign island lords. Warning, host's hidden task has reached 1/5 completion. Please continue your efforts. The system suddenly announced. Task completed, let us head home. Yi Chuan laughed heartily, and just as the ship was about to be fully submerged, he mounted the three little ones and swiftly departed the scene. Brother, these three albatrosses are magnificent. They can even take you to the skies. Upon landing, Blueberry Jam rushed over, affectionately clinging to Yi Chuan's arm. I wish to soar with you too. Oh, it's late. What is there to soar about? Yi Chuan retorted. Off to bed with you. Then tomorrow, let us ride and enjoy the breeze. Blueberry Jam continued eagerly. Brother, this is indeed quite novel for us. Liang Hongying chimed in with a smile. Let us take a ride tomorrow morning and experience it. Very well, we shall discuss it in the morning. Since even Liang Hongying expressed excitement, it was clear everyone genuinely adored the three little ones. Yi Chuan decided not to insist further, but resolved to revisit the matter the following day. As time was getting late, he refrained from checking the public chat room and returned to his room, promptly falling into a deep slumber. The next morning, Yi Chuan awoke to the sound of the system, promptly declaring, sign in. Sign in successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 1,000 evolution points and a dynamite resource pack. To his surprise, there was indeed a dynamite resource pack. Yi Chuan immediately opened it. 10,000 kg of sulfur, 10,000 kg of nitrate, 1,000 kg of charcoal, and 1,000 kg of stone. Yi Chuan's expression shifted. Typically, he managed to deceive the foreign island masters for only 1,000 kg at a time. Yet this time, he had received tenfold. Was it not possible to manufacture 300 torpedoes, 300 missiles, and 210 shells? Delightful. Yi Chuan snapped his fingers and promptly sought out Saturday. Saturday, prepare a larger meal today. Double the usual quantity for 8 people and make it sufficient for 14. Understood, Brother Chuan, Saturday replied without hesitation. An hour later, everyone began to rise one after another. The food-loving merfolk trio also gathered around, eagerly inquiring, it smells wonderful. Brother, is breakfast ready? Of course. Yi Chuan nodded as he watched Saturday and Friday bringing over 2 large pots of soup. Brother, Saturday has specially prepared pork dumplings and spinach egg soup this morning. Friday chimed in, and of course, I helped too. The large white dumplings looked incredibly appetizing. The food-loving merfolk were nearly drooling. Brother, let us eat. Of course. Yi Chuan shrugged and instructed Saturday to serve the meals separately for the 3 merfolk before they began to dine. Wow, this is exceptionally delicious. Upon taking the first bite, the food-loving merfolk exclaimed with excitement. Who would have thought that something seemingly ordinary could taste so exquisite? When it comes to flavors, it's definitely from your kitchen, brother. I also have fine wine here. A battle is imminent, and there is no time for a grand feast, Yi Chuan said calmly. Let us save our revelry for after the fight. No problem, wine is equally delightful. The food-loving merfolk became serious. Then we have a deal, huh? Brother, after we've eaten and drunk our fill, can we ride the albatross? After the meal, Blueberry Jam began to whine playfully. All right, this time, Yi Chuan found it hard to refuse Blueberry Jam, allowing her, along with Willow and Liang Hongying, to hop onto the backs of the 3 small creatures. They took off into the sky after a brief run. Blueberry Jam was instantly thrilled. Having grown up, she never imagined she would one day soar through the sky on an albatross, finding it even smoother than an airplane. Meanwhile, Liang Hongying gazed towards the west, her expression gradually becoming grave. Chapter 219, The Outbreak of War, the harsh truth from this vantage point, one could already see the western barrier. The Jiuzhou region and the foreign region had begun to exchange fire. The vessels from the foreign region were predominantly large, attack-capable sailing ships, with a few medium-sized attack vessels. and it was rare to spot ordinary medium or small boats. In the Kyushu region, there are only a handful of aggressive large sailing vessels, and in the face of battle, they resort to ramming their ships, lacking cannonballs. The number of attack-capable medium sailing ships amounts to several hundred, yet only a few possess ammunition. It appears that the conflict has only just commenced, and already, the Kyushu region has suffered the loss of 1/3 of its fleet. If this continues, the Kyushu region is destined to fall. How exhilarating! Hee. As the excitement surged, Blueberry Jam eagerly leaped onto Yi Chuan, exclaiming, "Brother, I adore you." "Jam, get down." Liang Hongying reprimanded sternly at that moment. "What's wrong? You don't fancy my brother, do you?" Blueberry Jam eyed Liang Hongying warily, seemingly puzzled by her intentions. "Elder brother, I just witnessed the exchange of fire on the Albatross." Liang Hongying stated bluntly, "It's truly tragic. Aside from a few attack-capable medium sailing ships, the Kyushu region is practically a shooting gallery for them. I didn't expect the conflict to escalate so swiftly. This is somewhat beyond my anticipation." Yi Chuan raised his eyebrows and declared, "Hongying, you're with me. Liu Wei is paired with you, Gu, Blueberry Jam, Louis, and Lu Shuai will form a team. We shall each pilot submarines and launch an underwater assault." "Elder brother, what about me?" Xiao Feilong quickly inquired loudly. "The island will continue forward until we reach the barrier. You'll ascend the small hill and bombard them with the medium cannon." Yi Chuan stated plainly. "Do not skimp on the ammunition." "Yes, sir." Xiao Feilong's eyes sparkled with excitement as he hurriedly climbed to the hilltop. With nearly 300 rounds of cannonballs, surely that would suffice for some thrilling action. Immediately, the three teams boarded their submarines and swiftly navigated towards the fissure in the barrier. Yi Chuan activated the super tablet and glanced at the public chat messages. "Exhilarating. I've already obliterated 3 attack-capable medium sailing ships. Those fools are utterly unarmed. It's hilarious. Ha ha ha. I envy you. I'm still making my way east. It'll take me another day to arrive. Could you leave a few ships for me to blow up? Come on, what's the point? We estimate that in 3 hours, this battle will conclude. By the time you arrive, the good stuff will be long gone. Alas, I shall have to enter the Kyushu region and vent my frustration on a few islands. What a pity." Yi Chuan's expression turned grim as he opened the group chat. "Brothers, where are you? Send me your coordinates. I'll come find you." "Sure." Immediately. Someone sent the coordinates. "Cole, we're all assembled. We just sank an attack-capable large sailing ship. They truly are our live targets." "Excellent," Yi Chuan exclaimed, calling to Liang Hongying to prepare the torpedoes, pinpointing their location, and without hesitation, pressed the launch button. Moments later, he pressed it twice more. In the group chat, chaos erupted. "What the hell? We were actually attacked by torpedoes. They have submarines too. How infuriating." "Apologies, but it was I who launched the attack," Yi Chuan promptly replied. "I am not Cole. He was kidnapped by me over a month ago." "What? Damn it. Did we trade all our sulfur nitrate to you? Who on earth are you?" The group was in an uproar, unleashing a torrent of curses at Yi Chuan. "I am merely an ordinary island lord from the Jojo region. Indeed, your goods were traded to me, and the torpedoes now being used against you are quite a surprise, aren't they? Don't fret, in a few seconds, 2 more torpedoes will be on their way, so prepare for your journey." Yi Chuan sent a laughing emoji in response. The adversaries fell silent, and the number of participants in the group dwindled rapidly. Within 10 seconds, only Cole remained, evidently having been dealt with by the 3 torpedoes. Without hesitation, Yi Chuan locked onto the foreign region's vessels using radar and commenced indiscriminate bombardment. He showed no restraint, launching 50 of the over 300 torpedoes he possessed in one go. Simultaneously, Zhao Feiyu and Lu Shuai, piloting their submarines, swiftly unleashed over 100 torpedoes. Within 30 seconds, they had reduced hundreds of foreign vessels to rubble. Observing the public chat of the foreign region, the tone had dramatically shifted. "Oh my goodness. What on earth happened? Hundreds of ships were obliterated. It must have taken hundreds of bombs to achieve this. The enemy must possess submarines, otherwise, such a feat would be impossible, and not merely pocket-sized submarines. It's astonishing how the typically impoverished Jojo region could have submarines. Could there be a traitor among us? We must retreat and cease our speculations, or we may all be wiped out." After reading the messages, Yi Chuan immediately maneuvered his submarine to the surface, witnessing a vast inferno in the distance. Outside the protective barrier of the foreign region, where had their previous arrogance gone, Yi Chuan then returned to Turtle Island, where he found Xiao Feilong descending from the hill. "Big brother, that was exhilarating. How many shells did you fire?" Yi Chuan inquired. "I intended to fire more, but I only managed to launch over 20, Xiao Feilong replied sheepishly. "Your torpedoes are far more powerful than the shells." "Indeed," Yi Chuan nodded slightly. Noticing that Zhao Feiyu and the others had not yet returned, he checked the public chat messages. A massive island emerged. And all the foreign warships suddenly exploded. What an exhilarating experience. I thought I might perish in this battle, but the outcome turned out to be so thrilling. It's simply unbelievable. We triumphed. The foreign region's attempt to encroach upon Jiuzhou is nothing short of a dream. I believe that enormous island floating on the sea must have struck the foreign region. Otherwise, such strength would be unattainable. A faint smile crept upon Yichuan's lips as he chose not to reply, instead stepping back outside. At this moment, the little dragon exclaimed in astonishment, "Brother, come quickly and see." Following the sound, they beheld a colossal warship, stretching over 100 meters in length, crafted entirely from metal, swiftly approaching from the foreign territory. With a thunderous cacophony, a multitude of cannons aboard the ship unleashed a barrage directed at Turtle Island. Chapter 220. Domination from the warship. In disbelief, Yichuan couldn't help but curse under his breath. With so many people in the foreign territory, and among those few in the chat group, why had no one informed him of the presence of a warship? Were they intending to surprise him? As he watched the barrage of cannonballs hurtling towards them, Yichuan immediately activated his absolute defense. In an instant, a massive arc appeared over Turtle Island, and the cannonballs detonated in midair, merely 20 meters from the island, bursting forth like a dazzling display of fireworks. "Little dragon," Yichuan shouted urgently. In that moment, the little dragon was momentarily stunned, only to belatedly dash towards the small hill, taking control of the medium artillery to commence a counterattack. Before the novice zone concluded, a fleet could not possibly be constructed. This warship was likely a reward obtained from opening a supply box or something similar. Yichuan mused solemnly. However, regardless of the reasoning, the appearance of such a vessel at this juncture was utterly perplexing. How had it come to be? Boom. The cannonballs relentlessly struck the hull of the warship. Yet it seemed entirely impervious to damage, truly a fortress of steel. As the warship prepared for a second assault, Yichuan ceased his contemplation, utilizing the remaining shield before swiftly entering the submarine, plunging beneath the waves. Hong Ying, switch to missiles. Yichuan bellowed, simultaneously aiming at the warship. With Liang Hongying's response, the missiles were launched with great ferocity towards the warship. Zhao Feiyu and Lu Shuai appear to have also noticed this behemoth, promptly deploying torpedoes in retaliation, though regrettably, the torpedoes fared poorly against the ironclad adversary. On board the warship, over 30 personnel diligently performed their duties. Captain Toribasaki, resembling a deity, surveyed the ships of the Jiuzhou region, convinced that no attack was necessary, as the vessel could simply trample them. However, upon observing Turtle Island and the discourse in the public chat room, Toribasaki commanded all ship weaponry to fire, determined to obliterate the island. What he did not anticipate was that the initial onslaught would be thwarted. The island possessed an unexpectedly formidable defense mechanism. In the next moment, Toribasaki roared furiously. "Prepare for the second wave of attack. Fire." Boom. As his words fell, the ship trembled violently, swaying to one side, causing the crew to stagger and some to collapse to the floor. A barrage of cannonballs rained down upon Turtle Island once more. Yet, as in previous encounters, a shield materialized to thwart the onslaught of artillery. What is happening? Toribaski's eyes widened in disbelief. Are submarines attacking our warship? It appears so. A technician promptly nodded, wide-eyed, and added, "Moreover, there is more than one." What? Toribaski's expression shifted dramatically, struggling to accept this revelation. Typically, a submarine's torpedoes pose no threat to us. Are they employing missiles? Boom. Accompanying this exclamation, a new wave of assault erupted, with 3 missiles striking the hull violently. "Captain, a breach over 3 meters long has formed in the ship's bottom, and a torrent of seawater is flooding in. If we do not take immediate action, we shall sink within half an hour," a staff member declared loudly. "Where shall we find a remedy? If we possessed such technology, our warship would have been constructed long ago." Toribaski bellowed, realizing that with only 30 minutes left before sinking, they must utilize every resource to shine brightly for their compatriots in the foreign district. "Captain, issue the command." Taking a deep breath, a technician spoke with grave seriousness. "Since this island has a defensive mechanism, rendering us unable to strike it, we shall unleash all our artillery upon the other vessels," Toribaski coldly asserted. "Since our ship is nearly obliterated, the ships of the Jiuzhou district shall not escape unscathed either." Yes, the crew immediately began loading all the ammunition, initiating a collective bombardment of the sailboats in the Jiuzhou district. At this moment, Yichuan had returned to Turtle Island after retrieving the submarine, witnessing the destruction of the sailboats, yet feeling utterly powerless. No one could believe that the enemy still possessed warships. For the comrades in the Jojo district, this can only be regarded as a lamentable fate. Brother, they have ceased their attack on our island. Little Flying Dragon exclaimed with delight. We shall ascend. Yichuan replied coolly, calling for the three little ones to leap onto Wansai's back and head towards the warship. Meanwhile, Torabaski calmly stated, all right, let us prepare to set sail. Alice, configure the warship to collide with the barrier in hopes of breaching it. Certainly. Without a moment's hesitation, Alice commenced her operation. Who goes there? Outside, voices were raised in alarm. Torabaski dashed out, only to find two Jojo individuals had ventured onto the deck. In an instant, 7 or 8 armed personnel brandished crossbows and launched an assault. Yichuan and his companions swiftly sought refuge, while steel bolts rained down, claiming the lives of all 7 assailants. Torabaski had now led his crew onto the deck, coldly fixing his gaze upon the 2 intruders, and demanded, You possess remarkable audacity to invade our warship? Before his words had fully escaped his lips, Zhao Feiyu and his companions surged forward, smiling as they declared, Apologies, but should you dare to launch an assault on our Jojo district, be prepared to meet your demise. Damn it, cursed Torabaski through gritted teeth. Having acquired this battleship, he believed he could dominate the 2 novice zones. However, it turned out the Jojo district possessed its own secret weapon, which had effortlessly damaged the battleship with merely a handful of missiles. What is this nonsense? Is it you who will surrender? Or shall we take matters into our own hands? Zhao Feiyu inquired nonchalantly. Everyone, heed my command. Annihilate them. Torabaski bellowed, leading the charge toward Zhao Feiyu and his group. Overconfident fools. Yichuan smirked coldly, gesturing slightly, and his companions immediately advanced to meet the challenge. Their combat prowess was formidable, and they dispatched several foreign island lords in the blink of an eye, like a tiger among sheep. Only Torabaski, who was entangled with Yichuan, seemed to have imbibed a considerable amount of enhancement liquid, allowing him to hold his ground against Yichuan with equal force, wielding a 1-meter-long dagger that did not appear to be an ordinary weapon. Chapter 221. A battle of mutual destruction despite Torabaski's repeated retreats during the clash with Yichuan. His blade remained unscathed. This dagger weighed over 100 pounds, capable of severing hair with ease, and one could only imagine the fate of any ordinary weapon facing it. Yet, he managed to withstand more than a dozen strikes. Naturally, Yichuan had already reserved this dagger for himself. In an instant, Yichuan feigned a move and collided forcefully with Torabaski. Though Torabaski had consumed ample enhancement liquid, his strength did not exceed 100 tons, rendering him utterly incomparable to Yichuan. This single blow sent him hurtling over 10 meters away, crashing against the hatch door, which yielded under the impact, creating a dent. Torabaski lay on the ground, spitting blood, with 3 broken ribs. You are incapable, yet you still harbor ambitions to dominate my Jojo district. I cannot fathom your reasoning. Yichuan remarked, shaking his head slightly as he approached and lifted Torabaski. As Torabaski attempted to struggle and raised his dagger, Yichuan seized his wrist and flung the dagger at least 10 meters away. I will ask, and you shall respond. From whence did this battleship come? Why should I divulge such information? Torabaski retorted with a cold smile. Because you undoubtedly will tell me. Without engaging in futile banter, Yichuan grasped the injured area, causing Torabaski's face to contort in pain as he cried out. It was obtained from opening a supply crate. You can acquire a finished battleship from a supply crate. Yichuan narrowed his eyes, skeptical of his claim. Absolutely. Typically, supply crates are wooden, but the one I opened was made of iron and approximately 1/3 smaller than the ordinary wooden crates, Torabaski hastily explained. Inside was a battleship card and a shell card. Yichuan could hardly believe his ears, taken aback by the revelation. It appears that in previous lessons, only wooden supply crates were discussed, while none of the instructors have mentioned iron supply crates. However, upon reflection, it is evident that the current novice area has evolved significantly from the traditional understanding, so the emergence of new elements is hardly surprising. Is this dagger also obtained from an iron supply crate? Yichuan inquired once more. No. I have only encountered one iron supply crate. This dagger was procured from a wooden supply crate. Tuai Erba Siki replied, shaking his head repeatedly. The crafting blueprint I received allowed me to create it using 100 units of metal scraps and 10 units of wooden planks. In that case, it must have utilized refined steel and iron. Yichuan nodded, finally concluding with his last question. What are your plans now? We have programmed the battleship to collide with the barrier. Tuai Erba Siki responded. Since the battleship is on the verge of sinking, we must ensure it serves its purpose. We cannot stop. Yichuan furrowed his brow. No, it resembles a self-destruct sequence. Upon impact with the barrier, it will detonate instantly. Tuai Erba Siki explained, raising his hands in resignation. Damn. Yichuan's expression shifted dramatically. With merely 2 or 3 minutes remaining before the battleship would collide with the barrier, he bellowed, Hong Ying, you two form a team and take the small vessels to escape. Yugu, you take the submarine to assist me. With that, Yichuan dashed into the command room, located a super tablet, and swiftly traded the dagger to Cole's ID before leaping into the sea, simultaneously instructing the sea turtle to turn away from the barrier. Captain, there is no time left. What shall we do? On the deck, several individuals, including Alice, anxiously looked to Tua Air Ba Si Ki. Jump into the sea directly. Preserving our lives is paramount. Tua Air Ba Si Ki urged, leaping into the water first. After Yichuan entered the sea, he promptly boarded the submarine, with Zhao Feiyu activating it without delay, swiftly steering it away from the impending disaster. Yichuan quickly stowed the dagger away, allowing himself a moment of relief. It truly was a stroke of fortune to acquire such an indestructible dagger, especially given the pressing circumstances. Just over 200 meters from the barrier, the battleship collided with it, resulting in a tremendous explosion. A colossal mushroom cloud, accompanied by horrifying flames, engulfed a radius of 100 meters, causing the entire barrier to tremble violently. The ferocious shockwave radiated outward, inflicting secondary destruction upon countless vessels in the foreign and Jojo regions, reducing them to mere splintered debris. The waves surged forward. Even at a distance of over 200 meters from the explosion, the shockwave violently rocked the submarine, triggering multiple alarms on the instruments. A hefty steel plate collided with the submarine's propeller, breaching the rear compartment. Brother, this is not good, Zhao Feiyu stated gravely. The damage at the rear is far too severe. This submarine is nearly incapacitated. If it is unusable, we shall abandon it, as long as we are safe. That is what matters. Yichuan smiled and remarked that there was still one functioning propeller, which would suffice to reach the island. Indeed, Zhao Feiyu snapped his fingers, sealing the rear hatch, and propelled the vessel forward at full speed towards Turtle Island. Meanwhile, the turtle, having just deployed its absolute gravity, transformed into colossal waves that absorbed the shock of the explosion. Although the creature experienced slight swaying, it remained largely unharmed. The barrier, after being violently struck by the battleship, had sustained a gaping tear several dozen meters long and over 100 meters high. In summary, this barrier had effectively become a mere facade. It was unexpected that this confrontation would culminate in the mutual destruction of 2 major district warships. Gazing at the floating debris on the water's surface, Liu Yue could not help but sigh. Yes, our Jojo district has suffered over 1,000 casualties, Liang Hongying stated solemnly. However, in terms of proportion, the outcome is relatively commendable. With gradual development, our Jojo district will soon catch up to the foreign districts. Here, this short blade is for you, Yichuan said with a smile, tossing the dagger to Liang Hongying. Use your mountain-cutting knife for Xiao Feilong. This blade is quite exquisite. Liang Hongying's expression shifted as she received the dagger and swung it a few times. Compared to the mountain-cutting knife, this one suits me much better. That is precisely why I gifted it to you, Yichuan replied with a grin. Xiao Feilong's weapon lacks power. Let him use the mountain-cutting knife for now, and we shall find something better in the future, striving for a time when everyone possesses a suitable weapon. Agreed. In that moment, everyone shared a jubilant laugh. However, returning to the matter at hand, Yichuan wondered aloud why the hidden task had yet to be completed, despite having eliminated 30 foreign island masters. Noticing the system's prolonged silence, he voiced his confusion. Chapter 222. Task completed. Next steps. Note: the hidden task requires not only the elimination of 30 foreign island masters, but also the acquisition of 100,000 units of various basic resources, the system suddenly elucidated. Yichuan's understanding dawned as he recalled the details of the hidden task. Brother, look over there. There are still many surviving foreign island masters. Xiao Feilong pointed into the distance. Let us go take a look. Yichuan, inspired by an idea, promptly commanded the turtle to swim over. Help! Help! The foreign island masters cried out in unison. I need various basic resources. Whoever can provide them, I shall rescue. Yichuan responded with a smile. I have 30,000 wooden planks and 20,000 metal sheets. Save me, and I'll give you all the basic materials. I have 50,000 plastics and 10,000 glass. Rescue me first. My super tablet is nearby and hasn't been damaged. Hurry and pull me up. I have plenty of basic resources too. The foreign island masters clamored eagerly. Ultimately, Yichuan rescued 10 foreign island masters who possessed basic resources and whose super tablets remained undamaged. Where are your basic materials? Don't tell me they're on your island. No. We feared that by the time we arrived, our supplies would be pilfered. So we placed them at a premium on the trading interface, a foreign island master hastily explained. What is your ID? I shall transfer the goods to you at once. Without hesitation, Yichuan produced Cole's super tablet, prompting everyone to commence trading in succession. In a mere half hour, Yichuan amassed over 200,000 units of various basic supplies. Detected that the host has slain 30 foreign island masters, acquiring 100,000 units of various basic resources. The hidden task is complete. A surprise gift package has been obtained. Would you like to open it? Fortunately, my intelligence has allowed me to acquire such a wealth of basic supplies effortlessly. A smile flickered across Yichuan's face as he promptly declared, "Open it." Surprise gift package is opening. Congratulations, host. You have received an evolution value package, a special nutrient solution for miraculous seeds, absolute defense, and a resource package. Not too shabby. I have also acquired a special nutrient solution for miraculous seeds and absolute defense. Boss, are we going to live on this vast island from now on? A foreign island master remarked with anticipation as he surveyed the surroundings. Yichuan scoffed and exchanged a knowing glance with the little dragon. Instantly, the little dragon bellowed, "All of you, vacate our island at once. This master has rescued you, and you dare to remain here after our transaction." The foreign island master grew frantic. "Are you tearing down the bridge after crossing it? I care not for your intentions. I am the one speaking now. You have 10 seconds. If you do not depart this island promptly, do not blame me for my lack of courtesy." As the little dragon spoke, he brandished a crossbow. 1, 2, 3, I won't leave. Boss, you promised us. And you should be responsible for us. Otherwise, before he could finish, an arrow struck his chest, and the little dragon seized him by the collar, hurling him off the island. You have 3 seconds. The little dragon intoned coldly. The others, too intimidated to protest, leaped into the sea. Better to risk death than to face certain doom on land. Subsequently, Yichuan instructed the turtle to navigate toward a nearby natural island, arriving before the miraculous tree to pour the potion upon it. At that moment, the miraculous tree, now reaching 30 meters in height, would undoubtedly continue to grow, thickening and protruding further due to the potion's effects. It had already reached 60 meters and showed no signs of halting. One could only wonder how tall it would eventually become. As everyone began to rest, Yichuan returned to his room to check the messages in the public chat room. You wouldn't believe it. Although our Jiuzhou region was at a disadvantage, our battleships ended up in a mutual destruction with those from the foreign region. What an exhilarating outcome. Is that so? While the result is tragic, at least we were not subjected to a one-sided massacre. Speaking of which, what were you doing? All the battleships were engaged with those from the foreign region, and you were merely spectating? How ridiculous. I merely failed to arrive on time. Just a few hundred meters away, a terrifying explosion occurred, nearly obliterating my attack-type medium sailboat. I was fortunate to escape with my life, all right? In response, Yichuan merely smiled faintly, offering no further commentary. However, at this moment, the mineral resources that needed to be located in the Jiuzhou region had been found. The next step was to venture into foreign territories in search of their mineral deposits. Yet, before that, the matter concerning Lu Yi needed to be addressed. Although Lu Yi had participated in the recent battle, she felt as though she had been of no assistance whatsoever. Even the task of loading missiles was executed more swiftly by Blueberry Jam, rendering her an outlier among the others on the island, and she even felt like a burden. Upon returning, she remained confined to her room, not even emerging for lunch. After some contemplation, Yichuan entered her room, smiling as he inquired, Lu Yi, why the long face? I couldn't contribute at all. I feel utterly useless. Lu Yi replied with a bitter smile. I'm sorry for being around you all. Is it really that serious? Yichuan shrugged. I think you should just send me back, Lu Yi said, biting her lip, finally voicing the thought she had held in for so long. I can't help with anything. I feel completely invisible. Although no one has said anything, it truly weighs on my heart. You are letting your pride get the better of you. Yichuan shook his head in exasperation. Perhaps, but I genuinely cannot face you all anymore, Lu Yi replied, shaking her head with a bitter smile. How about this? I have a natural island, over 5,000 square meters in size, with freshwater streams, small animals, and various defenses against external threats. It's quite perfect. Yichuan suggested after a moment's thought. Most importantly, it can accommodate a super flat platform. I can place you there, and you can develop in your own space. What do you think? His words visibly altered Lu Yi's expression, though she quickly masked it and nodded, saying, All right, let us proceed as you suggested. Well, without discussing anything else, at least your safety will be assured, Yichuan reassured her, patting her shoulder. We should arrive by tomorrow morning. Once we get there, you can decide whether to stay. Brother, come quickly and see. Just then, little flying dragon shouted from outside. Chapter 223. The Great White Shark and the School of Sharks. The departure of the merfolk. Upon hearing this, Yi Chuan dashed outside. Zhao Feiyu and the others were gazing at the sea, hundreds of meters away. Following their line of sight, Yi Chuan beheld a myriad of marine creatures leaping from the depths, an awe-inspiring spectacle. Those are great white sharks, a whole school. Yi Chuan stated solemnly after activating his shared vision. There are thousands of them, densely packed. How could there suddenly be so many great white sharks? Over 10,000. Little Flying Dragon exclaimed in disbelief. Such a massive number could easily devastate the entire Novice Zone's waters. At that moment, with a loud splash, the three gluttonous mermaids leapt from the ocean, shaking their heads in disbelief. How could there be so many great white sharks all of a sudden? It's utterly terrifying. Brother, do you have any idea what is happening? Leaf Chuan, while instructing the sea turtle to evade to the side, asked earnestly. Isn't it due to that battleship colliding with the barrier, triggering a chain reaction? The gluttonous mermaid replied with a scoff. The fissure that had once been repaired between the Novice area and the open sea has reopened. The Novice area is not only safer than the open sea, but also has a higher oxygen content, which is why it has attracted a swarm of sharks. Another fissure has opened, Leaf Chuan said, his brow furrowed. The ability to attract tens of thousands of great white sharks surely meant other terrifying creatures could also be drawn in. Moreover, while powerful marine creatures are not inherently frightening, what is truly alarming is when they appear in droves. I know great white sharks are social creatures, but encountering tens of thousands of them all at once is something I've never witnessed before. Leaf Chuan mused, watching in awe as the multitude of sharks swam by. If only he had a camera to capture such a magnificent sight. It seems those island lords who perished or were grievously injured have truly suffered. Zhao Feiyu remarked with a sigh. With so many great white sharks, they could put up quite a fight against a battleship. The fissure between the Novice area and the open sea is where these great white sharks are coming from, Leaf Chuan stated solemnly. Does that mean we could pilot a submarine to escape? The Little Flying Dragon remarked, his expression shifting. Brother, can we actually get out? Leaf Chuan asked eagerly. I don't know. The gluttonous mermaid replied, looking bewildered. This situation is likely unprecedented in your Novice area. I doubt anyone knows for sure. Be aware. Just as veteran island lords from the open sea are barred from interacting with novice island lords upon entering the Novice area. Novice island lords who venture into the open sea during their novice period must remain hidden at the seabed without any interaction with other island lords. At this moment, the system directly addressed Leaf Chuan's inquiry. Leaf Chuan promptly relayed this information to the Little Flying Dragon and the others, leaving them somewhat speechless. It was, without a doubt, a regrettable circumstance. Brothers, let us prepare a grand feast. After one last meal, we shall depart from the Novice area and return home. The gluttonous mermaid exclaimed eagerly. And we must indulge in the wine we've been longing for. Absolutely. Leaf Chuan chuckled, dismissing further thoughts on the matter and instructed Saturday to begin preparing dinner. Meanwhile, Zhao Feiyu and Liang Hongying ventured into the forest to hunt some wild rabbits, waiting for Saturday to roast them as a snack. As night fell, Saturday had prepared several exquisite dishes. Leaf Chuan then produced 2 pieces of honeycomb. Brother, today is a joyous occasion, so I brought out my treasured honeycomb as a pre-meal dessert. This stuff smells delightful, the gluttonous mermaid said, hesitantly breaking off a piece to taste. Her expression changed dramatically. Holy moly, how can it be this delicious? A gift from nature. Leaf Chuan replied with a beaming smile. Delicious, haha. In an instant, the 3 mermaids began to feast heartily. As for the 3 mermaids, perhaps it was the impending departure that prompted them to each indulge in 2 liters of monkey wine, reveling in the experience. Moreover, under the insistence of the food-loving mermaid, they each requested a piece of honeycomb after their meal, astonishing Yi Chuan with their hearty appetites. In just a month, their capacity for food has significantly increased. In the late hours of the night, the 3 mermaids fell into a deep slumber outside, while the others tended to their evening routines and returned to their rooms. It was then that Yi Chuan opened the public chat room. Is there anyone who can assist me? 6 hours post-battle, a swarm of great white sharks attacked. I barely escaped by hiding on a massive iron plate from a warship, but now that the plate has vanished, I'm on the brink of drowning. Wow, your super tablet remains unscathed despite all this. You must be quite impressive. I'm a girl. My super tablet is on a piece of wood from my small boat that was blown apart, and that's how I managed to survive. But I don't know how much longer I can hold on. Then you'll have to endure it yourself. Perhaps someone passing by can rescue you. Finding no useful information, Yi Chuan's interest waned, leading him to abandon the chat and retire for the night. The next morning, he awoke to the system's voice. Upon stepping outside, he discovered that the 3 mermaids had silently departed. It was uncertain whether they disliked farewells or feared that they would become adversaries upon their next encounter. After all, Zhao Tiefeng's actions in the open sea had already provoked the merfolk, and a conflict with the island's master was inevitable, potentially affecting the novice island master as well. Moreover, it appeared that the barrier between the two major regions had begun to crack, achieving a state of connectivity. Perhaps the global interface would be initiated sooner than anticipated? 3 months hence, the activation of the global interface and the emergence of the world channel would signify the conclusion of the novice phase. The dissolution of the novice area barrier and the true immersion into the open sea, marking the onset of genuine trials. Check-in. Without further contemplation, Yi Chuan spoke aloud. Check-in successful. Congratulations, host. You have gained 1,000 evolution points and a 3-fold enhancement card. The system's voice followed suit. A surge of joy filled Yi Chuan. Although this item did not compare to the double enhancement, it could transform a fixed item into 3-fold, often surpassing the double enhancement in value. Brother Chuan, breakfast is ready. Saturday approached with a large pot of spinach and egg soup, accompanied by fried dough and pickled chili vegetables. Pickled vegetables? Yi Chuan's expression brightened. I transformed the freshly harvested greens into pickles, seasoned with vinegar and spices, Saturday explained. Excellent. Yi Chuan nodded in approval, ready to call everyone for breakfast. However, Liang Hongying exclaimed, Big brother, look, there's an island. That is our island. Yi Chuan replied with a smile. Let us have breakfast first, and then we shall set foot on the island. Upon hearing this, Lu Yi in the room pressed her lips together and finally emerged, gazing at the distant island. Taking a deep breath, perhaps this island will be my home in the future. Chapter 224, surprisingly, it's a pet after breakfast. Turtle Island arrived adjacent to the natural island. This natural island was enveloped by a translucent barrier before Yi Chuan set foot upon it. And only Yi Chuan possessed the key to unlock that barrier. At this moment, Yi Chuan retrieved the key from his inventory, a metallic piece shaped like a 5-pointed maple leaf. As he placed it against the barrier, the translucent shield swiftly dissolved outward from the center, vanishing entirely within mere seconds. Brother, what's going on? Blueberry Jam asked in astonishment. It's a secret. Yi Chuan winked at Blueberry Jam and then smiled. Let's go. In an instant, all 8 of them stepped onto the island. Spanning over 5,000 square meters, the island featured approximately 2,000 square meters of woodland, with a river about 2 meters wide flowing from the trees and eventually merging with the sea. Occasionally, fish could be seen swimming playfully in the water, embodying a spirit of freedom. This place is so beautiful, Blueberry Jam exclaimed, spinning around with her arms outstretched. Brother, look at that patch of emerald grass ahead, adorned with colorful flowers. Building a house there and living here would surely be incredibly romantic. Then you should settle here, Liang Hongying suggested directly. Blueberry Jam pouted and replied, Oh please, I wouldn't settle here. I'd rather stay with my brother. As she spoke, she hugged Yi Chuan's arm, beaming. Right, brother? Big brother, look. Little Flying Dragon quietly signaled to Yi Chuan. Only then did Yi Chuan notice that, amidst the trees, 7 or 8 silverback gorillas were watching them with unfriendly expressions, as if they were adversaries intruding upon their territory. Such large gorillas, Blueberry Jam gasped. Those are silverback gorillas, Zhao Feiyu stated solemnly. But they appear to be half again larger than those in Jiuzhou. Moreover, their current hostility toward us is evident. Their restraint in not driving us away is quite courteous. Even so, we must ensure they are sent on their way, Yi Chuan sighed. Lu Yi will live on this island for a while. We need to guarantee that nothing poses a threat to her. Everyone exchanged surprised glances at Lu Yi. They all understood her tendency to be reclusive. Yet they had tacitly chosen not to focus on it. It was unexpected that she now intended to leave. Yi Chuan, Zhao Feiyu, Little Flying Dragon, Lu Shuai, and Liang Hongying strode purposefully toward the silverback gorillas. These gorillas were armed with wooden sticks and stones, but merely observed Yi Chuan and the others without launching an attack. The lead gorilla even took a few steps back, its hostility having dissipated. Not attacking? Yi Chuan was taken aback and then inquired, System, what is the meaning of this? This is a natural island provided by the system. Everything on it belongs to your assets. The system promptly provided an answer. One must ponder. Could your pet inflict harm upon you? Astonished, Yi Chuan nearly cried out, realizing he had almost jeopardized his pet's life. Thankfully, he had consulted the system first. However, another question arose. Now that I wish to transfer this natural island to Lu Yi, what shall become of these pets? Although the island belongs to you, the super tablet has yet to be relocated. The system swiftly clarified that whoever first moves the super tablet to this island shall become the island's permanent owner, thus inheriting all that belongs to it. A revelation dawned upon Yi Chuan. The advantages of this island are substantial, not to mention, should anyone truly venture onto it. Even the mere presence of those silverback gorillas would pose a formidable challenge. Let us return, he chuckled, as he led his companions back. Yichuan promptly produced a blueprint for a wooden cabin and constructed it upon the grass. Lu Yi, should you have made up your mind, you may stay here temporarily. When you wish to depart, we shall come to fetch you. I've made my decision. I shall remain for now, Lu Yi replied earnestly to Yichuan. Once I have developed sufficiently, I will seek you out. Very well. We shall build you a storage facility and provide enough provisions for 2 months, Yichuan acquiesced, nodding without further persuasion, adding, along with some self-defense weapons. All right. Lu Yi agreed with a nod. Consequently, they all immediately set to work, laboring for over an hour to complete the task. Thank you, everyone, Lu Yi said gratefully, bowing to them. Being with you all brings me joy, and I believe we shall meet again in the near future. When that time comes, I will reintroduce myself. Keep it up, we have faith in you. Blueberry Jam nodded vigorously, encouraging Lu Yi with a gesture of determination. Taking a deep breath, Lu Yi stepped forward to embrace Yichuan, standing on tiptoe to plant a gentle kiss on his cheek. Thank you for everything you've done for me. I will make you proud. Go for it. Yichuan chuckled. After Lu Yi positioned the super tablet on the island, Yichuan led everyone away, watching as the barrier slowly closed once more. Blueberry Jam sighed. This sister possesses remarkable resolve. I could never make such a decision. How can you speak of resolve when you are pampered with fine food and drink on the island? Liang Hongying retorted with a hint of annoyance. Hee. Blueberry Jam blushed and laughed. By the way, since Lu Yi has temporarily left, could Liang Hongying move in with Wei Wei? I would prefer not to be alone in a room. Oh, are you starting to find me bothersome? Liang Hongying playfully wrapped her arms around Blueberry Jam. Should we have another discussion about this? What is there to discuss? If you don't wish to move, I shall continue to share a room with you. Blueberry Jam recoiled, hesitant to utter another word, as he gazed at the gradually receding natural island. Yichuan couldn't help but let out a faint sigh. Allowing Lu Yi to leave for the time being was indeed a blessing, as being constantly surrounded by these people could potentially lead to depression over time. Now, he could venture into foreign regions without any reservations. At that moment, the system unexpectedly chimed in, announcing a hidden quest. Discover hidden task. Will the host accept? Yichuan's spirits lifted at the prospect, and he inquired eagerly. What is the hidden task? Chapter 225. The generous Yichuan, forming a group. The hidden task entails that the host must locate 10 mineral deposits before the novice area opens. Upon completion, a generous reward will be granted. Will you accept? The system responded. Yichuan was taken aback. Before the novice area opens? Currently, he had already found 5 mineral resources: combustible ice, phosphorus, iron, ore, gold, and oil. This meant he still needed to discover 5 more sites. The host may choose to accept or decline. The system reiterated. May I inquire how long until the novice area opens? Yichuan's lips twitched, compelled to ask. Conservatively estimated, it will be 3 weeks, the system replied. What? Yichuan's expression shifted dramatically. Indeed, I had a premonition that after a series of events, the novice area would certainly open early, and I suspected it might occur in 3 months. Now, it has come to fruition. However, he realized that if he declined, there would be no more hidden tasks in the future. Thus, he nodded decisively. I accept. Detection confirms that the host has accepted the hidden task. Please complete it promptly. The system's voice followed. It seemed imperative to proceed to foreign regions without delay, as the novice area was on the brink of opening. Taking a deep breath, Yichuan promptly shared the news with everyone. What? Little Flying Dragon was taken aback, calculating the timeline. The novice area was not slated to open for over 3 months, yet his brother claimed it was imminent. Brother, how do you know this? Blueberry Jam inquired with confusion. It's a secret. Yichuan winked at Blueberry Jam, confidently asserting that the novice area would indeed open in 3 weeks. In the ensuing period, our primary objective would be to seek out mineral resources, striving to discover 5 more before the novice phase concluded. 5 more. Liang Hongying regarded Yichuan with skepticism. Brother, mineral deposits are notoriously difficult to locate. Finding even 1 or 2 is already a remarkable feat. Searching for 5 seems implausible. Since I've made this statement, rest assured I possess the confidence. Yichuan's lips curled into a smirk. Before the novice phase concludes, I promise each of you that I will find at least 1 mineral resource. Regardless of the quantity of the deposit, I shall only charge you 500 million. At this declaration, apart from Zhao Feiyu, everyone else was left astonished. Though the minerals beneath the sea are notoriously elusive, once discovered, their abundance is undeniably prodigious, with reserves commencing at a minimum of 5 billion. To think that the elder brother only accepted 5 billion. Is there truly any distinction from a mere gift? Lu Shuai, Xiao Feilong, Lu Yuei, and Liang Hongying have all arrived bearing the responsibilities of their families. Upon successfully departing the novice zone, they are compelled to locate a mineral resource for their families, ensuring they receive substantial support in the marine realm. Meanwhile, the previous island lords have yet to uncover any mineral deposits, and should I succeed in this endeavor, the perception of Yi Chuan among the others would surely transform. Blueberry Jam, with a playful smile, interjected, "Brother, I have no desire for your mineral resources. You saved my life, and simply being by your side brings me immense satisfaction. When the time comes, you shall realize that matters are far from as simple as you envision." Yi Chuan patted Blueberry Jam on the shoulder and declared, "Very well. Let us now venture into the foreign region and strive to uncover minerals at the earliest opportunity." At noon, on Saturday, a sumptuous feast was prepared. After dining, each retreated for rest, while Yi Chuan initiated a message in the public chat room. "I have entered the foreign region. It seems quite similar to the Jojo region, merely separated by an additional barrier. Impressive, brother. Aren't you concerned about being discovered by foreign island lords, who might seek to eliminate you?" "Oh, if I were apprehensive about that, I wouldn't have come. I wonder which foreigner dares to trouble me. I would simply obliterate them with artillery." Brothers, have you noticed that the super tablet now features a group chat function, allowing us to gather friends into one chat? Wow, I just realized this. What a splendid feature. No more sending messages one by one to keep in touch with friends. Yi Chuan's expression shifted as he indeed noticed a group creation feature on the side of his friend list. He promptly added Zhao Feiyu, Blueberry Jam, and others. However, when attempting to include Lu Yi, she declined. This was something Yi Chuan could comprehend. She harbored feelings of inferiority, believing herself less than the rest, which led her to pursue her own path, temporarily distancing herself from the group. Perhaps one day, she would emerge as an exceptional island lord, dazzling everyone with her brilliance. Yet, Yi Chuan suddenly recalled an important matter. Prior to the commencement of combat, those individuals in the coal group had been tirelessly extracting sulfur and saltpeter. And having provided him with so much, there must be a mine involved. If sulfur and saltpeter are indeed two separate sites. This prompted Yi Chuan to immediately board the submarine and open the super tablet, only to find that the group had vanished as several members had perished. He felt compelled to send a message in the public chat room. "Greetings, everyone. I am Cole. I have returned, but I lack the coordinates for the sulfur mine. Could anyone share them with me? Cole, you actually survived this fierce battle? Traitor, while everyone else is charging in a battle, you, who have long been lurking beneath the surface of the Jojo region, have somehow managed to survive. Surely, you must have fled at the last moment. How dare you come to us seeking coordinates? Have you no shame? You had best hope I do not cross paths with you. If I do, I shall strike you without hesitation." In an instant, the public chat room erupted into a chorus of condemnation against Cole, who had swiftly transformed from a once revered hero into a reviled pariah. Yi Chuan smirked and quickly interjected, "I participated in the battle, but I encountered a submarine from the Jojo region. It was a small vessel, while I was aboard a miniature submarine. After exhausting all my torpedoes, I found myself outmatched and barely managed to escape. My submarine took over 10 hours to repair, but has now been upgraded to a small submarine. Once I extract sulfur and nitrate, I shall manufacture missiles and return to confront the Jojo region." His words sounded almost convincing, yet someone expressed skepticism. "It seems as though you are fabricating this tale. Then you may wait for me at the sulfur mine. I shall personally explain myself and invite you to tour my small submarine." Yi Chuan answered generously. Upon hearing this, many began to shift their opinions. At that moment, a private message arrived, revealing coordinates to Yi Chuan. "Cole, this mine was discovered by you. How could you forget the coordinates and mention it in the public chat? If everyone were to find out, wouldn't many island lords come to claim it? I had no choice. My submarine was upgraded, and most of the data was reset, leaving me in the dark. I had to resort to searching in the public chat room." Yi Chuan replied. "How many people are currently at the mine?" "There are still about a dozen of us, and we've extracted 5,000 kilograms of sulfur and nitrate. Should we transfer it to you?" The other party inquired. "No need. I should arrive in about 3 days." Yi Chuan declined directly. After exchanging a few more casual remarks, Yi Chuan returned to his island, commanding the sea turtle to proceed to the given coordinates. He also instructed the dolphin to swim close to the seabed and report any encounters with unknown mines. The entire afternoon was spent in preparation. At present, all island lords were able to recover a significant number of supply crates, yielding ample food and valuable items. Thus, Yi Chuan found no necessity to catch fish or sell freshwater to others. Although this might have curtailed his income, After more than 2 months of development, Yichuan had amassed hundreds of thousands of basic resources, with a plethora of rare materials filling 2 large warehouses, leaving him unconcerned about these supplies. However, Yichuan sought out Lu Wei, smiling as he asked, Wei, you previously mentioned that your family specializes in ecology and has a series of related industrial chains? Indeed. Lu Wei nodded without hesitation. Brother, why are you suddenly bringing this up? Due to a promising business opportunity one have, I am confident that we shall prosper. Yichuan chuckled. You must have seen the spring water we are drinking, right? Of course, we have been using it consistently. It is sweet and delectable, rich in various nutrients. Lu Yue nodded. Then her expression shifted. Brother, are you planning to sell this water? Currently, we are utilizing only 1/3 of it, while 2/3 flows directly into the ocean. Do you not find that a pity? Yichuan replied, that is my thought. This water is already exceptional. If I add 500 milliliters of S-grade fresh water to 1 ton of it, we can produce 2,000 bottles of 500 milliliters mineral water, each selling for 100 yuan. Not too expensive, is it? Brother, if that is truly your plan, each bottle could be priced at 1,000 yuan. Lu Yue stated with seriousness. You must understand. Even with the addition of 500 milliliters of S-grade freshwater to 1 ton, the quality would be equivalent to C-grade freshwater. Even C-grade freshwater can enhance beauty and gradually improve health. In the 9 provinces, and indeed across the entire Blue Star, there is no shortage of wealthy individuals. They would gladly spend 1,000 yuan daily for a bottle of water that promises to enhance health, prolong life, and beautify the skin. Furthermore, we can implement a hunger marketing strategy, selling only 2 tons a day, equating to 4,000 bottles, and there will still be many eager customers lining up to purchase. What a splendid idea, Yichuan nodded in approval. Indeed, as a scion of a prominent family, her business acumen far surpassed his own. Selling 4,000 bottles at 1,000 yuan each amounts to 4 million yuan, Lu Yue continued. We can split the profits 60 to 40. We will cover the costs of materials, processing, and labor, paying you 2 million daily, which totals 72 million a month. At this point, Lu Yue's excitement turned her face crimson. Even after deducting costs, her family would still net 45 million monthly, amounting to 540 million annually. It was a lucrative venture indeed. Naturally, Yichuan was astounded. He understood the potential for profit, but never anticipated it would be this substantial, nearly 900 million in a year. Moreover, he would need to manage nothing, merely provide the water. Indeed, one can earn ample wealth anywhere in the oceanic realm, depending on how one chooses to operate. Brother, you must entrust this business to me, Lu Yue exclaimed, gripping Yichuan's hand with excitement. This seemingly bright and innocent young man had assisted her greatly along her journey. And if the mineral resource worth 500 million and her business aspirations came to fruition, she could undoubtedly emerge as a leader among the younger generation of the Lu family, perhaps even the most formidable candidate for the future patriarch. Rest assured, since I have sought you out, I intend to entrust this business to you. Yichuan smiled at Lu Yue. We all stand to profit, and I bear minimal risk. What's not to like? Thus, the two verbally established an agreement, awaiting the opening of the novice zone to put their plans into action. Soon, night fell, and after dinner, everyone chatted for a while before proceeding with their evening routines and retiring to bed. The public chat room yielded no valuable information. Yichuan casually browsed for a bit before succumbing to slumber. The following morning, he awoke to the enticing aroma of food wafting into his room. Realizing it was Saturday and the meals had already been prepared, taking a deep breath, he announced, Sign in. Sign in successful. Congratulations, host, on receiving 1,000 evolution points and 1 upgrade card. An upgrade card? Yichuan was taken aback. Suddenly recalling the time he had used an upgrade card to elevate an A-grade seawater purifier to an S-grade one. Could it be that the S-grade seawater purifier could now ascend to SS grade? Elated, he inquired with the system. The system responded directly, before entering the open sea. The maximum authority remains at S-grade. The upgrade card can be utilized to expand the capacity of the S-grade seawater purifier. Yichuan was momentarily stunned, realizing that the capacity of the S-grade seawater purifier was indeed an issue. Previously, it could only purify 240 milliliters in 24 hours, barely reaching 500 milliliters. The notion of profiting significantly from spring water seemed utterly fanciful. Consequently, he promptly asked, what will happen after the expansion? The system swiftly provided an answer. Required materials: 1 S-grade seawater purifier, 1 upgrade card, 300 fabric pieces, 120 metal pieces. Note: after expansion, the S-grade seawater purifier can purify 700 milliliters of fresh water into 35 milliliters of S-grade fresh water per hour, with a maximum capacity of 20,000 ml. Upon reading this, Yichuan was filled with excitement. What he wished for had materialized. With such an expansion, he could purify 840 milliliters of S-grade fresh water daily. Although this still fell short of the goal of infusing 1 L of S-grade fresh water into 2 tons of mineral water, he figured that even this amount sufficed. After all, business thrives on opportunism. Hey, are you up? Breakfast is ready. Just as Yichuan was pondering, Xiao Feilong knocked on his door. All right, Yichuan replied, promptly stepping out of his room. Following breakfast, he upgraded the S-grade seawater purifier and set a new goal. Everyone was to consume 300 milliliters of S-grade goat milk daily. After all, the novice phase was nearing its end, and soon the novice zone would merge with the outside world, presenting them with myriad unknown challenges. Notably, the highest capacity of the novice zone was S-grade, yet no S-grade marine creatures had yet appeared. The most formidable encountered thus far was the A-grade megalodon. Who could tell if S-grade marine creatures would emerge in the foreign district? If so, a fierce battle would likely ensue. After a night of travel, the group had now entered the foreign district. Just as the island masters had described, the two districts mirrored one another, with merely a barrier separating them. However, Zhao Feiyu soon discerned a troubling issue. Brother, do you see that island? It appears as if it has been struck by some colossal force. Everyone turned their gaze in the direction he indicated, and indeed, they beheld an island roughly the size of 100 square meters. Adorned with a small grove of over 200 square meters and a diminutive hill rising about 20 meters high, a veritable marvel, albeit small in stature. Yet now, a trench measuring at least 1 meter wide and 2 meters deep had emerged between the grove and the hill, clearly not a product of nature, but rather the result of external force. What could possibly have wrought such a terrifying mark? Yichuan furrowed his brow, noting the island had not vanished, indicating that its owner was still alive. But where could he be? Blueberry Jam inquired suspiciously. Almost as soon as the words left his lips, a thunderous sound reverberated, and the island began to sink slowly beneath the waves, disappearing from sight. From the moment they first glimpsed the island until it vanished, a mere 5 minutes had elapsed. Zhao Feiyu stated solemnly that there was no sign of the island's owner nearby. He could not possibly be hiding in the sea. Could it be that he had been consumed by the monstrous entity that created the dreadful trench, only to suffocate or be digested over the course of 5 minutes? Lu Yi Weiwei proposed a theory, though she noted that being dissolved by digestive fluids would require at least half an hour to an hour after being swallowed. Considering the fearsome trench that had appeared on the island, I suspect it is the work of a python. Casting a glance at Lu Yi Weiwei, Yichuan's expression turned grave. He recalled a previous encounter with a reticulated python, which measured 12 to 13 meters in length and possessed formidable combat capabilities. However, that python had not created a trench as deep as this one. If this really is a python, how massive and lengthy must it be? Could it even still be classified as a python? Perhaps it is an S-class terror of a creature? Though this question lingered in everyone's minds, they chose not to dwell on it too heavily and instead began their leisurely activities. After all, at this moment, they had no opportunity to salvage the supply crates, as they had already been retrieved by the dolphins. On the island, Friday and Saturday held their posts, while Blueberry Jam tended to the sheep and chickens, and Lu Yi Weiwei milked the goats. Beyond these tasks, there was little else to occupy their time, and they found themselves idly waiting. Each one had instructed the dolphins to sound the alarm if they encountered any potential threats, allowing them time to prepare for battle. To keep abreast of developments, Yichuan transferred Cole's super tablet to Turtle Island. Just yesterday, he provided the island's caretaker, who watched over Cole, with 3 weeks' worth of rations, ensuring that Cole would remain safe for at least that duration. Damn it, I really don't want to say this, but recently the number of supply crates we've managed to collect has plummeted by 2/3, and we haven't been able to procure anything of considerable value. Indeed, it seemed that all the good fortune had been snatched away by the island owners from the Jiuzhou region, while they feasted on meat. It appeared they would have to settle for mere bones. The Great War has concluded, and the island lords of the Jiuzhou region have let down their guard. Shall we quietly make our approach? It's a splendid idea. We shall sneak over and primarily focus on retrieving supply crates. If we are discovered, we shall deal with it then. However, I recommend that we stick together for warmth. I volunteer. Is there anyone else wishing to join? In the public chat room, many island lords resonated with the idea and began to formulate a grand plan to enter the Jiuzhou region as a collective. With the major conflict now behind them, Yichuan was indifferent to such trivial skirmishes. After all, there were merely 5 mineral sites in the entire Jiuzhou region, all of which he had already marked. As long as their interests did not encroach upon the mineral resources, he had no intention of intervening further. Time passed slowly, and before long, it was already afternoon. They were 3/5 of the way to the sulfur mine, estimating their arrival the day after tomorrow, and there was no rush. However, the vigilant little dragon, observing the surrounding environment, suddenly exclaimed, "Brother, look! So many dead fish." Upon hearing this, everyone rushed over to take a look. The surface of the sea was strewn with a multitude of dead fish, predominantly sardines, leaving everyone bewildered. How could there be such a sudden influx of dead fish on the surface of the sea, and only in this particular area? "Look over there. What is that?" At this moment, Blueberry Jam shouted, pointing towards a location. It was a massive mouth, approaching from the distance, voraciously swallowing the dead fish. "That is a humpback whale," Lu Yue explained. Yet, before she could finish her sentence, the humpback whale plunged into the depths of the ocean, only to resurface moments later, creating towering waves across the entire sea, a sight most terrifying. It seemed as if it were engaged in a struggle with something. Lu Yue exclaimed in astonishment. Yichuan immediately employed his shared vision to peer beneath the surface of the sea, and he could not help but gasp. There was a massive black serpent, over 100 meters long, coiling tightly around the body of the humpback whale and exerting force to drag it down into the depths. "System, what in the world is that? It's far too ferocious." Yichuan could not restrain his inquiry. Sea dragon, S-grade marine creature, peak adult size, 96 meters long. Inherently savage, venomous, capable of ejecting toxic fluid, the system promptly provided its description. This left Yichuan momentarily speechless. He had just speculated that foreign regions might harbor A-grade marine creatures, and now this one had already made its appearance. It was rather unfortunate. However, the dolphins had yet to sound any alarm, perhaps indicating that they bore us no ill will. Suddenly, the humpback whale emitted a mournful cry, lacking the strength to resist, and was directly pulled into the ocean by the sea dragon. Yet, through his shared vision, Yichuan discovered that the sea dragon had merely killed the humpback whale without any intention of consuming it. What could this mean? Was it an act of vengeance against whales, or merely a peculiar pastime? Chapter 228. Amidst the raging waves and torrential rain, an S-class creature strikes after completing its task. It merely cast a fleeting glance at the sea turtle before turning and vanishing into the depths of the ocean. Is it truly departing just like that? Yichuan inquired, astonished. "System, could it be that it is a friend of humanity?" "No, it has simply satiated its hunger and is now engaged in digesting its meal," the system replied. This answer left Yichuan utterly speechless. He subsequently relayed the incident to the others, who shared his bewilderment. Blueberry Jam scoffed, "If that's the case, when it becomes hungry again, won't it return to seek us out?" "That is indeed the implication," Yichuan responded, feeling both amused and helpless. The crux of the matter was that should they decide to slay it, they had no knowledge of its whereabouts. It might have even vacated the novice zone temporarily. Thus, they could only wait idly for its return. That evening, after dinner, the group surprisingly refrained from engaging in entertainment activities. They merely watched a film before retiring for the night. Yichuan opened the public chat room for a glance. "I must tell you, you might not believe this, but I have unlocked a blueprint for a miniature submarine. Although the materials required are far too numerous for me to construct it at this moment. That's hardly a revelation. Besides, even if you manage to build it, you lack torpedoes." Someone retorted, "If I succeed in creating it, I can search for mineral resources. The novice zone is vast. Surely I can uncover some resources," Yichuan defended. "Give it up. With your skills, you wouldn't find anything even in your next life." Reading these messages, Yichuan felt a frown crease his forehead. If the island master had unveiled a submarine blueprint, it was plausible that other island masters had done the same, perhaps even constructed their own submarines. Were they not already on the hunt for mineral resources? While the locations of these resources were relatively obscure, it was conceivable that a fortunate island master might stumble upon them. Was his effort in vain? It seemed he needed to devise a strategy. Setting aside those concerns for the moment, Yichuan drifted into slumber. The following day, awakened by the system's voice, Yichuan opened his eyes and promptly declared, "Sign in. Sign in successful. Congratulations, host, for obtaining 1,000 evolution points, 1 missile launcher card, and 2 tracking missile cards." The system's voice resonated. Yichuan immediately felt invigorated. Such cards had previously been acquired by Tua Urbaski from an iron material box. He never anticipated that he would also receive such impressive weapon cards, which was quite a delightful surprise. With these 2 tracking missiles, dealing with the sea serpent would surely be far simpler. Without hesitation, he utilized the 3 cards and handed them to Zhao Feiyu. "Brother Yu, take this weapon. When that sea serpent poses a threat to us again, launch the tracking missiles at it. You possess such remarkable items." Zhao Feiyu's expression shifted, realizing that this weapon was comparable to the missiles on a submarine. "Just a stroke of luck," Yichuan chuckled. "Excellent. Zhao Feiyu burst into hearty laughter, declaring, "Leave it to me." As time progressed, the temperature had risen to approximately 30 degrees. Although everyone was clad in t-shirts and shorts, the heat was still palpable. After lunch, Saturday and Friday unexpectedly brought in 5 chilled watermelons. Dividing one in half instantly transformed it into 10 halves, each person enjoying a portion. Scooping it out with spoons. What a refreshing delight, invigorating the spirit. "Wow, we actually have watermelon," Yi Chuan exclaimed, clearly surprised. "Brother Chuan, I had watermelon seeds before, and after Friday planted them. I chilled one in the refrigerator for an hour," Saturday explained. "Tomorrow, I can prepare a chilled strawberry salad." "That sounds splendid. I wholeheartedly agree." Blueberry Jam immediately raised a hand, joyfully exclaiming. Yi Chuan felt a sense of gratitude towards this arrangement. Saturday and Friday collaborated efficiently, taking care of everyone's daily needs. Quite dependable indeed. However, it wasn't long before the weather suddenly darkened and the temperature began to rise slowly, becoming stifling. It seemed a heavy rain was imminent. Observing the dense black clouds above, Lu Shuai could not help but speak up. "It's about to rain. The last snowfall was about a month ago, wasn't it?" Zhao Feiyu replied with a smile. "Once it rains, it will cool down." Just then, a fierce wind swept across the sea, and the rain, resembling yellow soybeans, finally began to fall. The sounds of wind, waves, and rain formed a grand symphony, evoking a sense of tranquility amidst the chaos. At that moment, the alarm of dolphins suddenly sounded. "Oh no, the sea dragon is coming," Yi Chuan shouted. "Brother Yu, can the tracking missile be used in this rain?" "It can." Zhao Feiyu's expression changed, and he nodded solemnly. "This time, that beast is truly coming for us," Yi Chuan exclaimed. "Little flying dragon, head to the mountaintop and activate the medium cannon. Hong Ying, let us go to Wang Kai and Wang Fu. Lu Shuai, you go to the giant automatic fishing gun, ready to shoot at any moment." "No problem." The group swiftly took their respective positions, rushing out of the room. Despite the rainy weather, the 3 young ones soared unaffected, especially Yi Chuan and his companion, perched atop an albatross, their unique shield effectively isolating them from the rain. In the distance, a colossal wave surged upwards, revealing the sea dragon riding atop it, slicing through the waves as it rushed towards Turtle Island. Yi Chuan then noticed that the creature sported 2 horns, approximately 10 centimeters long, explaining why it was called the sea dragon. The sea dragon, now aware of the 2 above, opened its massive jaws wide, launching several venomous teeth towards them. Fortunately, the 2 were not particularly large and exhibited remarkable agility in the air, easily evading the toxic assault. Fiery feathered arrows shot forth, yet alas, the creature's skin was incredibly tough, impervious to penetration, and they were swiftly engulfed by the waves. Although both are classified as S-rank, the mature albatross pales in comparison to the peak adult sea dragon. In the blink of an eye, the sea dragon closed in on the turtle, now within a mere 50 meters. The turtle propelled itself upward, only to crash down with tremendous force. In that instant, towering waves surged forth, colliding violently with the swell harnessed by the sea dragon, sending it soaring into the sky. Yet, this seemed to align perfectly with the sea dragon's intentions. It twisted midair at a height of several dozen meters. Its tail, over 30 meters long, struck down with ferocity upon the turtle's shell. The sound of its descent was deafening, overpowering even the roar of the wind and rain, a testament to its immense power, at least over 1,000 tons. It remained uncertain whether the 12th level turtle could withstand such a blow. Chapter 229, S-rank marine creature, Death. Witnessing this scene, Yi Chuan leapt from the heights, activating his absolute defense. A thunderous crash resounded as the massive tail impacted the barrier. Despite the protection, the turtle's entire body shuddered violently, akin to an earthquake. The ocean beneath it erupted into terrifying waves, towering over 10 meters high. In the next moment, the sea dragon's colossal tail was flung away, causing its entire body to spin. By this time, Yi Chuan had descended, gripping a large blade in both hands, and unleashed absolute gravity. With a force of 1,000 tons, the sharp blade struck fiercely against the dragon's body. Roar! Even an S-rank marine creature felt the sting of pain, turning its head to unleash an enraged roar at Yi Chuan, launching a volley of venomous fangs toward him. Utilizing the reverse flow technique and air blasts, Yi Chuan skillfully deflected 7 of the fangs while evading several others, before being lifted high into the air by Wang Kai. After enduring such a devastating blow, the sea dragon begrudgingly retreated into the depths. "Come on." Lu Shuai had long since aimed at the sea dragon, and the moment it plunged into the sea, his harpoon shot forth, piercing the dragon's tail. The barbs opened, and having suffered 2 setbacks, the sea dragon's agony was palpable. Within 10 seconds of entering the water, it pivoted and charged once more towards Turtle Island. The turtle raised its massive head high, unleashing a colossal water blast toward the oncoming sea dragon. Activating the reverse flow technique with full force, a powerful stream of water coalesced into a gigantic wave that crashed forward. The sea dragon ascended the towering wave, opening its maw to swallow the water blast, only to follow up with a sweeping tail strike aimed at the turtle. As the immense tail descended like a long staff from the heavens, the turtle swiftly retreated, lifting its front half slightly, and clamped its enormous jaws around the swinging tail. However, the overwhelming force caused blood to flow from the turtle's mouth, splitting its sides. Zhao Feiyu had been operating the tracking missile and, having finally set it up successfully, locked onto the target and pulled the trigger. The missile shot out instantaneously, striking fiercely at the sea dragon's neck. The sea dragon emitted a mournful cry, its body writhing swiftly as it abandoned the sea turtle in a bid to escape. Yet, the sea turtle clung tenaciously to the dragon's tail, its bite growing ever more fierce as the wounds in its mouth healed. Although it was being dragged along, it could not break free. Observing this, Lu Shuai refrained from uttering a word and swiftly retracted his harpoon, plunging it once more into the body of the sea dragon with great force. Xiao Feilong no longer feared harming his companions, unleashing a relentless barrage of projectiles upon the sea dragon. Yichuan had returned to the island, and upon witnessing the scene before him, his brow furrowed in concern. Yuga, can't we handle it? This is the first formidable opponent we've encountered since entering the novice zone. Zhao Feiyu's expression was grave. The recent missile had only inflicted minimal damage. Damn it. Hearing this, Yichuan's expression darkened further. Despite the sea dragon's apparent desire to retreat, it was imperative to prevent its escape. A counterattack could prove fatal. Hongying, come with me to the submarine. Yichuan commanded, immediately leading Liang Hongying into the vessel. He instructed her to load a missile, aiming directly at the dragon's vulnerable spot. As the saying goes, strike the snake at its 7-inch mark. And the sea dragon was indeed a serpent of sorts. Perhaps this would prove effective. The sea dragon, entangled by the turtle and harpoon, was oblivious to the missile approaching from beneath the waves. By the time it realized, the missile detonated at its critical point. In an instant, the sea dragon's body convulsed violently, seemingly fighting for its life, as it severed its tail, which the sea turtle had gripped, and surged forward. However, the harpoon remained lodged within its flesh, and as the reinforced steel cable tightened, even the turtle was slowly pulled along. Look, its 7-inch mark is its Achilles heel, Liang Hongying exclaimed, pointing to the gaping wound from which blood flowed freely. Shall we launch another missile? It's escaped the turtle's grasp and is now highly agile. It won't allow us to attack it easily. Yichuan shook his head slightly. I must go out there and finish it myself. Are you mad? Liang Hongying asked in shock. How can one catch a tiger without entering its den? Yichuan responded, donning his diving suit and swimming out of the submarine, swiftly making his way toward the sea dragon. Though the creature struggled to flee, the steel cable hindered its speed considerably. Upon noticing Yichuan returning, it turned and charged at him. Come at me. Yichuan sneered, launching an array of steel nails at the approaching beast. Only by observing the sea dragon up close could one truly appreciate its ferocity. Its mouth was filled with venomous fangs, a terrifying sight. Just as it was about to reach him, it unleashed a salvo of poisonous teeth. Fortunately, Yichuan was quick enough to evade them, simultaneously thrusting a blade into its already injured 7-inch mark. A roar erupted from the sea dragon. The sea dragon roared once more, writhing in its struggle to free itself from Yichuan's grasp. In a moment of panic, it burst forth from the ocean's depths, soaring into the sky. At that instant, Zhao Feiyu, who had been awaiting this moment, pulled the trigger. As Yichuan delivered a powerful kick to the sea dragon's side, he leveraged the inertia to retreat. The missile struck true, hitting its mark and sending the great blade hurtling from the sea dragon's body. In an instant, blood erupted like a crimson fountain. The creature's head was flung into the air, its immense body slowly descending back into the sea. Finally, Lu Shuai exhaled a long sigh of relief, retracting his spear. We did it, Zhao Feiyu exclaimed with excitement. To think that a group of novice island masters could unite to defeat an S-rank creature. Such a tale would surely be met with disbelief. Yichuan swam swiftly back to the island, collapsing onto the sandy shore, panting heavily. As he wiped the rain from his face and gazed at the distant glow of the setting sun, he felt an overwhelming sense of survival. After all, the 5 of them had worked in unison, with even the sea turtle participating in the fray. Had the creature been even slightly more formidable, the outcome could have been catastrophic. Brother, that was incredible. Zhao Feiyu laughed heartily as he approached Yichuan. To have slain an S-rank marine creature without any formidable weapons. This is a tale we can boast about for a lifetime. Chapter 230. A day of abundant rewards and celebration. At that moment, Liang Hongying returned in the submarine, and Xiao Feilong, Lu Shuai, and the others rushed over. Big brother, we should capture this thrilling scene on camera. It was absolutely exhilarating. Indeed, if I could use that footage as a promotional clip for my future live streams, my follower count and views would surely skyrocket. Blueberry Jam nodded enthusiastically. Such a pity. Yichuan shrugged lightly. Attention, the system has recorded the entire battle with the S-rank creature, and the host can access the footage. The system interjected thoughtfully. Really? Yichuan's expression shifted. If he uploaded all the videos online, would he not become an internet sensation? However, his ambitions did not lie in that direction. He would rather support Blueberry Jam. With a smile, he remarked, "Tonight, we can watch the entire battle against the sea dragon." Big brother, are you saying you recorded it? Xiao Feilong asked in astonishment, though it seemed there were no drones involved. The secrets of the universe cannot be disclosed. Yichuan winked at them. Just then, a dolphin leapt from the water, retrieving the great blade for Yichuan. He was taken aback and immediately gave the dolphin a thumbs up. Well done, my friend. Congratulations, host. On your first S-rank marine creature kill, you have been awarded a lucky gift pack. Would you like to open it? The system's voice rang out simultaneously. At long last, the moment had arrived, and the anticipation hung in the air. Let's see what splendid treasures await me. After all, this is an S-class marine creature. Yichuan chuckled heartily and promptly declared, "Activate." Activation successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 200 kilograms of fertile black soil, 10 units of nutrient solution, 1 inner elixir of S-class marine creature, 1 experience point gift pack, 1 resource gift pack, 2 absolute defenses, and 1 miraculous pill. Wow! Yichuan exclaimed, astonished by the bountiful rewards, particularly the inner elixir. System, what exactly is this inner elixir? He inquired with curiosity. The inner elixir is a gem condensed from an S-class marine creature that has survived for over a century. Its effects are equivalent to that of 20 liters of S-class freshwater. The system promptly responded, highlighting its remarkable ability to enhance physical strength and dispel ailments. Yichuan smirked, having expected something akin to the mystical inner elixirs depicted in films, which purportedly could augment one's prowess by centuries. Nevertheless, he felt immensely gratified with his haul. Hey, the battle has concluded. Let us return to our quarters. It's pouring outside. At that moment, the little dragon called out loudly. Back we go? Yichuan bellowed, leading the group swiftly towards their shelter. It was somewhat comical how he had been so tense that he forgot to don his rain gear and ended up drenched. After taking a shower, Yichuan found his attire had dried, and he settled onto the sofa to watch an action film. He then retrieved the miraculous pill and consumed it. Congratulations, host. You have acquired the poison immunity talent. You shall henceforth be immune to all toxins. 5 minutes later, the system spoke up unexpectedly. Yichuan's expression shifted. The venomous sea serpent he had battled possessed toxic fangs. Thus, the miraculous pill was undoubtedly linked to its venom. However, navigating the oceanic realm, this talent, akin to rapid healing, would prove invaluable. After a little over an hour, Saturday knocked on the door, carrying a massive stone vessel that emitted a delightful aroma, irresistible to the senses. Saturday, what have you concocted? It smells divine. Blueberry Jam couldn't tea contain their curiosity. Sea serpent meat stone pot, Saturday replied with a grin. After the battle, the dolphins retrieved the sea serpent's body. I prepared this dish using its meat, and there's also a large bowl of dragon tendons mixed with rice, equally delicious and delightfully chewy. Saturday, you're amazing. Blueberry Jam exclaimed, speechless with excitement. The little dragon, rubbing its hands together with a sly grin, chimed in, Big brother, the feast has arrived, and the wine should follow. But remember your promise to show us the footage of our recent victory over the sea serpent. You mustn't forget. Today marks our first collaborative effort in defeating an S-class creature, a momentous occasion indeed, and it calls for a celebration with drink. Yichuan laughed heartily, immediately producing 10 liters of monkey wine, declaring that he would not leave until intoxicated. Simultaneously, he commanded the system to download the battle footage onto the television, which lasted a total of 10 minutes, with nearly every participant receiving a close-up. As everyone watched the battle videos, sipping monkey wine and feasting on the meat of sea dragon, the atmosphere was truly heartwarming. Leaf Chuan, in a moment of delight, downloaded all the videos of previous battles against high-level creatures, totaling nearly 2 hours, allowing everyone to indulge in them. Brother, we must agree that once the novice zone opens, you have to give me all these highlights. Blueberry Jam, with dreamy eyes, clung to Leaf Chuan's arm and playfully declared, with these, I can edit each battle into 3-minute segments, producing numerous episodes. I am confident my popularity will soar, and when the time comes, I want to keep a single cent from the live streaming donations. I'll give it all to you. Each stream could earn tens of millions. Girl, are you perhaps inebriated? Leaf Chuan inquired skeptically. Not at all. I can still drink. Blueberry Jam promptly refuted. I can down a whole cup. Redding, please escort her back to rest. Leaf Chuan said, gently shaking his head and gesturing to Liang Hongying. Brother, I must say I am thoroughly impressed by you this time. Zhao Feiyu gave a thumbs up to Leaf Chuan, acknowledging the arduous journey from battling D-grade marine creatures to today's confrontation with S-grade ones. Only you truly understand the hardships endured along the way. No matter how, we have made it through, Leaf Chuan replied with a smile, waving his hand. So, there's no need to elaborate, haha. Although I am from the military, from this moment onward, I've decided to stick with you. With a heartfelt grip on Leaf Chuan's arm, Zhao Feiyu proclaimed, not for anything else, but for our bond. Leaf Chuan smirked. The tone of his words made him feel as though Zhao Feiyu might also be intoxicated. However, he refrained from commenting further. After a bit more banter, they each washed up and returned to their rooms. Outside, the rain seemed to intensify. Leaf Chuan peeked into the public chat room. Wow, why has the rain suddenly become so heavy today? Could it be a sign of impending events? Who knows? Let fate decide. I'm about to be scared to death. There's a dragon flying back and forth in the sky above me. Will it come down and kill me? Brother, don't joke. How could dragons exist in this world? Chapter 231. Occupying the Sulfur Mine. Seriously, is this for real? Leaf Chuan was somewhat astonished and immediately inquired with the system in the ocean world. Do dragons truly exist? As usual, the system remained silent. Leaf Chuan had grown accustomed to its peculiar personality and did not dwell on this matter further, opting instead to go to sleep. Until the next morning, when he awoke at the system's prompting, he walked outside and said, check-in. The rain had ceased, and the sea breeze was refreshing against his skin. Check-in successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 1,000 evolution points and 1 lucky blind box. Another lucky blind box. Leaf Chuan's expression brightened as he promptly declared, open the blind box. Blind box opening in progress. Congratulations, host. You have received a double amplification for 1 day to be used. Incredible. Yi Chuan chuckled and promptly activated the double amplification. After a period of diligent accumulation, the experience points finally allowed the 3 little ones to evolve from level 11 to level 12. Yi Chuan immediately summoned them, channeling 21,000 points of evolutionary energy into their beings. As the trio gradually grew larger, he opened the information panel. Name, Albatross level, 12, mature, evolution points, 8,000 skills, diving claws, capable of lifting 240 kilograms, fiery feather arrows, 12, human launch, talents, diving, fishing, flying, long-distance navigation. Albatross evolution complete. Congratulations to the host's pet for leveling up to 12, receiving an upgrade gift pack. Would you like to open it? Albatross evolution complete. Congratulations to the host's pet for leveling up to 12, receiving an upgrade gift pack. Would you like to open it? Simultaneously, the system's voice chimed in, prompting Yi Chuan to exclaim, open all. Congratulations, host. You have gained 1,000 growth points, 22 wooden planks, 19 stones, and a 1982 law fight. Congratulations, host. You have gained 1,000 growth points, 20 stones, 17 glasses, and 5 toiletry kits. Congratulations, host. You have gained 1,000 growth points, 31 wooden planks, 22 metal sheets, and 1 lucky blind box. Under the influence of the double amplification, all rewards were doubled. The toiletry kits particularly thrilled Yi Chuan, for he had nearly exhausted the soap and similar items from previous rewards. With 10 new toiletry kits, he could enjoy them for an extended period. However, the 2 lucky blind boxes piqued Yi Chuan's curiosity. If he were to open 2 more double amplifications, that would yield 4 in total. Without hesitation, he opened them all, yet his hopes did not materialize. He only received 3 bottles of Han Dynasty Mount Ai and 3 air raincoats, all of which were also doubled. That said, it seemed the system had a penchant for wine today. The 1982 law fight had dwindled to only 10 bottles remaining across the entire Blue Star, each valued at around 10 million. The Han Dynasty Mount Ai, with only 1 bottle in existence, held a measurable value, treasured in the ancient wine museum. Once, a prestigious family offered 10 billion to acquire it, but was declined. Now, Yi Chuan possessed 6 bottles. If word got out, it would surely stir the entire Blue Star. After securing his treasures, Yi Chuan approached the vicinity of the sea turtle's head. Although he currently opened 5 chests each morning and 5 each afternoon, the supply chests continued to multiply. With the double amplification effect in play, he decided to open them all, yielding a nice windfall. "Brother, it's time to eat." At that moment, the little dragon called out to Yi Chuan. Content, he smiled and went off to dine. As noon approached, the 3 little ones and the dolphin alerted Yi Chuan, who immediately employed the shared vision to behold a grand island. The island is estimated to span around 20,000 square meters, featuring a towering mountain, yet from the perspective of the dolphins, only these elements are visible. Yi Chuan immediately called out to Zhao Feiyu and Liang Hongying, and the trio mounted their small steeds, journeying to the island situated 20 nautical miles away. They leaped onto the island, only to be met with a pungent odor pervading the air. Yi Chuan swiftly produced 3 gas masks, and once they donned them, they hastened toward the imposing mountain. The mountain stood over 500 meters high, and at that moment, a pathway had been carved into its interior. A bald man wearing a gas mask reclined in a sun chair, basking in the sunlight, surrounded by heaps of sulfur and saltpeter. The 3 exchanged glances, realizing they had indeed arrived at the right place. "Brother, is sulfur mined from within the mountain?" Yi Chuan inquired with a smile as they approached. Indeed, the bald man nodded, but his expression drastically changed. He abruptly leaped aside, brandishing a crossbow and glaring at the trio, demanding, "Who are you?" "I am Cole," Yi Chuan replied, raising his hands in a gesture of peace. "We spoke on the super tablet 3 days ago, remember?" Cole, a citizen of our fine nation, was now questioning his allegiance, his fury palpable. "Did you kill Cole? Do not wrongfully accuse the innocent," Yi Chuan exclaimed loudly. "If Cole were dead, would the super tablet still be operational? That means you have imprisoned him." The bald man roared, instantly releasing a bolt from his crossbow. Yi Chuan's reflexes were sharp. He sidestepped and caught the bolt with ease, retorting, "We are here to take control of the sulfur and saltpeter mines. I advise you to be courteous." "Huh? You think you can?" The bald man sneered coldly, producing a peculiar short blade and charging forward, intent on confronting all 3. Yi Chuan refrained from engaging directly, while Zhao Feiyu swiftly clashed with the bald man, and Liang Hongying boldly entered the sulfur mine with her weapon drawn. To Yi Chuan's astonishment, the bald man's combat prowess was remarkably strong. He recognized that Zhao Feiyu's current strength was akin to his own when he had defeated B-rank marine creatures, albeit lacking the power of his former self. Yet, they seemed evenly matched. Within the mountain's depths, many were laboring to extract sulfur, but this individual stood guard at the entrance, likely having consumed the potent liquid provided by others to serve as their protector. Nevertheless, Zhao Feiyu utilized formidable fighting techniques, and within mere minutes, the bald man found himself at a disadvantage. Seizing an opening, Zhao Feiyu maneuvered in close and swiftly slashed his throat. "Brother Yu, that blade seems superior to yours," Yi Chuan remarked. "You should use his from now on." "All right," Zhao Feiyu replied, securing the bald man's weapon, and together, they ventured deeper into the mountain. The miners had forcibly carved a smooth passageway that extended 20 meters into the mountain, revealing a vast expanse of sulfur at last before their eyes. At this moment, Liang Hongying had already dealt with the 7 individuals inside, spinning around with open arms and exclaiming, "Brother, we have struck it rich." Suddenly, Zhao Feiyu interjected, "Have you inquired about the location of the saltpeter mine?" Taken aback, Liang Hongying hesitated, a sheepish smile creeping across her face. Indeed, there was only a sulfur mine, not a saltpeter mine. Chapter 232. These 2 mines are yours. During their transactions, they had always exchanged sulfur along with saltpeter, indicating that the saltpeter mine must be located in proximity to the sulfur mine. Yi Chuan remarked, "After all, it must be on this island. We shall search around." Yes, I will go look for it right away." Liang Hongying nodded repeatedly, realizing her oversight. She playfully stuck out her tongue and promptly dashed outside. "This sulfur mine is truly immense," Zhao Feiyu observed, filled with awe. "Based on its scale, it must exceed 10 million tons." "I concur," Yi Chuan nodded slightly. "Indeed, it is remarkable. It seems that once mineral resources are discovered in the oceanic realm, they are at least at the 10 million ton level." Zhao Feiyu exclaimed excitedly, "If we can locate 1 or 2 more, it would be a monumental achievement." "It is certainly possible." Yi Chuan smiled at Zhao Feiyu, offering a silent promise. "Brother, I found it," Liang Hongying shouted from outside as the 2 exchanged glances and swiftly made their way out. 100 meters beyond the sulfur mine lay the saltpeter mine. The sulfur mine resembled a towering hill, while the saltpeter mine descended into the earth, roughly constructed with a slanted shaft. Some mining had already taken place, yet it was filled to the brim, leaving the exact reserves unknown. The 7 or 8 miners had already been sent to the afterlife by Liang Hongying. It seems that the reserves of saltpeter are even greater than those of sulfur. It must also exceed 10 million tons. Zhao Feiyu nodded in agreement. Indeed, both mining sites are exceptionally abundant, which is quite delightful. Hongying, I am giving you both of these mining sites, Yichuan declared decisively. 10 billion should not be considered excessive, right? How could that be too much? Liang Hongying's expression shifted, and she burst into laughter. Thank you, brother. Following you has truly been worthwhile. Zhao Feiyu had just mentioned that one site exceeded 10 million tons, so the two sites together must yield at least 30 million tons. The combined value of these two mineral resources would amount to hundreds of billions. A mere 10 billion for mineral assets worth hundreds of billions. Wasn't this merely a testament to the bond between siblings? From the days of the family, the elder generation of island masters had warned against becoming a subordinate island master. Otherwise, they might never find a way to rise. Liang Hongying had once held this belief. But as she witnessed Yi Chuan's actions, she gradually came to trust him wholeheartedly, choosing to follow him without reservation. One must ask, which independent island master would treat subordinate island masters in such a manner? None. What is there to thank? We are all brothers. Yi Chuan waved his hand lightly. Brother Yu, we have extracted approximately 10,000 kilograms of sulfur and saltpeter, sufficient to manufacture 300 torpedoes, 300 missiles, and 210 shells. This will sustain us until the novice zone opens. That is inevitable, Zhao Feiyu nodded. However, if we leave like this, will we not be at risk of being occupied? What of it? Yi Chuan shrugged. 3 days before the novice zone is set to open, I will have Wang Kai bring Hongying over, regardless of the adversary's strength. I trust that by then, Hongying will be capable of holding her own. Naturally, Liang Hongying nodded vigorously, a grin spreading across her face. Since these two mineral deposits are mine, even the mightiest cannot take them from me. Indeed, Yi Chuan chuckled heartily. At that moment, they had arrived at Turtle Island, and the group took a tour, marveling at their surroundings. When everyone learned that the two mineral deposits had been granted to Liang Hongying, they cast envious glances her way, pondering how different things might have been had they accompanied her. Nevertheless, this only reinforced their belief that Yi Chuan genuinely intended to share resources. And it was not mere talk. Oh, I can hardly contain my excitement. Xiao Feilong rubbed his hands together. Brother, when you find another resource, you must surely share it with me. Not a problem. Everyone will receive their share. It is merely a matter of time, Yi Chuan assured him with a slight nod. No need to rush. After marking their location, the group set off once more. Meanwhile, Yi Chuan opened the public chat room on the Foreign District's super tablet and sent a message. Brothers, have you discovered any mineral resources? Buddy, are you daydreaming? Where would one find mineral resources? They are all beneath the sea. That cannot be said. Many brothers have already constructed submarines and are surely diving into the depths to search. It is quite possible that some have already found deposits. To be honest, I have found one. Beneath my island lies a mineral deposit of substantial richness, but a massive catfish has been guarding it. I can't even penetrate its flesh with torpedoes. I can only sit and guard my treasure. Goodness, how enormous is this catfish? Buddy, I must say, if you cannot handle a single catfish, what can you accomplish in life? This catfish is over 30 meters long, and the whiskers beside its mouth are 7 or 8 meters long. How can I fight it? In no time, the public chat room buzzed with excitement. Yi Chuan immediately used the super locator to pinpoint the location of his island. To prevent attacks from other island owners and to ensure that his island did not sink into oblivion, he had the system mark his coordinates. Roughly 2,000 nautical miles away. Based on the current speed of the turtle, it would take approximately 40 hours to reach there, which was quite reasonable. However, according to the island master, this colossal catfish is either an A-grade or an S-grade marine creature. Having already gained experience in defeating S-grade sea beasts, we are confident that even an S-grade creature is doomed. After charting the course, we directed the sea turtle towards the target, and by Saturday, lunch was prepared. Yi Chuan then produced a bottle of Han Emperor Mao Dai. Lu Shuai's eyes widened in astonishment. Brother, is that Han Emperor Mao Dai? What is Han Emperor Mao Dai? Blueberry Jam inquired, perplexed. This is the king of Mao Dai, Lu Shuai exclaimed with excitement. My grandfather has an extensive collection of wines, and his favorite is Han Emperor Mao Dai. He once offered a staggering 1 billion to a vintage wine museum for it, but was turned down, which became a lifelong regret. Brother, you actually possess Han Emperor Mao Dai? Yi Chuan looked at Lu Shuai in surprise. So that prestigious family is indeed yours, the Lu family? Absolutely. Lu Shuai nodded vigorously. Brother, I'll give you 2 billion for that bottle. Not for sale, I brought it out for everyone to enjoy. Yi Chuan promptly declined. Chapter 233, Naval Confrontation with the Proud Red-Haired Woman. Everyone's expression shifted dramatically. Lu Shuai was willing to offer 2 billion for this bottle, yet his brother intended to share it? 500 milliliters priced at 20 billion. That equates to 400 million per milliliter. How extraordinarily expensive. Lu Shuai felt a twinge of disappointment. If he could present this bottle to his grandfather, the joy it would bring could easily lead to his grandfather granting any request. Just as Lu Shuai felt helpless, Yi Chuan produced another bottle. This one is for your grandfather. Consider it my gift to him. What? Not only Lu Shuai, but everyone else's faces also transformed. Hundreds of billions in mineral resources sold for 5 billion, yet a bottle worth 20 billion is given away freely? The brother's generosity is truly remarkable. Brother, you are exceptionally kind to me. Lu Shuai's eyes glistened with emotion as he asked excitedly. Everyone contributes a fleet to me, with Turtle Island in my possession. It will undoubtedly be akin to a super aircraft carrier in the future. Moreover, if each of you provides me with 5 billion, and I sell off a few mineral sites, that would yield hundreds of billions, wouldn't it? Yi Chuan shrugged, remarking that to him, money is merely a number, feeling that the depth of our friendship surpasses it. Brother, your perspective is truly admirable. Taking a deep breath, Zhao Feiyu couldn't help but give Yi Chuan a thumbs up. All right, let us eat quickly. The dishes are about to cool. Yi Chuan chuckled heartily and uncorked the Maodai. The aroma of the wine was particularly rich, with various scents intertwined yet not overwhelming. It was intoxicating in a way that transcended mere inebriation. In the afternoon, the dolphins began to signal again. Yi Chuan utilized the remaining 10 seconds of the transmission device, only to discover a formidable large sailing ship swiftly approaching from 5 nautical miles away, seemingly heading towards Turtle Island. Deciding against advancing further, he chose instead to patiently await the ship's arrival. 10 minutes later, the vessel anchored 100 meters from Turtle Island, and a small boat ferried 3 individuals to shore. They appeared akin to Lu Lao Lao entering the Grandview Garden. Their chatter incessant until they encountered Yi Chuan and his companions. Esteemed guests, what insights do you bring to our humble isle? Yi Chuan inquired with a smile. Young man, you are rather fortunate to possess such a vast island. Accompanied by 2 enchanting maidens, scoffed a woman with red hair. We harbor no ill intentions. We merely desire your island. You have no objections, do you? Yi Chuan smacked his lips, contemplating the situation. Can you see the ship 100 meters away? Someone is currently observing you through binoculars, the red-haired woman taunted. If you comply and willingly surrender your island, I shall gift you my boat, allowing you to row away. Should you refuse, for cannons will unleash their fury, and you shall sink alongside your island into the depths of the sea. I wager you would not dare to fire. Yi Chuan replied with a grin. What did you say? The red-haired woman gazed at Yi Chuan as if he were a fool. Who do you think you are? A betting sage? Yi Chuan shrugged. Then let them fire. Brothers, let us deal with this fool. The red-haired woman, incensed by Yi Chuan's blind confidence, brandished a machete and charged at him. Clang. Liang Hongying stepped forward, intercepting the woman's strike. You. The red-haired woman's expression shifted as she realized. I did not perceive you to be a combatant. Combatant is an overstatement, but eliminating you shall be effortless. Liang Hongying sneered, launching herself into combat with the red-haired woman. The remaining 2 were momentarily stunned by the scene, but upon catching a glimpse of Yi Chuan's mocking expression, their hearts tightened with apprehension. In their flustered state, they hastily drew crossbows to attack, only to see Yi Chuan make a swift gesture, causing 6 steel nails to shoot forth, striking their thighs. With a resounding explosion, they collapsed, incapacitated and screaming in agony, their aggression extinguished. Useless fools, the red-haired woman shrieked, retreating several paces as she shouted towards the ship. Brothers, fire at my command. Boom. As if understanding her signal, for cannonballs were immediately unleashed. The red-haired woman grinned wickedly at Yi Chuan and his companions. Huh, you thought we would refrain from firing? I would rather perish alongside you. You are still too young. Yi Chuan looked at the red-haired woman with a sympathetic gaze. Do you truly believe our progress has been achieved without effort? What? With a sudden bang, the red-haired woman was momentarily taken aback, contemplating the meaning behind Yi Chuan's words. Just then, a bomb exploded 30 meters away from Turtle Island, as the sea turtle had raised its head and spat out 4 water balloons, intercepting the projectile midair. Ha ha. Meanwhile, a boisterous laughter echoed from the hillside, as the little flying dragon maneuvered a medium cannon to launch an assault on the large ship. In an instant, a dozen cannonballs struck the vessel with pinpoint accuracy. After a violent initial shake, the ship began to take on water and slowly sank. In that fleeting moment, the red-haired woman cast a bewildered glance at Yi Chuan, and then, as if she had made a resolute decision, declared, All right, you have forced my hand. At that moment, Zhao Feiyu returned, saying, "Brother, there is a miniature submarine in the water, and I have dealt with it. We are indeed pressing you. What can you do to us?" Liang Hongying scoffed, mockingly inquiring, "I'll fight you to the end." The red-haired woman, seething with rage, brandished her machete and charged once more at Liang Hongying. Zhao Feiyu, unyielding, swiftly sidestepped Liang Hongying before delivering a powerful kick to the red-haired woman's abdomen. The force sent her flying 7 to 8 meters away, causing her to kneel on the ground, her knees striking the rocky surface, the indescribable pain rendering her prone and convulsing. These foreign island lords are indeed fierce. They have formed a coalition. The large ship appears to be probing from the surface while the real attack is occurring beneath the waves. Zhao Feiyu analyzed seriously, warning that if they overlooked even a single aspect, they would fall into their trap. Yichuan nodded with a smile. However, he was unconcerned about this. After all, beneath the surface, dolphins and sea turtles were on watch, ensuring that they would not be ambushed. "Brother, that ship is sinking fast. We should go take a look," the little flying dragon exclaimed as he dashed down the hill, speculating that there might be treasures to uncover. "Let us check it out together." Yichuan agreed, quickly mounting Wankai and racing toward the ship. Chapter 234. The ship explodes. The red-haired woman's intelligence in mere seconds. The two had arrived within 10 meters of the large ship, just as the two little ones were about to land. They seemed to receive an instinctive warning and immediately soared into the sky. At that moment, an explosion erupted. The ship detonated violently, sending terrifying shockwaves radiating outward. Fortunately, the two had sensed the impending danger in time, swiftly evading the blast's epicenter and thereby escaping harm. Even so, they were still violently rocked by the fearsome shockwave, soaring to a height of 100 meters before stabilizing their bodies and returning to Turtle Island. The red-haired woman, at that moment, was engulfed in despair. The explosion had been a prearranged agreement with the island lords aboard the ship. If their lives were ever threatened, they would self-destruct. Even if they could not obliterate their foes, they would ensure that the enemy gained nothing. Before this man, his pet's perceptive abilities were astonishing, effortlessly evading the recent explosion, while his comrades fell victim to the chaos. "Sister, you seem rather formidable. You wish to take my life?" Yichuan scoffed as he approached the red-haired woman, declaring that since she no longer held any value, he would have to send her on her way. No, I still hold value." Upon uttering these words, the red-haired woman trembled and quickly exclaimed, "I know of an island. Its area has expanded from an initial 1,000 square meters to over 5,000, and it is home to a one-bedroom apartment filled with rare items, along with an abundance of cultivated goods. Is that true?" Yichuan regarded her with skepticism. "If such a place exists, surely you would have claimed it for yourselves, leaving no share for us? There are 5 brothers on the island. They belong to a rare Western race, endowed with formidable combat prowess. Furthermore, the island is equipped with numerous powerful offensive weapons," the red-haired woman pleaded. "We had intended to launch an assault from beneath the sea, but there are 2 miniature submarines lurking below. We could not hope to confront them and thus refrain from action. Is that so?" Liang Hongying crouched down, fixating her gaze upon the red-haired woman. The latter met her eyes and nodded earnestly, stating, "Every word I speak is the truth. If I utter a single lie, may thunder strike me, and may I perish without a proper death." "Where exactly are they?" Yichuan inquired immediately. "The island lies at the 3 o'clock position, 100 nautical miles away." The red-haired woman promptly replied, "I cannot be certain, for that island was not originally theirs. They abandoned their own territory to seize it. There may be other treasures upon that isle. Your super tablet has been destroyed. If your words ring true, I shall spare your lives. Otherwise, do not blame us for being merciless." Yichuan gestured slightly. "Hongying, bind them tightly. Ensure there are no signs of movement." "Understood." Liang Hongying snapped her fingers and promptly set to work. 100 nautical miles. We can reach it in just 2 hours. Yichuan planned to lead the 3 strongest fighters, himself, Zhao Feiyu, and Liang Hongying, in a surprise attack. Even if the opposition proved formidable, the 3 of them would suffice against their 3 adversaries on the island, allowing them to concentrate their strength against the 2 beneath the sea, making the task considerably easier. Thus, Yichuan articulated his strategy and glanced at the time. It was currently 5 in the afternoon, with 2 hours remaining before darkness fell, granting them a 2-hour window for combat. "Are you prepared?" "Absolutely." Liang Hongying chuckled eagerly. "I can hardly wait. Then let us depart." Yichuan nodded, and the 3 mounted their steeds, charging towards the right. "Lu Shuai, there are 2 miniature submarines below. Should we not commandeer a small submarine and eliminate them?" Xiao Feilong, feeling restless at home, urged Lu Shuai. However, Lu Shuai furrowed his brow and replied solemnly, "Brother, the elder has entrusted us with guarding the home. If we sneak off to fight and the house is robbed, What then? You say it was stolen, but with the might of both dolphins and sea turtles. Who could possibly steal it? The little dragon remarked irritably. Moreover, both Lu Yi and Blueberry will certainly defend when it matters most, won't they? Indeed, indeed. When we go wild, even we fear ourselves. Blueberry Jam nodded fervently. You all go ahead. Good luck. Lu Shuai hesitated slightly. Brother Lu, I believe you should go. Blueberry Jam urged. It's essential to showcase your worth. Look, the ladies have spoken. Why hesitate? The little dragon quickly encouraged. All right. Lu Shuai gritted his teeth and agreed without delay. A small submarine against two miniature submarines has a considerable chance of victory. At that moment, the three little ones had reached an altitude of 100 meters above the island, gazing down upon it, just as the red-haired girl had described. It spanned over 5,000 square meters, with approximately 2,000 square meters of forest, around 1,000 square meters of beach, and the central 2,000 square meters designated for their activities, a single room and hall constructed of reinforced concrete, flanked by two wooden cabins on either side. Immediately, the three little ones unleashed their fiery feather arrows toward the four wooden cabins. The arrows struck the structures, igniting them in mere seconds as if fueled by some accelerant. And soon the flames engulfed the entire cabin. From the central single room and hall emerged three remarkably tall men, attempting to extinguish the fire. But the blaze was far too intense for them to control. While the three little ones initially considered attacking the men, the trio had already detected their presence and swiftly countered the fiery arrows. Simultaneously, Yi Chuan and his companions descended from above, smiling as they regarded the three brothers. You dare to attack us? The bearded leader coldly assessed the trio. Do you even realize whom you are provoking? Apologies, but it seems we truly do not know. Zhao Feiyu retorted playfully. We simply found this place quite agreeable and wish to stay for a few days. You have no objections, do you? It has been a while since I tasted blood. You have successfully ignited my murderous intent. The second brother chuckled darkly. Elder brother, you advised us to avoid trouble. But since this fellow has provoked us, may we retaliate? Do as you wish. The bearded man shrugged lightly. The third brother suddenly surged forward, his speed and strength far surpassing that of an ordinary person. Although Liang Hongying managed to raise her blade in time to block the attack, she was still forced back 3 or 4 meters from the impact. Elder brother, they possess considerable skill. Liang Hongying warned the others, shedding her earlier disdain. With a swift step, she charged forward, aiming her strike at the third brother. Chapter 235. Are they werewolves? Since switching to a short blade, Liang Hongying's combat prowess had surged, and her confidence soared. She executed a flurry of strikes, forcing the third brother to retreat repeatedly, temporarily placing him at a disadvantage. The two others ceased their chatter, each selecting an opponent before launching their simultaneous assault. The bearded man wielded a weapon reminiscent of a baseball bat, effortlessly maneuvering it despite its considerable weight of approximately 70 to 80 pounds. He had not anticipated that a weapon utilized by a mere human could possess such heft. During their initial clash, the bearded man suffered due to his unfamiliarity with his opponent, his hand vibrating from the impact. A flicker of surprise crossing his eyes as he staggered slightly before launching himself once more into the fray. Yi Chuan's combat skills had reached an extraordinary level, and although the bearded man was formidable, he found himself increasingly threatened by Yi Chuan's relentless barrage of attacks, which seemed to show no signs of fatigue. Tilting his body, he positioned the bat defensively to block one of Yi Chuan's strikes. In that moment, a massive hand sprouted 3-centimeter-long claws, viciously raking across Yi Chuan's chest, leaving a gaping wound that exposed bone, blood gushing forth in a horrifying display. Yi Chuan instinctively retreated 5 meters, his gaze filled with uncertainty as he scrutinized the bearded man's hand, which appeared to bear ordinary human nails. Yet, such nails could not possibly inflict such a terrifying injury, especially considering he had inherited half of a sea turtle's extraordinary abilities and consumed numerous potent liquids. How could his body be so easily breached? To think you could withstand my strike and still remain standing, the bearded man chuckled ominously. Are you not aware that my claw marks are laced with potent venom? However, the bearded man's expression shifted dramatically as he observed Yi Chuan's wound gradually healing, seemingly untouched by the venom's effects. Could it be that he too? Realizing this, the bearded man let out a fierce roar and charged forward once again. Meanwhile, Liang Hongying, after initially gaining the upper hand, found herself increasingly pressured by the third brother, who grew stronger with each passing moment, his immense strength seemingly inexhaustible. Despite her prowess as a formidable woman, time was beginning to take its toll on Liang Hongying, leaving her feeling somewhat overwhelmed. Suddenly, the third brother abruptly turned, only to see Wang Yun descending from above, his claws seizing the third brother's shoulders and lifting him skyward. In an instant, they soared over 100 meters into the air, prompting an enraged bellow from the third brother as he reached out to grasp Wang Yun. Wang Yun released his grip, allowing the third brother to plummet back to the ground, crashing into the earth with such force that a crater measuring 30 to 40 centimeters formed upon impact. Yet, contrary to expectations that he would be killed by the fall, the third brother stirred slightly, gradually rising to his feet, his entire physique undergoing a remarkable transformation into that of a towering werewolf. This revelation startled Liang Hongying. No wonder the red-haired woman had referred to him as a being of a special race. Was a werewolf not indeed extraordinary? With a roar, the third brother, having shed his previous constraints, charged toward Liang Hongying with the intent to deliver a decisive blow. Yichuan furrowed his brows and unleashed an air blast against the cheek of the bearded man. Caught off guard, the bearded man closed his eyes, providing Yichuan with a fleeting opportunity to retreat sharply and strike at the waist of the third brother. Upon regaining his sight, the bearded man's expression shifted dramatically. He immediately transformed into a werewolf and advanced towards Yichuan. However, it was already too late. The third brother, overly confident in his attack on Liang Hongying, failed to notice Yichuan and was swiftly bisected. His upper body continued its charge towards Liang Hongying, but she deftly blocked his claws with a dagger. In the next moment, the albatross seized him and hurled him into the sea. Third brother, the bearded man bellowed in rage, trembling with fury. What have you done? My friend, we are adversaries. What do you expect me to do? Naturally, I intend to eliminate you. Yichuan replied with an outstretched hand. Should I engage in emotional exchanges with you? I will kill you to avenge my third brother. Unable to contain his fury any longer, the bearded man shrieked and lunged at Yichuan. At that moment, the second brother revealed his true form without hesitation. Liang Hongying immediately joined forces with Zhao Feiyu to confront the second brother. Beneath the sea, Xiao Feilong and his companion piloted a small submarine. Having infiltrated the vicinity of the island within a 50-kilometer radius, they had already detected the two miniature submarines. Lu Shuai, adopting a serious demeanor, remarked, Brother, I suggest we launch 2 missiles now to send them to the afterlife, lest we prolong this night with unnecessary dreams. Is that truly your opinion? Xiao Feilong replied, pursing his lips. I believe we should toy with them, instilling a sense of pressure. Enough of that. What time do you think it is? Lu Shuai retorted impatiently. If they intercept us, do you think you can still act so confidently? You go load the missiles while we advance. With a mischievous grin, Xiao Feilong responded. It seems they are actually approaching us. When they discover our presence, won't they be startled? Ha! Observing the overconfident Xiao Feilong, Lu Shuai felt a pang of unease. Given that they can establish themselves here, they must possess their own formidable capabilities. While you may feel powerful, they might be even more so. Despite these thoughts, Lu Shuai swiftly loaded the missiles, expertly maneuvered the targeting system, and launched 2 missiles. What is the meaning of this? Xiao Feilong exclaimed loudly. Brother, this is no game. Although we are in a small submarine, we must not underestimate anyone. Lu Shuai replied sternly. We ventured out without the elder brother's permission. If we do not secure a decisive victory, how can we face him? Very well. With Lu Shuai having taken action, Xiao Feilong ceased his protests and focused intently on the radar. The missiles soon indicated a successful hit on the targets. However, the 2 targets did not vanish and continued their approach, leaving both men perplexed. Lu Shuai solemnly remarked, Brother, we may have encountered a formidable challenge. Let us hope we can resolve this smoothly. Otherwise, we shall be the ones facing dire consequences. He paused, reflecting on the situation. It seems they detected our target and promptly struck with torpedoes. Xiao Feilong's expression turned serious as well. Since they wish to engage with us, we shall demonstrate who truly holds authority here. I will load the missiles. Without further ado, Lu Shuai set about installing the missiles. Chapter 236. Xiao Feilong provokes trouble, life and death at stake. Soon, 3 submarines converged in the depths of the sea. Indeed, 2 were diminutive submarines. Yet at this moment, the opposition unhesitatingly launched 2 torpedoes. So proactive. Xiao Feilong furrowed his brow and immediately maneuvered the submarine upwards, evading the torpedoes while signaling Lu Shuai to initiate their counterattack. 2 missiles erupted in a flurry of bubbles, concentrating their force on one of the smaller submarines. Meanwhile, the other submarine pressed forward relentlessly, colliding with Xiao Feilong's craft and simultaneously unleashing 2 torpedoes. Dodge, for heaven's sake! Lu Shuai shouted. Am I not already controlling the submarine? Our vessel is considerably larger, making evasion challenging. Xiao Feilong, in a state of urgency, unleashed all their torpedoes and missiles. successfully striking the diminutive submarine. However, despite the annihilation of both small submarines, their own vessel sustained damage, rendering both propellers inoperative, leaving them trapped inside. All this posturing. And now what? Lu Shuai fumed, glaring at Xiao Feilong. What shall we do now? I haven't the faintest idea. Xiao Feilong replied weakly. Who could have anticipated that those two small submarines would be so reckless as to engage us to the bitter end? Fortunately, our submarine is not taking on water. So for the moment, we are safe. We simply need to wait for our comrades to finish their task and come to our rescue. Look, what is that? Lu Shuai, defeated by Xiao Feilong's previous bravado, turned his gaze to what lay behind him, his expression shifting dramatically, following his line of sight. Xiao Feilong gasped in horror. Before them stood two enormous werewolves, relentlessly pounding against the glass of their submarine. The sheer force of their blows was evident as cracks began to form on the glass. It wouldn't be long before it shattered. What should we do? Xiao Feilong exclaimed in alarm. Of course, we must leave immediately. Lu Shuai retorted tersely. Should the glass shatter, the deluge would be enough to drown us. Without hesitation, the two exited the control chamber, disregarding all caution, and made their way through the torpedo hatch to the exterior of the submarine. The two werewolves quickly detected their presence and swam towards them with alarming speed. Xiao Feilong's complexion darkened. Who could have foreseen such a grim conclusion? They might very well meet their demise at the hands of these two werewolves. Lu Shuai drew a dagger, prepared to fight for their lives. However, both werewolves stood at an imposing height of 2 meters, their bodies cloaked in a shaggy gray fur. Their sharp claws glimmered ominously even in the seawater, rendering any confrontation with them akin to striking a stone with an egg. Just as the two werewolves closed the distance to less than 5 meters from Lu Shuai and his companion, an enormous creature suddenly emerged behind them, colliding forcefully with the two werewolves and sending them sprawling. To their astonishment, it was a dolphin. In the very instant it launched the werewolves away, it turned and clutched Lu Shuai's clothing in its mouth, propelling itself towards the surface of the sea. Xiao Feilong quickly grasped the dolphin's tail with both hands, finally securing their safety. On the island, the bearded man grew increasingly alarmed. Despite having transformed into a werewolf, he lamentably discovered that he was still unable to vanquish Yichuan, and instead, he had been struck by Yichuan's mighty blade several times. While werewolves possessed the ability to heal wounds, their recuperation was not as swift as Yichuan's, and even while injured, he had to persist in the battle. Over time, he had lost nearly 500 milliliters of blood. Damn it! The bearded man gritted his teeth, casting a glance at his similarly beleaguered comrade, contemplating a retreat. He bellowed loudly, turning to flee, but as soon as he entered the water, he was sent flying back, the dolphin bringing Xiao Feilong and Lu Shuai ashore. Well done, Yichuan shouted, striding forward and delivering a powerful slash at the bearded man, who barely managed to adjust his stance in time, yet still lost an arm. Along with a significant chunk of flesh from his thigh, blood gushing forth in a ghastly display. Yichuan did not pause. He leaped backward and swiftly turned to strike at the second brother. Liang Hongying and her companion had been relentlessly pushing the second brother back. At that moment, sensing a gust of wind approaching from behind, the second brother instinctively dodged to the side, only to find that the three had anticipated his move, simultaneously striking and severing his legs. While they possessed formidable healing abilities, severed limbs could not regenerate, leaving the two effectively incapacitated. Xiao Feilong, how did you two get here? Did the dolphin carry you? Yichuan inquired, eyeing the distant turtle island several hundred meters away with suspicion. Lu Shuai rolled his eyes at Xiao Feilong and recounted the events leading up to their arrival. This revelation left Yichuan astounded, gazing incredulously at Xiao Feilong. Brother, you truly outdid yourself. You managed to incapacitate a submarine. I didn't do it on purpose, big brother. Xiao Feilong retorted sheepishly. Who could have known those two would be werewolves? If the dolphin hadn't arrived in time, we would have likely fallen victim to their treachery. Wait. Upon hearing Xiao Feilong's words, Yichuan's brow furrowed. It was inconceivable that the two werewolves would simply drown. Their submarine had malfunctioned. Which raised the question, would they not make their way to Turtle Island? You three keep an eye on those two. Hongying, come with me. Yichuan commanded loudly, swiftly leading Liang Hongying back to Turtle Island. Upon reaching the summit, Blueberry Jam and her companion were gripped by terror. Surrounded by signs of cannon fire, fortunately outside the range of the vetiver grass, which spared them from substantial harm. Upon encountering Yichuan, Friday exclaimed with exuberance, Brother Chuan, you have arrived. If you hadn't come, these two women would have obliterated our island. Brother, Blueberry Jam had descended from the small island and leaped into Yichuan's embrace. Her eyes glistening with tears as she cried, I am frightened. What on earth is happening? Yichuan inquired solemnly. At that moment, Friday, along with Lu Yiwei and Saturday, recounted the recent events to Yichuan. Indeed, as Yichuan had predicted, 2 werewolves had landed on Turtle Island. Fortunately, Blueberry Jam and her companion had retreated to the hilltop, both to observe the island's situation and to ensure their safety in case of imminent danger. As fate would have it, the 2 werewolves had indeed arrived, prompting Lu Yiwei to command the cannons, which fired 3 shots, all of which missed their mark. It was Friday and Saturday who engaged the enemy. Just as the werewolves emerged from the sea, still weary from their exertions, they were driven into the woods by the 2 robots. You mean those 2 werewolves are still in the forest? Yichuan asked in astonishment. Indeed, Friday replied with a grin. Isn't our team of CP quite formidable? However, Yichuan's expression turned grave. A single werewolf was already a formidable opponent for anyone unprepared. And now there were 2. Should they choose to attack a single individual, the outcome would surely be disastrous. 2 werewolves pose a significant threat. Brother Chuan, have we erred? Saturday timidly asked, noticing Yichuan's frown. You have done nothing wrong, Yichuan responded, gently shaking his head. Observing that Turtle Island was now connected to the main island, he instructed Saturday, assist Friday in transplanting all the fruits and vegetables to our island. Understood. Saturday nodded vigorously and began working alongside Friday. Meanwhile, Yichuan called upon Zhao Feiyu and the others to return to Turtle Island, where he said, Lu Shuai, take Lu Yi and Blueberry and pilot the submarine out to sea, but remain stationary beneath Turtle Island. Very well, Lu Shuai replied without hesitation, ushering the 2 girls into the last submarine. Aside from Zhao Feiyu, who kept watch over the movements of the 2 werewolves from the hill, the other 3 swiftly transferred their supplies. Once all provisions had been secured under Yichuan's command, he bound the 3 werewolves and brought them to the island. Laughing heartily as he declared, Cowards, why do you not come forth to meet your end? The little flying dragon, sensing the moment, rushed forward and struck one of the werewolves with a mountain knife, laughing as he taunted, Aren't you powerful? Your brethren are here suffering. Yet you hide away in the woods, reveling in your shame? Silence ensued. It seemed as if the 2 werewolves had vanished entirely. Little Flying Dragon appeared unfazed, but third brother immediately bellowed, Brothers, I am left with but my upper body. It matters not to me. However, you still bear the hopes of our family. So do not venture forth. Let me perish instead. With a furrowed brow, Little Flying Dragon struck fiercely at third brother's neck with his blade. Alas, third brother, the first to strike, became the first to fall. Third brother. In an instant, Bearded Man and second brother cried out in unison, Do not come out. Third brother is already dead. Your emergence would serve no purpose. Uft. Little Flying Dragon sneered, delivering a blow to second brother. Perhaps it is indeed meaningless. Yet you shall meet a most tragic end. Goodness, I never realized Little Flying Dragon could be so ruthless beneath his usual jest, Liang Honging whispered, observing him. At that moment, a whoosh echoed, and 2 figures darted from the woods like arrows, lunging fiercely at Little Flying Dragon. Yichuan and the others sprang into action. Yichuan unleashed absolute gravity, colliding with one of the attackers like a human cannonball. The clash of their forces unleashed a weight of several hundred tons, sending the werewolf hurtling away, shattering 5 or 6 trees before it lay sprawled on the ground, blood pouring from its mouth and nose, a pitiful sight. These 2 werewolves were clearly weaker than the previous 3. Zhao Feiyu and Liang Honging teamed up, relentlessly assaulting one werewolf, who, within mere moments, was battered and bloodied. Half an hour later, with the exception of Bearded Man, the remaining 3 werewolves lay slain. With a smile, Yichuan inquired, I have heard that this island is under your dominion. Might you enlighten me on what draws you to it? What concern is it of yours? Bearded Man replied coldly, Our clan of werewolves has existed for over a millennium, each of us bearing a unique mark. Should one of us be slain, the mark transfers to the killer. Once the novice zone opens, you will undoubtedly face our clan's vengeance. So prepare for your demise. Upon hearing this, Little Flying Dragon was taken aback. He was the first to kill a werewolf, which meant that the werewolf clan would soon come for him. Liang Honging and Zhao Feiyu also wore grim expressions. The werewolf clan, with its vast wealth and ferocity, was a formidable force in the West. Offending them would lead to a relentless pursuit. Yet, Yichuan merely chuckled disdainfully, swiftly dispatching Bearded Man. Seeing Zhao Feiyu and the others gaze at him in shock, Yichuan smiled and declared, I, Yichuan, have never been one to fear for my life. If they seek revenge, let us see if they possess the strength to bring us to ruin. Brother, Little Flying Dragon felt a surge of emotion. Following such a formidable elder brother, what future could one possibly fear? In an instant, His heart felt considerably more secure. And he spoke up. Brother, this time it's my oversight. I've wrecked a submarine. Once the novice area opens, I will seek my grandfather. And in addition to contributing 1 fleet, I shall donate 3 large submarines. Let us discuss this further once the novice area is accessible, Yichuan said with a smile. But first, we must ascertain what treasures this place holds that are worthy of guarding by the 5 brothers. Beneath the waves, 3 individuals piloted the submarine. Concealed beneath Turtle Island. This was Blueberry Jam's first encounter with the immense form of a sea turtle, causing him to gulp. Goodness, this sea turtle is exceedingly large. Perhaps 100 meters long? Indeed, this is my first opportunity to observe such a magnificent creature up close, Lu Yewei exclaimed with excitement. It has utterly surpassed my expectations. The allure of the oceanic world is truly boundless. It is said that although a new batch of novice island masters enters the novice area every 3 years, our current exploration of the oceanic realm has yet to reach even 1/10 of its total expanse, Lu Shuai explained, especially in the zone of life prohibitions. SS and SSS grade marine creatures abound, and even those veteran island masters who have navigated these waters for over a decade dare not tread lightly. As they spoke, a dolphin swiftly emerged from the deep waters, circling the submarine before ascending further. Lu Shuai nodded. The battle must be over. We can surface now. With a splash, the dolphin leapt into the air, expelling a dark object from its mouth, leaving Liang hanging momentarily stunned. Brother, could this be what the 5 were guarding? What is this dark object? Yichuan questioned, perplexed. While he was familiar with common minerals, this one was truly beyond his understanding. This is cobalt-rich nodules, Zhao Feiyu exclaimed, unable to contain his excitement. What exactly are cobalt-rich nodules? The little dragon asked in confusion. They are a type of mineral, Zhao Feiyu clarified. The metals contained enhance the hardness, strength, and corrosion resistance of steel, making them invaluable in military applications. How abundant is this resource? Yichuan inquired, turning to the dolphin. The dolphin nodded affirmatively and then dove back into the ocean depths. Given the dolphin's assurance, this resource must be exceedingly plentiful. Yichuan mused, stroking his chin. Little dragon, this treasure is yours. What do you say? Absolutely. The little dragon exclaimed with exhilaration. But, brother Yu, is this resource valuable? Indeed, Zhao Feiyu affirmed. With such extensive applications in metals like steel, its worth is undeniably immeasurable. Were it not for Yichuan's prior commitment to me for another mineral, I would certainly have claimed this one for myself. Then it is settled, haha. The little dragon finally felt reassured, smiling contentedly. At this moment, Lu Shuai and his companions had returned from the sea. They tidied up the disorder on the island, and on Saturday, they prepared a delightful meal. It had been a fulfilling day, and everyone relished the feast. However, Yichuan felt a sense of regret, as the werewolf had not been classified as a terrestrial creature of a higher tier, thus failing to yield any rewards. It should have at least been recognized as a B-grade terrestrial creature, if not an A-grade one. After dinner, in a brief period of leisure, Yichuan took a warm bath before retreating to his room. He checked the messages in the public chat room. Brothers, I have exciting news. I've discovered mineral resources. Huh? No way, really? You found mineral resources so quickly? It seems rather unbelievable. Even if you crafted a pocket submarine, you probably couldn't reach such depths. Are you just boasting? Oh, I merely wish to share my joy with everyone. I'm not asking you to believe me. Dude, wealth should not be flaunted. Don't you understand such a simple principle? Upon reading these messages, Yichuan furrowed his brow. To prevent this individual from claiming the mineral deposits he had marked, he immediately employed a superlocator. Fortunately, it was not his own discovery and was located near the barriers of 2 major regions. It seemed he had misjudged. The entire Jiuzhou region likely harbored more than just the 5 mineral deposits he had found. Besides the one discovered by this individual, there were probably others. However, Yichuan had no intention of competing for the mineral resources with this island owner. Considering the distance and the likely influx of other island owners vying for the same resources before the novice zone opened, thus, he felt no need to wade into that murky water. Yet, on the flip side, if everyone flocked to claim this mineral resource, the chances of his own 5 deposits being discovered would diminish. In that case, he ought to be grateful to that island owner. Having ceased to pay attention to other messages, Yichuan slipped into slumber. The next morning, the crowing of roosters roused Yichuan from his sleep. It was just past 5, and he returned to slumber until around 6, at which point he finally rose and announced, Check-in. Check-in successful. Congratulations, host. You have earned 1,000 evolution points and a medium submarine manufacturing blueprint. The system's voice immediately echoed, and under the effects of double amplification, it transformed into a doubled reward. Yi Chuan's expression shifted. It had been quite some time since he had manufactured a small submarine. While it had served him well, it was evident that it could no longer meet the demands of warfare. The arrival of the medium submarine blueprint was exceptionally timely. Upon examining the requirements for constructing a medium submarine, he noted they included one medium submarine blueprint, one small submarine, 5,000 metal sheets, 3,500 plastic, 1,000 glass, and 300 cloth pieces. Quite satisfactory. Without hesitation, Yi Chuan proceeded to manufacture the medium submarine, which measured over 80 meters in length, double that of the previous small submarine. Moreover, with the effects of double amplification, he ended up with 2 vessels. Observing that the double amplification was about to expire, Yi Chuan promptly transformed the remaining small submarine into a medium submarine as well. As the moment of the dual amplification's disappearance approached, Yi Chuan acquired 4 medium-sized submarines. Initially, he contemplated using a triple amplification card to obtain 2 additional submarines, but he felt that 4 medium-sized submarines were sufficient for the time being. Thus, he refrained from unnecessary expenditure. What brought Yi Chuan solace was the fact that the torpedoes and missiles currently being manufactured could be utilized on medium-sized submarines. However, the medium-sized submarines required larger missiles and torpedoes, which would need to be taken into account during future production. "Brother, it's time for dinner." At this moment, Xiao Feilong ran over to call Yi Chuan for a meal. After breakfast, Yi Chuan couldn't help but chuckle. "Come, let us go and inspect the new submarines." Huh. The others were momentarily taken aback. "There are new submarines?" "Naturally. I have already rendered the small submarines obsolete. Of course, we must procure a few new ones." Yi Chuan laughed heartily, leading the group aboard the new submarine. This truly astonished them. The formerly small submarines had surprisingly transformed into medium-sized ones, and the space had expanded significantly, particularly in the command room, where even 7 individuals could stand without feeling overly cramped. "Brother, when did you acquire the medium-sized submarine?" "This is simply a delightful surprise," Xiao Feilong exclaimed excitedly. "Does this count as upgrading from a bird gun to a cannon?" "Indeed. Now, should we encounter a diminutive submarine again, we can simply confront it without fear." Yi Chuan replied with a smile. No, I dare not act recklessly." Xiao Feilong stuck out his tongue, feeling embarrassed. "Otherwise, I would truly be foolish." This exchange prompted everyone to erupt in hearty laughter. Upon returning to the island and checking the time, Yi Chuan estimated that, barring any unforeseen circumstances, they would likely reach the island master by tomorrow. The signal from the island remained active, and he wondered whether that brother had encountered any attacks from other island masters and what the current situation was. However, as of now, there were no unusual circumstances. Yi Chuan seized this opportunity to thoroughly inspect the conditions on the island. After some time had passed, the 2 young female goats had grown nearly as large as their mother, though their horns had yet to appear. The chicks were each estimated to weigh around 3 pounds. These animals had been nourished by the mountain spring water, and Yi Chuan found himself contemplating whether to slaughter a few young roosters for a spicy stir-fry, which would surely be delectable. Yet, reason urged him to wait until they grew a bit larger, as their flavor would undoubtedly be more exquisite. This time, he had procured a considerable amount of vegetables from the werewolf brothers, and to his surprise, there was even sesame among them. He immediately instructed Saturday to make some sesame paste for a hot pot dinner that evening. After completing his inspection, Yi Chuan finally arrived beneath the magical tree. After several days of growth, the magical tree had reached a height of approximately 80 meters, standing tall and straight. However, on the lower stem, aside from 2 symmetrical protrusions, there were also small red fruits the size of a pinky finger. This discovery left Yi Chuan utterly astonished. Were these the magical fruits? Chapter 239. The lesson after consuming the exclusive fruit brother. Does this thing even bear fruit? At that moment, the little dragon approached, astonished. Yi Chuan shook his head and directly inquired, "System, is this thing a fruit?" "Marvelous fruit, equivalent to S-level fruit," the system promptly responded. "Goodness, how remarkable." Yi Chuan's expression shifted as he quickly elucidated. "This is called marvelous fruit, classified as S-level." "Wow," the little dragon exclaimed, utterly astonished. After all, S-level fruit is indeed a rare find. Moreover, the multitude of fruits lining the path numbered at least in the hundreds. This was a fortune. With a smile, Yi Chuan immediately called for Friday to commence the harvesting of these marvelous fruits, followed by Saturday to process them. Although uncertain of the fruit's flavor, being S-level, one could trust it would not disappoint. By noon, Planet 6 presented the prepared marvelous fruit jam to Yi Chuan. It was enough for 7 servings, each portioning out at 100 grams, with the remainder stored in the refrigeration unit. The group found themselves free from the need for a meal. as consuming merely 100 grams of the jam provided a profound sense of satiety and satisfaction. Waves of warmth coursed through their bodies, elevating their core temperatures to an unpredictable height. "Brother, am I burning up?" Blueberry, lying on the sofa with a flushed face, could not help but ask. "How could that be? This is merely a normal reaction to consuming S-level jam," Yichuan reassured with a smile. "This is crafted from S-level marvelous fruits, surely differing from ordinary S-level produce." After a full half hour, the sensation of heat began to wane. Zhao Feiyu, however, took a deep breath and commenced running laps, feeling a powerful force within him that was stifling. Only through release could he find comfort. Gradually, the other 5 joined Zhao Feiyu in his endeavor. Once their body temperatures returned to normal, Yichuan sensed a surge in his strength, but was perplexed by the situation concerning Zhao Feiyu and the others. System. What is occurring? Marvelous fruit is the host's exclusive sustenance. If consumed by other island masters, their power cannot be released, ultimately leading to a breakdown and, consequently, death. The system explained succinctly. This explanation left Yichuan somewhat dismayed. "Why didn't you mention this earlier?" The system remained silent. Yichuan, feeling compelled to inquire further, asked, "What must be done to channel this power?" "Combat." The system's response was merely 2 words, after which it fell silent again. Yichuan could only shake his head in wry amusement and called out, "Apologies. This S-level fruit is my exclusive property and should not have been shared. You must engage in battle to release the power within your bodies. Blueberry, you will fight against Lu Yi. Exert your utmost strength to unleash your potential. Little Dragon, you will battle Lu Shuai. Gu, you will face off against Hong Ying. Consider each other as mortal enemies, no holds barred." Upon hearing Yichuan's words, the group did not hesitate and immediately began to engage in a brawl. The overwhelming force within their bodies was excruciating, and if they did not expel it promptly, it would become intolerable. After 3 hours, all 6 of them were utterly exhausted, bearing minor injuries, and only then was the energy finally released. Several members, including Blueberry Jam, collapsed onto the ground, unwilling to move. Zhao Feiyu, equally exasperated, remarked, "Brother, this is no trifling matter. This is your personal burden, and it must not be mistaken." Yichuan felt a tinge of embarrassment. He had not contemplated it deeply, nor had the system provided any reminders. Yichuan even speculated that perhaps the system was displeased with his decision to harbor the 6 of them on the island, thus subjecting them to this ordeal. Reflecting on the earlier incident when Liang Hong was pricked by the mysterious tree, he should have anticipated that this entity would repel anyone except himself. Thus, it was indeed a miscalculation on his part. After carrying the 3 women to their beds and instructing Zhao Feiyu to escort Xiao Feilong and Lu Shuai back to their room, Yichuan hurried to prepare dinner with Saturday. The previous night had been too rushed, and they had not enjoyed hot pot. Saturday had already ground sesame into oil and paste, and with tofu, spinach, beef, pork, and chicken readily available, they had more than enough to prepare a sumptuous hot pot feast. By evening, after everyone had sufficiently rested, Yichuan set up the makeshift charcoal hot pot in front of the house. They gathered around, savoring the hot pot and singing merrily. The addition of delectable monkey wine had long since banished the gloom of midday. The dinner lasted a remarkable 2 hours, and by the time they finished cleaning up, it was already past 9. Yichuan was the first to finish his shower and before returning to his room, he glanced at the messages in the foreign public chat room. "Brothers, I informed you in advance. The island of the big catfish is under my control, so do not come. You will only meet your demise at my hands." "Hey, who do you think you are? Just because you say you occupy it, does it mean you truly do? Have you consulted me? By the way, I will arrive first thing tomorrow morning, and we can have a proper contest then." "Oh dear, how shameless. Have you all forgotten about the big catfish lurking below? As long as it lives, none of you are qualified to claim this island. Have you considered the original island owner's perspective? He should still be alive, right? Once the novice zone concludes, my family will deal with the big catfish, so there is no need for your concern." Seeing these individuals embroiled in heated arguments over the island's ownership, Yichuan couldn't help but shake his head. Regardless of how many foreign island masters arrive tomorrow, he could simply dispatch a medium-sized submarine to send them to their demise. This island and its resources were undoubtedly his. No one could contest him. Ignoring the bickering brothers, Yichuan retreated to his room to sleep. Detected that the host has not yet signed in. "Would you like to sign in?" The next morning, Yichuan awoke to the system's prompt and immediately responded, "Sign in." The system's voice resonated, announcing, "Sign in successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 1,000 evolution points and the blueprint for the advanced aerial repeating crossbow." This statement jolted Yichuan into clarity. He recalled that during the last sign-in, He had obtained the blueprint for a standard aerial repeating crossbow. This time, however, it was an advanced version. Without hesitation, Yichuan crafted the super aerial repeating crossbow. The structure stood 3 meters tall, capable of vertical launch at maximum angle, and parallel to the sea surface at minimum. It could accommodate 100 bolts, each 3 centimeters in diameter and 50 centimeters in length. When the trigger was pulled, it could unleash up to 10 bolts in rapid succession, reaching heights of 300 meters with formidable force. Indeed, it was a super aerial repeating crossbow, significantly larger than its ordinary counterpart. Yet, Yichuan remained puzzled about the purpose of such a device. Chapter 240. The dominant Yichuan clears the field. The last time he had utilized the aerial repeating crossbow, he had vanquished a C-class white-headed sea eagle and a B-class blackbird. Now, with the blueprint for the super aerial repeating crossbow in hand, the adversaries he would confront were bound to be even more formidable. In a moment of reflection, he recalled the dragon-like creature he had vaguely spotted during a rainstorm days prior, belonging to the island's master. Surely, he would not be expected to contend with that beast, would he? Suddenly, the little dragon emerged and, upon seeing the colossal weapon, exclaimed in astonishment, "Goodness, this is enormous. Indeed, this is the super aerial repeating crossbow." Yichuan replied somewhat impatiently, "Help me carry it to the mountaintop and position it 20 meters away from the medium artillery." "All right, brother, just watch." The little dragon chuckled, swiftly hoisting the crossbow and racing up the hill, where he set it atop the summit. The hill stood over 80 meters tall, indicating that the crossbow could strike targets at a height of 380 meters. If launched at a slant, at angles of 45 or 60 degrees, its range would extend even further. After breakfast, Yichuan suddenly sensed a warning from the dolphins. He immediately employed the technique of same pupil transmission and observed several medium and large attack sailing vessels approximately 3 nautical miles away, alongside 5 or 6 miniature submarines. It was clear they were drawn by the promise of mineral resources. Yichuan instructed Zhao Feiyu, the little dragon, and Lu Shuai to enter the medium submarine, then promptly sent a message in the public chat room of the foreign district. "Currently, there are ships and submarines approaching the island for mineral resources. You have 10 minutes to evacuate. Otherwise, I will unleash a devastating strike upon you, and none shall escape." "Wow, another boasting fool. Is today a day for tax-free bluster?" One voice chimed in. "Buddy, I am right here on this island, and these island masters are all coming for me. I don't even have such grandiose claims about wiping them out entirely. Do you possess the means to do so?" "Brother, stop with the boasting. How can one person possibly annihilate so many submarines and warships? I find that hard to believe." I shall not depart. Let us see what you can do." As these island lords declared, 5 minutes had passed, and still, no one wished to leave. Yichuan ceased to indulge them any longer and signaled Zhao Feiyu to commence. Whether it be submarines or warships, each was met with 3 missiles aimed directly at them. This exhilarated the young dragon, who immediately began to operate the controls. In a mere 5 minutes, over 60 missiles had been unleashed. The island lords, particularly those within the submarines, soon realized the peril they were in and quickly sought to evade. Some attempted to retaliate, but facing 3 missiles, even if one was neutralized and another dodged, there remained yet one more. In an instant, all warships were engulfed in explosions. None were spared. The IDs that had boasted in the chat began to vanish one by one. Although their comments remained, their avatars could no longer be clicked. My heavens! All the warships outside have just erupted in flames. Over a dozen vessels obliterated in 5 minutes. Does that formidable figure truly possess such power? The island lords on the island were indeed frightened. "Brother, I am leaving immediately. Can you spare my life?" The silence that followed only served to heighten their terror. There was no doubt that the submarines lurking beneath the sea had met their demise as well. Who was this extraordinary individual capable of annihilating so many island lords at once? They could undoubtedly dominate 2 novice zones. Not receiving an answer, Corky promptly exited the room, only to witness a massive island docking with theirs. Yichuan and his companions leaped onto the island and directly inquired, "It is you who has subdued the lord of this sea and usurped the mineral resources?" Corky's lips quivered as he spoke. "Brother, I sincerely apologize for occupying your resources. May I leave now? I assure you, I shall never return. You shall never see me again." Yichuan merely shrugged and gestured for him to proceed. Corky breathed a sigh of relief as he turned to flee with a super tablet, only to be met with Liang Hongying's dagger, sending him to his demise. The original island lord was bound and held captive in the room. Upon being released by Liang Hongying, he gazed at the group in terror. "Who are you?" "We have come to seek the minerals as well. We have just eliminated all those interested in these resources," Yichuan explained. At this juncture, I must ask, do you consent to relinquish this mineral to me? The crucial matter remained. Regardless of your agreement, these minerals are already yours, the island lord timidly replied. Of course. Provided you can slay that giant catfish. Brother, I have always wondered, aren't catfish freshwater dwellers? Why then are there catfish in the sea? Blueberry Jam could no longer contain her curiosity. That is likely not a catfish, but rather a sea catfish, Yichuan responded, turning his gaze towards the island lord. The island's master raised his hands in confusion and said, I am not certain either. That massive catfish has a dark brown back, its sides are a rich olive green, and its belly is lighter with a hint of whiteness. However, its fins are a grayish black, and it possesses a long whisker on either side of its mouth, resembling a catfish almost perfectly. Not to mention, a catfish typically has 2 to 3 whiskers on each side of its mouth, but this one has only one, which means it is indeed not a catfish, but a sea catfish. Yichuan nodded. Nonetheless, this species usually grows to a maximum of just over a meter. Yet a sea catfish measuring over 30 meters is something I have never heard of before. Regardless of its identity, may I pilot the boat away myself? The island master timidly inquired. This place now belongs to you. I shall refrain from interfering. Is that acceptable? Just then, the island shook violently, reminiscent of an earthquake. But the tremors ceased after 4 or 5 jolts. Lu Yue, astonished, exclaimed, what just happened? Accompanied by the emergence of a medium-sized submarine. Zhao Feiyu and his companions leapt from the vessel, with Xiao Feilong laughing heartily. Big brother, we just had an encounter with that enormous catfish. Are you implying that the recent tremors were caused by you? Yichuan asked with a resigned tone. Indeed. We fired 3 missiles at it, provoking its wrath, which led to its body colliding with the underwater island, thus causing the tremors. 3 missiles failed to harm it. Blueberry Jam asked in shock. Chapter 241. The Great Battle Against the Sea Catfish. The Invulnerable Soft Spot. Yes. Xiao Feilong shrugged. I truly do not know how to defeat this creature. He glanced towards Yichuan. Yichuan waved his hand at the former island master, who appeared relieved and prepared to leave, but Liang Hongying swiftly ended his life. Hongying, why did you kill him? Yichuan was taken aback. Brother, he is the former island master. Allowing him to live could invite formidable entities into this area once the novice zone opens, which would spell disaster for us. Liang Hongying replied. Moreover, this island is unsinkable. If we depart, and another island master claims it, it would not bode well for us after the novice zone opens. Thus, he deserved to die. Indeed, Yichuan nodded slightly. At times, he acknowledged his own indecision, realizing that these individuals from prominent families had been tempered into maturity. He couldn't help but regard Liang Hongying with newfound respect. Before long, the small island began to submerge, and the group returned to Turtle Island. Xiao Feilong remarked, Big brother, we must devise a plan to eliminate this giant catfish. Otherwise, the mineral resources will remain under its control, and we will be unable to acquire them. This mineral resource is intended for Lu Shui, Yichuan said. Glancing at Lu Shui, when you descended, did you take note of the mineral resources below? No, not at all. Lu Shui responded, his expression shifting awkwardly. It's akin to a riddle. The riddle has been presented to you, and it is now up to you to unravel its mystery. The system. If we were to slay the catfish, could its hide be affixed to the submarine? Yichuan suddenly posed a question. The defensive capabilities of this catfish are astonishing, capable of withstanding 3 missiles without issue. If we could transfer its defense to the submarine, it would indeed be a remarkable achievement. However, the catfish is too small to cover the submarine entirely. Instead, we could craft 8 sets of lightweight, yet remarkably resilient, summer armor. The system promptly provided a suggestion. What a splendid idea. Yichuan's eyes sparkled, and he decisively declared, we must eliminate this catfish. Otherwise, when the novice area is about to open, it will be quite a nuisance for Lu Shui to deal with it. Better to resolve this matter once and for all. The critical question remains, how do we go about killing it? Xiao Feilong raised his hands in exasperation. Big brother, this creature has tough skin and thick flesh. It is exceedingly difficult to handle. Let my dolphin have a go. Yichuan chuckled. Upon receiving the command, the dolphin immediately surged toward the catfish, its massive head colliding forcefully with the catfish's belly, propelling it towards the surface. The catfish, already irked by the disturbance, was enraged to see such a diminutive creature daring to provoke it and swiftly pursued the dolphin. Meanwhile, the turtle floated gently, rising to a height of 1 meter, patiently awaiting the arrival of the catfish. The catfish, fixated on the dolphin with its small eyes, failed to notice the turtle until the dolphin leapt from the ocean and headed towards Turtle Island. At that moment, the turtle unleashed its absolute gravity, drawing the catfish's attention. However, just as the catfish was about to leap from the water, it collided with the turtle, which had enacted its gravitational force. The impact, akin to 2,000 tons of pressure, sent the catfish crashing back into the depths. Yet, within a mere 50 meters of its descent, the catfish regained its composure. Glaring furiously at the enormous turtle, its stubborn temperament flared, and it charged ferociously at the turtle's belly. The reverse current technique was activated, hindering the catfish's speed. Subsequently, a barrage of massive water bullets bombarded the catfish, exploding upon impact and leaving it momentarily dazed, with its mouth agape in astonishment towards the turtle. It had locked onto one of the turtle's legs. If it could bite down, it would surely subjugate the turtle. However, a sudden sound wave echoed across the sea, inflicting immense agony upon the catfish. Despite continuing to swim upward, it had evidently lost sight of its target. Seizing the opportunity, the turtle extended its long neck, stretching over 10 meters, and clamped down on the catfish's lower lip, its formidable bite causing blood to flow freely. Initially, the catfish intended to bite the turtle, but the turtle's grip on its lip rendered it incapable of exerting force, leaving it to writhe and struggle in vain. The novice area catfish, being a large and ferocious creature, possessed tremendous strength. Even though it was ensnared by the turtle, its desperate thrashing caused the entire turtle island to tremble ever so slightly. Diyu was on the verge of discarding his lower lip, striving to free himself from the turtle's grasp. "Little flying dragon, what are you dawdling for? Hurry up and grab the fishing gun," Yichuan exclaimed loudly upon witnessing the situation. "All right." Little flying dragon chuckled heartily and dashed over to operate the gigantic automatic fishing gun. Blood had already stained the ocean in crimson, and as little flying dragon aimed and fired the fishing gun, it was utterly baffling that the harpoon failed to penetrate the body of the catfish. "Bro, this thing's defense is ridiculously strong," Little flying dragon pouted. "Aim for its mouth," Yichuan commanded decisively. "I will make my turtle release its grip at that moment. And you two must execute a perfect coordination." "Understood." With Yichuan's words, Little flying dragon began to operate once more. The turtle was quite cooperative, releasing its hold instantly, allowing the stage to be set for the fishing gun. The catfish felt it was on the verge of breaking free, but in that fleeting moment, the harpoon entered, and the barbed hook lodged itself in. The catfish winced in pain, and despite retreating immediately, after pulling back 3,000 meters, it had already straightened the reinforced steel cable. "This time, let's see how you escape." Yichuan smirked, muttering softly. "Big brother, you're amazing," Little flying dragon exclaimed excitedly, snapping his fingers. "Let us see how it plays now. If it cannot be breached from the outside, then we shall attack from within," Yichuan declared. "You go. You two descend and launch a missile into its mouth. Let us see if it survives." "Understood." Upon hearing this, Zhao Feiyu and Lu Shuai swiftly boarded the submarine. "Wow, big brother, this tactic is brilliant." Little flying dragon's expression shifted. Even if a torpedo exploded from its belly, it would undoubtedly send it to its demise. "Ultimately, we shall see how it unfolds," Yichuan said solemnly. He was merely speculating, as he knew the creature's exterior defense was formidable. But if its interior defense was equally robust, then the situation could become quite troublesome. "This time, it surely won't be an issue," Little flying dragon said with a grin. "What a pity that such an impressive maneuver wasn't executed by me. It would have been exhilarating, haha." Chapter 242, Slaying the Catfish, Bulletproof Summer Attire. At this moment, the two had already piloted the submarine into the depths, observing the catfish's mouth being forcibly opened as it thrashed violently. Its massive maw, measuring a diameter of 7 to 8 meters, could easily accommodate a missile. Without further hesitation, Lu Shuai immediately loaded the missile, and after Zhao Feiyu aimed, he pressed the launch button. The distance between them was less than 5,000 meters, and the missile, releasing a series of fine bubbles, swiftly approached the catfish. At that moment, the catfish was already seething with rage. Upon seeing the incoming missile, it opened its mouth wide to bite, precisely playing into their hands, allowing the missile to penetrate deeply into its body. Boom. The next instant, a muffled explosion emanated from the catfish, followed by a surge of air rushing from its mouth. The catfish, which had been thrashing violently, suddenly fell silent, slowly sinking to the ocean floor. Is it no longer struggling? Did Yu Ge and the others succeed? Little flying dragon had been attentively observing the fish spear, and could not help but excitedly inquire, "Bring it up." Yichuan's expression shifted, as it appeared his conjecture had been correct. Soon, the massive catfish, measuring over 30 meters in length, was hauled onto the beach, making everyone present seem like mere ants in comparison. This spectacle left Lu Yewei and her companions in awe of the ocean's mysteries, truly a realm that eludes comprehension. Saturday, Yichuan called out, "Have you seen this great fish? Handle it." but ensure you preserve the fish skin for my other purposes. Sure thing, Brother Chuan. We can steam it for lunch, Saturday replied without hesitation. Yi Chuan signaled an okay gesture to Saturday, entrusting him with the subsequent tasks while he hurried off to observe the dolphins. Upon fulfilling its duty, Saturday swiftly dove to the seabed and retrieved a mineral resource, a white crystalline substance. Combustible ice. Indeed, it was combustible ice. Zhao Feiyu approached to confirm, noting the seemingly abundant reserves. Lu Shuai, you are about to strike it rich. All thanks to my big brother's support. Lu Shuai beamed with joy. Combustible ice is currently a highly sought-after mineral resource, with a considerable market price. If the reserves below are indeed plentiful, hundreds of billions would not be out of reach. Lu Shuai felt he had truly made a significant contribution to his family, exhilarated. I stand by my words. Sticking with Brother Chuan will never let you down. Yi Chuan chuckled heartily. Next, we have 2 more minerals to find, those belonging to Lu Yi and Blueberry. Let's strive to locate them swiftly. The 2 women immediately exhibited their eagerness and anticipation. Yi Chuan waved his hand, stating, we have already identified the mineral resources we know the locations of. Now we must embark on a blind search. The novice area is quite expansive, and when we find it will depend solely on our luck. Presently, 10 mineral resources had been discovered, leaving 1 remaining. Locating it would complete the hidden quest. However, it was likely that no one in the public chat room would casually disclose any locations to him from this point onward. He would have to search independently, akin to finding a needle in a haystack. He noted the coordinates and instructed the sea turtle to select a location and commence its journey, while the group took a moment to regroup. As noon approached, Saturday presented the enormous fish skin to Yi Chuan, saying, Brother Chuan, I've managed to skin the fish, but it was quite a challenge. It took me and Friday over 3 hours to accomplish. Haha, good things come to those who persevere. Thank you for your hard work. Yi Chuan laughed heartily and immediately inquired of the system. System, this fish skin is rather unsightly. Surely the t-shirt made from it cannot merely resemble this? You can create a one-to-one replica based on the original t-shirt, the system promptly replied. With a sense of curiosity, Yi Chuan made his way to the garment machine and replicated his t-shirt, indeed producing an identical one that felt even softer and considerably lighter. Relieved, Yi Chuan collected the t-shirts and shorts from the 6 individuals, replicated them one-to-one, and returned them. Brother, what is going on? Little Flying Dragon asked, perplexed. Yi Chuan chuckled oddly at the little dragon, promptly launching several steel nails towards it. Startled, the little dragon let out a cry and attempted to dodge, but alas. Yi Chuan's speed was too formidable, evasion was utterly impossible. Surprisingly, the once powerful steel nails merely struck the fabric of its shirt and fell to the ground, leaving the little dragon with only a faint sting, akin to the bite of a mosquito. What is happening? The little dragon exclaimed in astonishment. Yi Chuan was well aware of the potency of his steel nails. They could effortlessly penetrate even a boulder, causing it to shatter into fragments. Yet now, they failed to pierce through his t-shirt. The t-shirts and shorts we wear are crafted from the skin of the giant catfish, Yi Chuan elucidated. As we all know, the defense provided by this material is remarkable. While it may not withstand missiles or torpedoes, it can certainly fend off blades and bullets. Really? Blueberry Jam perked up with excitement. Does that mean I could join the fray as well? Come on, with your frail physique, whom do you intend to battle? Liang Hongying retorted with a hint of sarcasm. Do not underestimate me. Blueberry Jam shot Liang a resentful glance. With abilities like yours, how could I possibly underestimate you? Liang responded, raising her hands in exasperation. Still, I'm stronger than you, tomboy. Blueberry Jam declared, puffing out her chest and grinning. So tell me, who is underestimating whom? You. Liang's expression immediately soured. I think you're just itching for trouble. Observing the playful banter between the 2 women, the others could only shake their heads and choose to ignore them, returning to their own tasks. It wasn't until around 1 o'clock that Xingqi entered the room, carrying the prepared giant catfish, prompting a round of hearty feasting. After satisfying their hunger, Yi Chuan traded the surplus clothing, replicated from Blueberry Jam's trendy attire, to Lu Yi. He then opened the public chat room to share his thoughts. Brothers, this is tough. Mineral resources are exceedingly hard to locate. Even with my miniature submarine, I cannot find anything. We must wait for the novice area to open and rely on family support with medium and large submarines for exploration. Is it raining where you are? Here, thunder roars and lightning flashes, and it seems there is a colossal shadow moving among the clouds. It's downright terrifying. Buddy, what you've encountered is akin to what I saw during a rainstorm recently. I spotted a shadowy dragon. Could it be that same dragon has flown to your vicinity? Seriously? Are you pulling my leg? I have a timid disposition. If I get frightened and something goes awry, you will be held accountable. Believe me, it truly is a dragon. I'm not kidding. Chapter 243, The Arrival of an S-Class Aerial Creature. Watching the fervent declarations from his companions, Yechuan couldn't help but furrow his brow. With two individuals claiming to have seen a dragon, it could indeed be true that such a creature exists. However, whether it is genuinely a dragon remains debatable. Regardless, it certainly resembles a dragon-like entity. Through the window, Yechuan gazed at the sky, where a formidable automatic crossbow loomed. An instinctual feeling washed over him. This weapon seemed crafted specifically for that dragon-like creature. Surely, a fierce battle was on the horizon. Noticing that Lu Yi had yet to accept the t-shirt set, Yechuan refrained from further discussion, exiting the room and cycling around the island. It was his first full circuit of the island during this period. The outermost perimeter comprised a sandy beach over 10 meters wide, flanked by woods on one side and towering mountains on the other, encircling their dwelling in a picturesque embrace. This sight filled Yechuan with profound reflection. Despite being the top student, excelling in both theory and practice, he pondered that had he not awakened his system and instead opted for patronage from the powerful families and factions, he might have met his end amidst relentless trials. Time flew, and night soon descended. After dinner, the group engaged in leisure activities. However, the little dragon noticed something outside the window and quietly inquired, "Brother, do you see that?" Yechuan turned his gaze and frowned slightly. In the distant horizon, a storm brewed, with flashes of lightning illuminating a small cloud rapidly approaching. Zhao Feiyu, also aware of this development, spoke gravely, "That cloud is advancing towards us, and it is not slow." Yechuan analyzed, "If we proceed forward, the cloud will pursue us. If it outpaces us, we may encounter it by tomorrow." He suggested, "Everyone should return to rest. A good night's sleep is essential." Observing the public chat room, it seems there is something within that cloud. Perhaps another fierce confrontation awaits. Everyone silently understood the gravity of the situation and retreated to their quarters. After refreshing himself, Yechuan glanced once more at the messages in the public chat room. During the day, I was skeptical, but by evening, the storm had arrived here. And I witnessed the dragon-like creature darting amidst the lightning. Can you believe it? There is indeed a dragon. I have a monocular, and it does indeed resemble the divine dragons of our ancient mythology, for it possesses 4 legs. Quite peculiar indeed. I told you so, you doubted me. But now you must believe. My friend, when it was near you, did you notice it seemed to be searching for something? I didn't realize. I was too frightened. That creature lingered above my island for merely a few minutes before heading west. An overwhelming sense of dread engulfed me. As he perused the chat records, Yechuan discerned 2 critical pieces of information. The entity was indeed a dragon-like being, not a true dragon, and it was searching for something. However, without a direct encounter with the creature, clarity eluded him, and he chose to retire for the night, knowing that answers awaited him with the dawn. At just past 5 in the morning, the cacophony of thunder and lightning jolted Yechuan awake. Yechuan abruptly opened his eyes, only to be met with a pitch-black expanse. Turtle Island was engulfed within a mass of clouds. Thunder rumbled ominously overhead as he hurried to the window, gazing upward to behold a colossal dragon-like creature gliding through the cloud cover. Despite the distance of over 200 meters, Yechuan could distinctly sense the oppressive aura emanating from the creature, rivaling that of the sea serpent he had previously encountered. Could this be an S-class aerial entity? He could no longer contain his curiosity and inquired, "System, what precisely is this being?" The flying serpent, a pseudo-dragon and an S-class peak aerial creature, measures 59 meters in length. It is inherently violent and capable of unleashing bolts of lightning, the destructive power of which is equivalent to the simultaneous strike of 10 missiles. The system promptly responded. Yechuan furrowed his brow. Although both were classified as S-class dragon-like beings, this flying serpent was markedly more formidable than the sea serpent. Its abilities far surpassed those of its aquatic counterpart. How on earth could they confront such a foe? Without further ado, Yechuan exited his room. Zhao Feiyu and the others had also risen. The little dragon exclaimed, "Big brother, is that truly a dragon?" Yechuan swiftly conveyed the information regarding the flying serpent to them. In an instant, the expressions of all present morphed into one of anxiety. With a single strike equating to the force of 10 missiles, how could they possibly engage? "Big brother, if it harbors no hostility towards us, perhaps we should refrain from confrontation?" The little dragon timidly suggested. "I also saw their chat logs. It seems to be searching for something and can traverse thousands of nautical miles overnight, traveling from the 9 provinces to foreign territories. It is likely to depart soon. Better safe than sorry," Yechuan replied with a wry smile. "If it exhibits any malice, we shall take action." As he spoke, Yechuan promptly utilized a triple amplification card, enhancing his absolute defense threefold, and immediately applied one layer of protection to Turtle Island, just in case. System. Does this creature possess any weaknesses? Yichuan inquired once more. After using its abilities, there is a 15-minute cooldown period, the system indicated, revealing the creature's vulnerability. However, its inherent strength posed a significant challenge, making victory far from guaranteed. Not invincible, then there is a chance. Yichuan's expression shifted, now brimming with determination. He proceeded to strategize. Lu Shuai, you, along with Lu Yi and Lan Mei, should take the submarine and hide beneath the waves. Once the confrontation begins, your missiles can rain down upon the clouds with abandon. Are we truly going to engage? Lu Shuai asked, taken aback. Preparedness is key, Yichuan declared, erupting into hearty laughter. Lu Shuai, now serious, ushered the two girls into the submarine, swiftly submerging into the depths. However, a sense of unease settled among them as the clouds lingered ominously above Turtle Island, showing no signs of dispersing. Over half an hour passed, and the flying serpent continued to circle above. The little dragon could no longer contain its impatience. Big brother, why don't we just unleash a few missiles at it? The pressure is truly unbearable. Ah, little flying dragon, you possess many admirable qualities, yet your impulsive nature is a flaw. Yichuan shook his head slightly, speaking with earnest gravity. The strength of this sky serpent is formidable, surpassing that of the sea serpent. It is prudent for us to avoid direct confrontation whenever possible. Indeed, little flying dragon, at the age of 19, you are no longer a child. There are moments when patience is essential. Zhao Feiyu, with a tone of heartfelt seriousness, added, though I am merely 2 years your senior, there are lessons you must heed. I understand, I will. Just as little flying dragon began to acknowledge his mistakes and reflect, a thunderous roar erupted, causing the entire Turtle Island to tremble violently. Chapter 244, The Terror of the Sky Serpent. What is happening? In an instant, everyone's expressions shifted dramatically. It is that malevolent dragon attacking us, Yichuan remarked coldly. However, after it unleashes a lightning strike, it will endure a cooldown period of 15 minutes. We must seize this opportunity to strike. Hongying, you take command of the aerial super crossbow. Little flying dragon, you will operate the medium-sized cannon. There are hundreds of shells at your disposal, so unleash them with vigor. But do keep your aim steady. Understood. Little flying dragon and Liang Hongying promptly turned and dashed out. Yichuan and Zhao Feiyu exchanged a glance, nodding slightly before swiftly taking to the skies atop Wang Kai and Wang Yun. The cloud formation was approximately 1,000 meters wide and over 200 meters thick, shrouded in mist and saturated with moisture. Fortunately, the three small companions possessed keen senses, allowing them to navigate effortlessly through the dense atmosphere. Soon, Yichuan caught sight of the sky serpent, whose head bore a striking resemblance to that of a divine dragon, yet its 4 legs were remarkably long, measuring 7 to 8 meters, with claws that were exceedingly sharp. As Yichuan laid eyes upon it, the creature had already spotted him, charging towards him with wild ferocity. Yichuan did not relent. Gripping his broadsword tightly, he swung it fiercely at the oncoming dragon's head. However, as the sky serpent soared aloft, Yichuan missed his mark, and its claws slashed violently towards him. The speed was astonishing, rendering evasion nearly impossible. Even Yichuan's agility waned slightly as he stood transfixed, watching a razor-sharp claw descend upon him. Fortunately, the claw did not strike his head. Instead, it grazed his t-shirt, leaving only a shallow scratch without causing any injury. This left Yichuan feeling a surge of anxiety. Thankfully, the defensive capability of his trendy attire was astonishing. Had it not been for that, a single blow could have resulted in grievous harm, rendering even his formidable healing abilities futile. Just as Yichuan and Zhao Feiyu engaged the sky serpent in their initial encounter, cannonballs and crossbow bolts soared into the air. The sky serpent darted through the clouds, skillfully evading. While the crossbow bolts were manageable, the sheer coverage of the cannonballs was formidable, ultimately resulting in several strikes against the sky serpent. However, this did not seem to inflict significant harm upon the celestial serpent, which continued to glide through the clouds, utterly disregarding Turtle Island. Brother, you utilized the giant automatic fishing gun. Yichuan furrowed his brow, instructing Zhao Feiyu. Subsequently, Yichuan, accompanied by Wang Kai, boldly approached the celestial serpent, vociferously shouting. Especially when Wang Kai's 12 blazing fire arrows struck the creature, igniting it in flames, the celestial serpent finally became enraged and pivoted, charging once more towards Yichuan. Initially, it intended to wait for its skills to cool down before unleashing a devastating attack to obliterate everyone. However, the audacity of the mere ant, Yichuan, To oppose it incited its fury, prompting it to seek a relentless confrontation. When Yichuan was merely a dozen meters away from the celestial serpent, he abruptly pressed down on Wang Kai and leaped into the air, invoking absolute gravity. The celestial serpent, employing the same tactic once more, aimed to seize Yichuan, adjusting its angle to crush his skull. Yet, Yichuan astonishingly leapt high, colliding fiercely against one of the serpent's legs. In that fleeting moment, a force of 1,000 tons slammed into the celestial serpent, concentrated on such a minuscule point that it felt as though a colossal hammer had struck it with tremendous force. It was propelled backwards several dozen meters, experiencing excruciating pain in that precise spot. The celestial serpent, now genuinely infuriated, let out a roar and charged towards Yichuan again. Yichuan, in turn, swiftly returned to Wang Kai's back and plunged downwards, breaking through the cloud layer to a height of over 100 meters above Turtle Island. The celestial serpent relentlessly pursued him, just as Zhao Feiyu's fishing gun fired. And when Wang Kai was less than 5 meters away, it executed a breathtaking sharp turn, narrowly evading the attack. The celestial serpent was so focused on Wang Kai that it failed to anticipate the fishing gun, dismissing its potential threat, believing its own defenses to be formidable enough to withstand it. How could a mere fishing gun pose any danger? However, the creature was gravely mistaken. Despite its attempt to evade, the proximity rendered it unable to escape. The fishing gun ultimately struck its abdomen, and fortuitously, it hit right at its excretion point, a rather embarrassing location. The fishing gun easily made contact, and as the barbed hook opened, the celestial serpent experienced an indescribable sensation of discomfort, eliciting a pained scream as it soared into the sky, instantly straightening a 3,000-meter reinforced steel cable. What was particularly maddening for the celestial serpent was its sense of injustice. It merely sought to find something beneath the island, intending to cleave through Turtle Island to retrieve it from the sea. Such a trivial matter escalated to a conflict. It seemed utterly unreasonable. Was it not entitled to dignity as a celestial serpent, rather than being treated with such indignity? To my astonishment, the body defense of the flying cuttlefish is surprisingly feeble, making it an easy target. Zhao Feiyu couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement. However, the altitude at which the flying cuttlefish hovered was alarmingly high, rendering both medium artillery and high-altitude super crossbow arrows ineffective. Suddenly, a series of thunderous sounds erupted as 3 missiles shot forth from underwater, soaring into the sky and striking the flying cuttlefish, resulting in a violent explosion. It was Lu Shuai who, after coordinating with Lan Meigujiang and Lu Yiwei to install the missiles, promptly locked onto the target and initiated the assault. Nevertheless, the defense of the flying cuttlefish was as formidable as that of the previous sea catfish. The 3 missiles inflicted minimal damage. Its primary concern now was to extricate itself from the harpoon, for the position it was struck was both awkward and painful. Should its peers from the pseudo-dragon realm learn of this, how could it ever face them again? The disgrace was unbearable. Gritting its teeth, the flying cuttlefish executed a sharp turn and dove once more toward Turtle Island, perhaps hoping that eliminating the device attacking it would bring an end to its woes. Fire! As the flying cuttlefish dived again, both the little flying dragon and Liang Hongying commenced their assault. The flying cuttlefish braced itself, with mere seconds remaining before its skills would be ready for use again. At that moment, it would surely redeem itself. Chapter 245. The demise of the flying cuttlefish and the upgrading of medium artillery. Hongying, prepare. Yichuan suddenly bellowed. He had been silently counting down the time. 15 minutes had elapsed, and the flying cuttlefish was poised for a second attack. With only 200 meters remaining to the ground, the flying cuttlefish's skills finally cooled down, and it opened its mouth wide, unleashing a bolt of lightning toward Turtle Island. The ground shook with a terrifying rumble as the lightning struck the absolute defense, causing the entire Turtle Island to tremble violently. Now, Liang Hongying had been closely monitoring the movements of the flying cuttlefish, and she couldn't help but exclaim, pulling the trigger without hesitation. 10 massive crossbow arrows erupted forth. And just as the flying cuttlefish finished releasing its lightning, one of the arrows pierced directly into its open mouth. The flying cuttlefish instinctively shut its mouth. However, at this point, it was merely 200 meters from Turtle Island, and the power of the crossbow arrow was overwhelming, penetrating through its mouth and into its abdomen, leaving devastation in its wake. The flying cuttlefish felt utterly defeated. What should have been a simple act of spitting lightning had resulted in a direct hit from the arrow, and now its internal organs were nearly obliterated. Was its demise now inevitable? With a violent heave, the flying cuttlefish opened its mouth and expelled a torrent of blood along with the arrow. It swayed unsteadily, attempting to flee, but its body lacked the strength to move. Observing this, Zhao Feiyu immediately retracted the harpoon. Yichuan once again leapt off Wang Kai, descending rapidly. With a powerful grip, he seized the tail of the sky serpent, using the force of his fall to wrench it down, slamming it to the ground with the ferocity of a whip. The sky serpent let out a pained cry, spewing forth a mouthful of blood, its gaze beginning to fade. Brother! The little dragon rushed down from the mountain, observing the beleaguered sky serpent, and softly inquired, "What happened?" "Almost done," Yichuan replied nonchalantly. "Congratulations, host, on your first kill of an S-class aerial creature. Reward, lucky gift package. Would you like to open it?" As the sky serpent lay still, the system's voice emerged. Yichuan smiled and promptly responded, "Open it." Opening successful. "Congratulations, host, for receiving 200 kilograms of fertile black soil, 10 units of nutrient solution, 1 S-class aerial creature inner core, 1 experience value package, 1 resource package, 2 absolute defenses, and 1 miraculous pill." The rewards were identical to those he received for slaying the sea serpent. Moreover, acquiring an inner core was no small feat. Detection indicates the host has not yet signed in. "Would you like to sign in?" The system's voice echoed again. Having just defeated the sky serpent, and with it still being early, Yichuan eagerly declared, "Sign in." "Sign in successful. Congratulations, host, for receiving 1,000 evolution points and 1 evolution value package." Splendid. His evolution points had now reached 41,500. He believed he would soon be able to upgrade his 5 companions once more. At that moment, the clouds in the sky began to dissipate. The sun rose, heralding yet another clear day. The submarine also surfaced at the opportune moment. Observing the colossal dragon-like creature, Blueberry Jam gasped, "Brother, this sky serpent is so long and large. It looks incredibly fearsome. Regardless of how fearsome it appears, it has been vanquished by us, so it is no longer frightening." The little dragon chuckled. "If only we had a camera. I would love to take a picture with this sky serpent," Blueberry Jam remarked wistfully. Just then, a dolphin soared into the air and spat out a shimmering object towards Yichuan before diving back into the sea. "What is this?" The little dragon immediately rushed over, exclaiming in surprise, "Brother, this seems to be a diamond." Handing it to Yichuan, the others quickly gathered around. Zhao Feiyu nodded. "Indeed, it is a diamond. Though at present it can only be referred to as a diamond crystal. Such a sizable piece. Could it be that the sky serpent was searching for this?" According to legend, dragons are fond of shiny objects, and serpents are no exception. "Below us, there must be a diamond mine," Yichuan said, employing the eye of revelation. Indeed, he could see an impressive accumulation of diamonds on the seabed. "Really?" Lu Yue exclaimed with joy. "Absolutely," Yichuan affirmed. "Lu Yi, this mineral resource is yours." "Thank you, brother." Lu Yue was exceptionally exhilarated, rushing forward to embrace Yichuan, leaving a fragrant kiss upon his cheek. "It seems I am the only one left without resources," Blueberry Jam remarked with a hint of disappointment, pouting slightly. "Previously, I discovered a flammable ice mine. That particular site is yours." Yichuan chuckled heartily, responding without hesitation. At present, he had already located 10 mineral deposits. Apart from the 8 he had gifted away, he retained 2, each capable of yielding at least 100 billion. Although he had yet to depart from the novice zone, he had already amassed 2 to 300 billion. Originally, he had ventured into the oceanic world for wealth, yet before even leaving the novice area, he had earned a fortune that could last a lifetime, leaving Yichuan momentarily bewildered. "Wow, thank you, brother. I adore you," Blueberry Jam squealed, throwing herself into Yichuan's arms, clinging to him like an octopus. "You treat me the best, hee. No worries, I await your reciprocation." Yichuan was pulled from his reverie by Blueberry Jam, promptly setting her down while holding her slender waist. Detected that the host has found 10 mineral resources before the novice zone's opening. Hidden task completed. A surprise gift pack has been obtained. Would you like to open it? At that moment, the system's voice suddenly echoed. Yichuan felt a surge of joy and replied, "Open." Opening lucky gift pack. "Congratulations, host. You have obtained Evolution Value Pack 1, Resource Pack 1, and Medium Cannon Manufacturing Blueprint 1. A Medium Cannon Manufacturing Blueprint." Yichuan recalled having upgraded the small cannon after acquiring its blueprint last time. Now, with this new blueprint, could he upgrade to the medium cannon? Contemplating, he quickly checked. Requirements included 1 medium cannon manufacturing blueprint, 1 medium cannon, 500 metal sheets, 50 fabric pieces, and 20 stones. Upon upgrading, it transformed into a large heavy cannon with a range of 1,600 meters, immense power, an explosion radius of 1,200 meters, equipped with a sight, capable of rotating 360 degrees, and capable of firing 6 consecutive shells, with further upgrade potential. In this manner, everything had doubled compared to before. Yichuan, no longer dwelling on the matter, proceeded to the mountaintop and upgraded the medium cannon, which instantly evolved into a large heavy cannon, its size increasing by half, exuding an imposing presence. Brother, amazing! You actually upgraded the cannon. Xiao Feilong, currently the gunner, exclaimed with excitement. The range, explosion radius, and other attributes had all doubled. Yichuan smiled, saying, "Once we exhaust this batch of shells, the power of each shell will equate to that of a torpedo when we produce more." Chapter 246, Total Upgrade, Refining Essence. Is it truly that impressive? Xiao Feilong inquired in astonishment. Indeed, Yichuan replied casually, since we have developed to this extent. Lacking a large heavy cannon would be rather dismal, wouldn't it? That is a valid point, Xiao Feilong nodded thoughtfully. Nevertheless, despite this, everyone was profoundly astonished. After all, Yichuan's progress had been remarkably swift, and no one could discern how he had achieved such upgrades. Could there be some hidden truth behind this? While pondering, Saturday announced, "Bearing food, Brother Chuan, breakfast is ready." So soon? Yichuan was momentarily taken aback. He had not anticipated that while everyone was engaged in the battle against the flying dragon, Saturday would have already prepared breakfast. Truly, as a robot, Saturday maintained an impressive calmness at all times. Subsequently, they all gathered to partake in breakfast, and Yichuan began contemplating the upgrades for his 5 companions. Currently, he possessed a total of 51,500 evolution points, ample to elevate all 5 of them to level 13. With this in mind, Yichuan promptly initiated the upgrade for the turtle, allocating 16,000 evolution points to it. As the turtle began to expand gradually, Yichuan accessed its information panel, Island Master, Yichuan type, turtle level, 13,018,000, skills, water bullet, intermediate, reverse flow, intermediate, absolute gravity, 2,500 tons. Talents, longevity, rapid healing, crawling. As before, absolute gravity had increased by another 500 tons. However, Yichuan was puzzled, despite reaching level 13. The water bullet and reverse flow skills remained at intermediate level, showing no signs of improvement. Was it necessary to reach level 15 for further changes? This was merely Yichuan's conjecture, and the specifics eluded him. He then proceeded to allocate 8,000 evolution points to the dolphin. The dolphin also began to grow slowly, prompting Yichuan to open its information panel immediately. Name, Dolphin Friendliness, 100,100 level, 13 evolution points, 09000 skills, Sonic Interference, intermediate, Absolute Impact, intermediate, Synchronicity, 25s. Talents, Deep Diving, 2,500 meters. Note, Absolute Impact involves the dolphin attacking with its head, with an intermediate impact equivalent to a force of 2,800 pounds. Sonic Interference enables the dolphin to conduct sound wave attacks within a 180-meter radius, disrupting the actions of opponents. As with the previous upgrade, there was no increase in skills or talents, though Sonic Interference, Absolute Impact, and Deep Diving had all been enhanced. The dolphin upgrade is complete. Congratulations to the host for upgrading the contracted beast to level 13. Would you like to open the upgrade gift package? At this moment, the system's voice resonated. Yichuan rubbed his hands together and promptly replied, "Open it." Opening upgrade gift package, please wait. Congratulations, the host has received 1,000 growth points. 20 corn pancakes, 6 A-grade pineapples, and 1 small aircraft manufacturing blueprint. What? A small aircraft manufacturing blueprint? Yichuan's countenance shifted as he conducted his research. It became evident that this small aircraft could indeed be equipped with weaponry. Although he currently possessed 3 diminutive companions, the aircraft undoubtedly held its own utility. For the time being, Yichuan decided against its fabrication, opting instead to await a more opportune moment for its creation. Nevertheless, this revelation was a delightful surprise for him. Subsequently, Yichuan invested 24,000 points across his 3 companions. As their forms gradually expanded, he accessed their information panels. Name, Albatross level, 13, mature, evolution value, 09000 skills, diving talents, capable of grasping 270 kilograms, fiery feather arrows, 13, man soaring. Talents, diving, fishing, flying, long voyage. Albatross upgrade complete. Congratulations to the host for elevating the pet to level 13 and receiving an upgrade gift package. Would you like to open it? Albatross upgrade complete. Congratulations to the host for elevating the pet to level 13 and receiving an upgrade gift package. Would you like to open it? Simultaneously, the system's voice chimed in, prompting Yichuan to exclaim, "Open all." Congratulations, host, you have acquired 1,000 growth points, 35 wooden planks, 21 stones, and 3 automatic shooters. Congratulations, host, you have acquired 1,000 growth points, 24 metal sheets, 15 plastics, and 1 lucky blind box. Congratulations, host, you have acquired 1,000 growth points, 33 stones, 16 metal sheets, and 1 short blade, capable of cutting through steel like butter. While the overall outcome remained unchanged, the acquisition of an additional lucky blind box prompted no hesitation from Yi Chuan, who promptly opened it. Blind box opening in progress. Congratulations, host. You have obtained a miraculous pill. Another miraculous pill. He had received one upon vanquishing the sky serpent. And to discover another here filled him with anticipation regarding the effects of these 2 pills. After a moment's contemplation, Yi Chuan swallowed the previous miraculous pill. 5 minutes later, the system's voice announced, Congratulations, host. You have gained a lightning immunity talent. You shall henceforth be impervious to lightning. It appeared that the miraculous pill's effect was immunity to lightning, a result of the sky serpent's lightning skill, akin to the poison immunity he had gained after defeating the sea dragon. However, what extraordinary effect would the other miraculous pill yield? After a brief reflection, Yi Chuan decided to consume it as well. 5 minutes elapsed without a sound from the system, yet he felt a warmth enveloping his body, accompanied by an increasing perspiration. Half an hour passed, and Yi Chuan found himself drenched, sticky, and beset by an indescribable odor. Oh dear! Blueberry Jam suddenly noticed Yi Chuan, promptly covering her nose. Brother, what has happened to you? You not only smell awful, but there's also a thin layer of grime on you. What? Yi Chuan was taken aback. This is a foul substance extracted from the body, and it emits a repugnant odor, resembling the process of cleansing the essence and marrow. This is indeed the cleansing I had previously observed on television. Astonished, Yi Chuan could not help but inquire, System, what is happening? The system promptly responded that the miraculous pill the host had consumed had conducted a significant cleansing of the host's body, equivalent to the effect of 100 ls level fresh water. Yi Chuan suddenly comprehended that consuming 100 ls level liquid grants an opportunity for a cleansing of essence and marrow, albeit it appeared to be the simplest form of such a process. Nevertheless, its efficacy was remarkably apparent. Brother? Blueberry Jam queried, puzzled by Yi Chuan's silence. It's nothing. Haha. Yi Chuan laughed heartily, leaping into the sea with a splash. Chapter 247, Island Upgrade Complete, Acquired Desert Eagle. After purging the impurities from his body, Yi Chuan proceeded to the restroom for a rinse, feeling utterly rejuvenated. Moreover, Yi Chuan could distinctly sense that his physical prowess had reached new heights. If previously he could shatter a boulder with a single punch, now he could effortlessly penetrate a steel plate. The sensation of enhanced strength was extraordinarily invigorating. In addition, Yi Chuan was pleasantly surprised to discover that the scratch left by the flying sky Jiao on his t-shirt had vanished. This could be considered an unexpected boon. His t-shirt possessed self-repairing abilities. Brother, where are we headed now? Asked the little dragon, peering at the boundless ocean. We are moving forward without a specific destination. Our primary objective is to seek mineral resources, Yi Chuan replied. Aside from searching for mineral resources and fulfilling the family's entrusted tasks, I believe there is also an element of adventure, the little dragon chuckled, as if anticipating battles with marine creatures, terrestrial beings, and aerial entities. After all, life is not merely about the hardships before us, but also about poetry and distant horizons. Yi Chuan was taken aback, glancing at the little dragon in astonishment, not expecting this seemingly reckless fellow to harbor such lofty aspirations. However, it must be noted that while S-class beings have emerged in the skies and seas, S-class terrestrial creatures have yet to make an appearance. To be precise, even A-class terrestrial beings have not manifested. It seems that while searching for mineral resources, one should also seek out substantial natural islands, as there might be encounters with A-class or even S-class marine creatures. As the most formidable terrestrial beings, the rewards obtained may be even more abundant. Nonetheless, having just endured such an intense battle, the primary task for everyone today is to rest well. Other matters can be addressed later. Yi Chuan handed the 6 A-class pineapples to Saturday, reveling in the thought that enjoying a chilled pineapple on such a hot day would be quite delightful. While everyone indulged in a platter of fruits and sang karaoke in the living room, Yi Chuan glanced once more at the messages in the public chat room of the foreign district. This morning, I spotted a vast mass of clouds drifting towards me, only for it to linger in one spot for an extended period before vanishing. I wonder if there is something amiss. What do you think? That you're some sort of important figure, that someone would conspire against you? No, it was merely curiosity. I thought a heavy rain was imminent, yet it suddenly dissipated, leaving me somewhat speechless, though mostly perplexed. After all, this is an oceanic world. Anything could happen. It's best to harbor your doubts and concentrate on the pursuit of mineral resources. Other matters hold little significance for us. Alas, just curiosity. Observing the conversations of these individuals, Yichuan shook his head slightly. After waiting a while longer without any useful information, he chose to disengage. The day passed amidst merriment. After dinner and watching a film, Yichuan was the first to retreat to his room, having yet to receive the item he traded to Lu Yi, and he said nothing about it. However, the island remained, indicating that Lu Yi had not encountered any mishaps, though the circumstances were still unclear. Unbeknownst to him, Yichuan was roused from his slumber by the crowing of roosters. It was merely 5 o'clock. He mused that he ought to roast those crowing roosters to prevent them from disturbing his peaceful dreams. After dozing off again, he finally rose around 6 o'clock and called out, "Check-in." The system's voice immediately echoed, "Check-in successful. Congratulations, host, for receiving 1,000 evolution points and a Desert Eagle." The mention of the Desert Eagle stirred Yichuan's interest as a silver handgun materialized in his hand, fully loaded with 14 bullets. To manufacture more ammunition, he would only need gunpowder and metal scraps, without the necessity for any additional tools. He never anticipated that he could actually sign in for a firearm. As Yichuan toyed with the handgun, he spoke aloud and aimed it at a distant target, pulling the trigger. Having frequently employed a crossbow, his aim had reached an extraordinary level of precision, and the bullet immediately penetrated a massive boulder. Approaching to inspect the bullet's impact, he was astonished to find it had pierced through 2 meters of solid rock. It seemed this Desert Eagle possessed a power far superior to that of weapons on Blue Star. After some contemplation, Yichuan tentatively applied a weapon enhancement card to the Desert Eagle, immediately sensing some transformation within the firearm. He glanced around and finally set his sights on a stone atop a small hill, pulling the trigger decisively. With the sound of the gunshot, Yichuan dashed forward. Over a straight distance of more than 200 meters, the bullet traversed this expanse, still managing to penetrate over 2 meters of solid rock. Where the bullet ended up, however, remained a mystery. Yichuan was certain that this gun, even when faced with the formidable sea serpent or the flying dragon, could effortlessly penetrate their defenses. However, when it came to the sea catfish, it might still fall short. "Brother, you actually managed to acquire a gun," Liang Hongying exclaimed with delight upon hearing the gunfire as she rushed to Yichuan's side. "The weaponry obtained from the oceanic world is far superior to the equivalent on Blue Star," Yichuan replied solemnly, noting that if firearms could be procured in large quantities in the future, it would indeed be a lucrative venture. "Really?" Liang Hongying asked in astonishment. "Indeed," Yichuan affirmed with a precise answer. "Island upgrade completed. Congratulations, host. The island has been upgraded to level 13, and you have received an upgrade package. Would you like to open it?" As the two conversed, the upgrade package for Turtle Island arrived. Yichuan promptly declared, "Open it." Opening. "Congratulations, host. You have gained 2,000 growth points, 6 A-grade pineapples, 9 medium nutrient solutions, and 1 absolute defense." Another absolute defense. So far, he had acquired 3 instances of absolute defense. How exhilarating. At this moment, Yichuan turned his attention to the small mountain, which seemed to have reached a height of 100 meters, perfectly matching the marvelous tree. He was surprised to notice that the marvelous tree had grown more than 10 meters during this time. Could it be that this tree would eventually reach the heavens? "Brother, do you sense something in the forest watching us?" Liang Hongying suddenly whispered. "Is there?" Yichuan paused, glancing at the woods. He did not share Liang Hongying's intuition, but the forest had expanded significantly, and undoubtedly, tremendous changes had occurred within. This piqued Yichuan's curiosity. Could there be A-grade terrestrial creatures lurking inside? Chapter 248. The Primordial Ape. The giant Wu ape. It was not until Saturday called them for breakfast that Yichuan and Liang Hongying descended the mountain. The little dragon eagerly remarked, "Brother, the forest appears to span 5 or 6,000 square meters now. Should we explore it? Seeking thrills, are we?" Yichuan chuckled. "Did you not mention before that each time this island levels up, the interior changes completely?" The little dragon replied sheepishly, "So I thought we could take a look." Not only the little dragon, but Yichuan too was filled with anticipation regarding the creatures within. Since the little dragon had brought it up, Yichuan nodded in agreement. "Since the forest has changed, we must seize the opportunity to explore it promptly. We wouldn't want any fierce beasts to emerge and wreak havoc on our home. That would be regrettable. Brother, can I join you inside?" Blueberry Jam eagerly inquired. "Perhaps it's best to refrain." Yichuan shook his head. After all, everything within was unknown, and no one could guarantee the absence of A-grade or even S-grade beings. If they were indeed present and she had no protection, it would spell disaster. "Please let me take a peek." Dear brother, won't you? Blueberry Jam pouted her lips, batting her large eyes at Yichuan while playfully requesting. Oh dear. Liang Hongying, standing nearby, playfully pinched her backside. Startled, Blueberry Jam jumped aside with a yelp, glaring and exclaiming, what was that for? The forest is a realm reserved for warriors until it is thoroughly cleared. What business do you have there? Liang Hongying retorted. Are you planning to charm a tiger? But I am a warrior too. Blueberry Jam declared, rolling up her sleeves to reveal her slender arms. Look, I have muscles as well. If you dare to go, I shall break your legs. Liang Hongying replied sternly. What's the big deal? If I don't go, I don't go. Blueberry Jam huffed, sulking back to her room. To the others, it appeared to be merely a child's tantrum, and they said nothing more. After dinner, however, Yichuan ventured into the woods with Zhao Feiyu, Liang Hongying, Xiao Feilong, and Lu Shuai. This time, they did not bring Friday or the three little ones, opting instead for a chance to hone their coordination should danger arise. Yet, the transformed woods loomed ominously, with many trees towering over 20 to 30 meters, cloaked in lush greenery, creating an eerie atmosphere. Moreover, an unsettling silence enveloped the forest, devoid even of birdsong, imparting an odd sense of foreboding. Could it be that some presence was suppressing the animals into silence? Brother, why does it feel so eerily quiet? Xiao Feilong whispered, drawing his machete. Are we stepping into some sort of animal trap? Regardless, I am the master of this island, Yichuan countered coolly. Whatever lurks within must either submit to me or perish. Prepare your weapons. Should the need arise, we shall show no mercy. Just 10 seconds after his declaration, the air was pierced by the sounds of rustling, and a multitude of monkeys erupted from the depths of the forest, launching an immediate assault on them.